When the hero fell, a goddess heard his final prayer. From death rose the child of the sun goddess.
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Naruto Died and Was Reborn in DxD World as Child of Amaterasu movie. Before we start, please go support Gabriel Casas 545 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Naruto is a male. In the mission to recover Sasuke, everything was going well until the black hole sucked Naruto in, and when he was about to die in that hole, Kurama performed a forbidden jutsu that saved them and transported them to a new home. Chapter 1. The New Opportunity. Currently a huge fight was taking place between Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke. These two were battling, since the Uchiha, like most Uchihas, wanted power, and the Sannin of the Snakes Orochimaru offered him the power to kill his brother in the battle that was taking place. Both Naruto and Sasuke were fighting in an even way until they both collided their attacks, Naruto with his Rasengan and Sasuke with his Chidori. When both techniques collided, it caused a gigantic explosion that sent both flying. From one side to the other, Naruto recovered first and went at a gigantic speed toward Sasuke, but from one moment to another, a hole opened and absorbed Naruto. The blonde tried to get out of that hole, but couldn't manage to absorb Sasuke. Opened his eyes in surprise. Sasuke, what the hell happened to the dope? Well, no matter what, trash, get out of my way now. I will go with Orochimaru and get the power to kill Itachi very soon. Itachi, you will die for killing the entire clan very soon. I will have your blood. After the Uchiha left, Kakashi suddenly appeared with his dog Pakin to look for his students, or rather his student, since he considered Naruto a lost cause. He was the only cause of the death of his sensei and Kushina-sama, whom he considered his family. After a few minutes, the copy ninja appeared and frowned at the two headbands, one with a lot of blood and the other striped, which implies that they had deserted. Kakashi, Pakin looks for Naruto's trail, and Sasuke finds his trail. Do it quickly. We need to bring them to the village. We can't let any of them die, especially Sasuke, since he is the last Uchiha. Pakin, okay Kakashi, I do now, but I have a very bad feeling about everything that is happening. Kakashi, I hope the demon is dead. He must pay for the death of Minato-sama and Kushina-sama. I hope Pakin finds his corpse so he can burn it and turn it into ashes, as it should have been since he was born. After a few minutes, Pakin sniffed the entire place where Kakashi's students fought and frowned, since the Uchiha's scent was disappearing while Naruto's remained in the valley, but his body was not there, which he did not understand. At least there should be a trace, so he assumed that the river took him or he died in the battle, so he nodded to himself and reported everything he found out to Kakashi. Kakashi, so the demon brat is most likely dead. Well, I will report it to Tsunade-sama. It would be a shame to lose the Jinchuriki, but he was useless, so it is not a great military loss for Konoha, no matter how good it is that Kushina-sama and Minato-sama have already been avenged. In Konoha at the same time, a conversation was taking place between two of the strongest ninjas that have ever existed in the Leaf Village. One of these ninjas was the Godame Hokage Senju Tsunade, and the second ninja was Jiraiya of the Sannin, the sage of the Toads. They were talking about the mission that was given to the Genin and Naruto. Tsunade, well Jiraiya, how do you think the brats and the demon will fare on the Uchiha recovery mission? Jiraiya, I don't care if they get that stupid Uchiha back, I just hope the demon dies on that mission, and that Kushina and Minato are finally avenged. It's a shame I can't kill him because he was our Jinchuriki. It's a shame, otherwise I would have killed that stupid brat a long time ago to avenge Minato. Tsunade, that's it, we agree, pervert. How I wish that stupid demon would die in the Uchiha recovery mission, and if not, I'll simply kill him myself. He'll die for what he did to Kushina-chan. Meanwhile with Naruto, he was in a black hole where the Uzumaki felt his muscles tear like butter, screaming in pain. The poor Uzumaki mentally asked Kurama what he could do to save himself from where he was. Naruto, I will do a jutsu that I learned when I was a Uzumaki Mido, and then I perfected it, or so I think. It is our only option to save you, puppy, although we run the risk of being destroyed in the process, but if we don't do it, you will die, so there is no option, said Kurama, somewhat alarmed. It doesn't matter Kurama, hurry up and do it because I won't last that long, I feel my muscles tearing completely. Kurama doing it quickly. He was free for a couple of years, so it was easier for him to use his chakra, so he did hand positions and shout Fuinjutsu dimensional rebirth dimensional. In Kurama's mind, he only prayed that the jutsu would work or at least not kill them in the process. He was already risking a lot by doing the forbidden jutsu. After Kurama said that, a large amount of light surrounded Naruto's entire body. Naruto was impressed because he stopped feeling pain, but suddenly he felt a sting all over his body, and both he and Kurama inside him disappeared. Meanwhile in the Shinto pantheon, a beautiful goddess was in her chambers doing her tedious paperwork, the enemy that she hated the most, until suddenly a white light blinded her and put her on alert, since it could be an attacker. But suddenly she felt like a part of her essence was torn from her, something that stunned and surprised her, since someone had the audacity to tear out her essence, something that she thought was impossible. Since she is Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun, and when the brightness ended she saw with surprise and curiosity how a child of approximately 1 year old was there, and the little one seemed adorable to her, but it also dismayed her, since the child had his essence, but a pure one, so pure that it did not seem like that of a demigod, but it seemed like that of a god, but at the same time she felt that he had another essence, something that seemed much stranger to her. Since the second essence that she feels in the little one was a strong one, not as strong as hers, but powerful enough to be considered divine, something that made her very curious. What the hell happened, and how the hell does the child have my essence, but he doesn't seem like that of a demigod, but that of a god. This would make the child my son, the beautiful goddess of the sun, asked herself with curiosity and some happiness, since now she would have a son, although if he was her son, she would have to protect him with all her power. She needed Yusaka's help, maybe she could support him with what he was going to do. She may be strong, but she knew that the child would be her weakness against her enemies. Well, I better carry him. How am I going to call the little one? Amaterasu asked himself, but suddenly the goddess of the sun saw with curiosity a name written where the child was and saw with surprise and laughed a little at the name, since the baby was called Naruto, to be exact Uzumaki Naruto, a strange name, but cute for her taste. She would not change his name, she was fine with the little one having that name. All this was seen by Naruto, who looked at the goddess with surprise and curiosity, but he also saw himself with great surprise, since now he was a baby, so he went to his mental space. He had to talk to Kurama about this unexpected development. Hell, being a baby and having a better life than the one he had in Konoha wasn't so bad. Meanwhile, in Naruto's mental space, he was talking to Kurama about what happened to him. Okay Kurama, now tell me what happened and what exactly the jutsu you used did, since it changed me completely. I even feel that my energy changed. It is as if it had increased and had become thicker to such a degree that I almost feel as if my energy had become divine, said Naruto in a serious manner, although curious to know what exactly happened to him. Kurama looked somewhat nervous because of his cub's piercing gaze. He knew that his cub was a bit scary when he got angry, but he responded anyway. Kurama. Well, it seems that when using the jutsu that saved us there were some small inconveniences. I wanted to take you to another dimension, but some small problems happened and you became a newborn child, and not only that, we appeared in this place, and apparently you absorbed the essence of that woman who has enormous power. I calculate that her power may be even greater than that of Madara or Hashirama, and not only that, but you also absorbed part of my essence, making you part Biju, so I can say without a doubt that you are Uzumaki, Biju, and apparently something else that I am not sure of, but I know for sure that you have greater potential, thanks to absorbing the essence of that woman. Naruto opened his eyes in surprise. On one hand he was happy, since now he could relate to Kurama, and on the other he was curious, asking who that woman is to make Kurama say that that woman is stronger than Hashirama and Madara Uchiha, two of the strongest shinobi in their dimension, who were considered gods in their world. Well, at least now we are related, and maybe I can have a family with that woman, since I suppose that having the essence of that woman will make her my mother, Naruto said with a smile and a glow of happiness. Well Naruto, you better get out of here. I have to rest for a few months to recover my energy. The jutsu you used cost me a lot, so bye, brother. Kurama finished speaking tiredly, since using the forbidden jutsu cost him most of the chakra he recovered since it was sealed in Naruto. Naruto sighed, but nodded and was thankful that Kurama had that jutsu that saved them from dying, and well, now he had to take advantage of his opportunity outside of Konoha and the trash of villagers that he hated and hid his hatred under a mask. Outside of Naruto's mental space, the goddess of the sun and the universe was holding a baby Naruto who smiled, making Amaterasu's eyes shine with joy, since she could have a baby from her, and well, it was part of her. Well little one, let me introduce myself. I am Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun and the universe, and I am the leader of the Shinto faction. My little Naruto. Now I will take care of everyone. You won't have to worry about anyone, because if someone bothers you, I will just burn and destroy them, said Amaterasu with a sweet smile. Little baby Naruto opened his eyes in surprise, but then smiled and hugged Amaterasu, making the sun goddess let out a squeal of joy at having such a tender child with her, and she promised to protect him even from other devil gods. She would kill anyone who wants to kill her baby. I think it will be to talk with my brothers and with Yusaka-chan, maybe with their support, I will be able to take care of my little Naruto with ease. Now I wonder what domains my Naru will have, since he is definitely not a semi-god, but he was a god and something more, something with enormous brutal power so great as to be classified as a catastrophe level, a very high level. Meanwhile, in the world of elemental nations in a large cave, 9 figures were gathering. These 9 were members of Akatsuki, each of these shinobi were S rank, and some of these stronger than the current cages of the 5 great nations. These 9 figures were gathering for the presumed death of Uzumaki Naruto, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Pain? Well Zetsu, what exactly happened to the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, said the god of Omega Curse seriously. Zetsu? Well, Lighter-sama, what happens is that it seems that the Kyuubi Jinchuriki is presumed dead or missing. I know, since in Konoha they were celebrating his presumed death, it seems that he was killed in the mission to recover Itachi's younger brother, who ran away with our former companion Orochimaru of the Sannin. All the members of Akatsuki frowned while Itachi gave a small sigh of disappointment at what his foolish little brother did, and in the case of the leader of Akatsuki, he was furious wanting to kill the Uchiha who delayed his plans for several years, since the Kyuubi is the Bijuu that would take the longest to reform, and now that foolish Uchiha delayed his plans, he will kill him for interfering in his peace plans. Madara. You should kill the fool. Uchiha has delayed our plans for many years. This is not just any Bijuu that will regenerate, but the Kyuubi demons. This is the Bijuu that will take the longest because of its power and the tails it has. Sasori. I agree with Madara, the child has to pay for delaying our plans. If you wish, Leader-sama, I can go for his head, he would be a good puppet, having the Sharingan, this child would be one of my best puppets, besides, we could ruin Orochimaru's plans, and thus collect his betrayal. Haiden. Yes, we must sacrifice him for Jashin-sama leader, let's go for that Uchiha, and for the traitorous snake Orochimaru. Bikuzu, I support Haiden, Orochimaru's bounty will benefit us, and together with Konoha's Uchiha, we will raise a large amount of these funds, not to mention the Sannin subordinates having some of these good bounties like that Kabuto. That and many more things were said by the various members of Akatsuki, while Pain watched the entire discussion with a frown, since the idiot Uchiha brat delayed his plans, he would personally go to give him a very painful death, and in the case of Itachi, the assassin of the Uchiha clan, saw with an unreadable face the entire discussion of his companions, wanting both the head of his foolish little brother and Orochimaru, and he knew that if Akatsuki went for Sasuke, he had little chance of survival. Especially if Pain and Konan go for his little brother and Orochimaru, since he knew that Pain was stronger than him, and Konan was easily at the level of a Sannin being that woman someone who is easily at a level comparable to that of her partner Kisame, and that was bad, very bad, but Itachi came out of his thoughts, since Pain spoke. Pain. We will not actively marry Orochimaru and Uchiha Sasuke, but if you run into them you have to kill them now. We need to locate the other Jinchurikis. The Kyuubi must wait. When Itachi Kisame regenerates they will go for him, but for now locate where exactly the Jinchuriki of the Four Tails is. Lighter-sama replied the Uchiha seriously, although inside he was somewhat nervous. All the revelations were making him restless. Pain, well this meeting is over, you may leave, locate the Jinchurikis, in 3 years we will start the house of the Bijuus. The other members of Akatsuki nodded and disappeared to search for information on the location of the other Jinchurikis. At the moment when all the Akatsuki disappeared, both Konan and Pain being the only ones who stayed, they saw someone come out from the shadows, but the Akatsuki couple did nothing, since they knew who the person in front of them was. It was their leader, the true leader of Akatsuki, Uchiha Madara. Pain, I suppose you heard everything that was said, right Madara? What Zetsu informed us is too worrying, we will lose a lot of time, since the Kyuubi will take too long to regenerate, and it will be very difficult to hunt it. Madara, it's a shame the Jinchuriki is dead, this delays our plans quite a bit. I want you to give the snake a home and bring Sasuke Uchiha to me alive, he could be very useful for our plans. Pain. Konan. And what are we going to do with the other Jinchurikis? The 6 tails are missing, the 3 tails are reforming, and 5 and 4 tails are somewhere in the country of Earth, and the 8 and 2 tails are very well guarded. While the 7 tails are somewhere in Takigakure, and the 1 tail is well guarded in Suna. Madara. Locate them, the most problematic will be the Jinchuriki of the 8 and 2 tails. It is said that the 8 tails is as strong as the Reikage, and he is currently the most dangerous of the 5 cages, due to his immense speed. Very few members of Akatsuki would have a chance to defeat him, only Itachi or Pain and maybe Konan and Kisame will have a chance to fight against the Reikage and be able to defeat him. Pain, then I myself will go for the 8 tails if none of the Akatsuki members have a chance of fighting against the Reikage, and the 8 tails Jinchuriki I know that I am superior to them, since I am a god. Madara, don't be too confident Pain, you are strong, but you know as well as I do that you couldn't fight the 8 tails, the Reikage in his right hand at the same time. Each of them is a cage level, you would need Konan's help to deal with the 3 of them, and not only that there is also the village that will protect its cage and its Jinchuriki, and that's not counting the 2-tailed Jinchuriki, who is at the level of a class A ninja almost rank S, if we count all that the power of Kuma would be. Overwhelming even for you Pain, so don't be too confident. You may have the eyes of the Rakudo, but that will not make you invisible. Pain frowned, he is a god and they shouldn't doubt him, although deep down he knew he couldn't fight all of Kumagakure. I am a god, I have no reason to be afraid, Pain said coldly. Konan sighed at her partner's stubbornness, but spoke to calm the possible fight that would occur. She could see that Pain was angry because they doubted him, although she knew that Madara was right. Kumagakure is currently the strongest of the villages, having 4 cage level shinobi, it would be foolish for Pain to go and attack. Konan. And what do you suggest we do, Madara.san, asked the paper angel from Omegakure with a frown. Madara saw the woman and only member of Akatsuki and answered simply, we will go for the easiest ones, but it will be in 3 years and we will leave the 8 and 2 tails for the end, but if they have the opportunity to take them, let them do it if it is in the case of the 2 tails, but the 8 tails only Kisame and Itachi have to go, or you and Konan, since another Akatsuki duo could hardly against him, unless if he has the support of some ninja. The Uchiha finished speaking. Meanwhile elsewhere a figure could be seen frowning. This was Yami, the primordial god of chaos and order, since because of that Uchiha whom he wanted as his champion, he went to another dimension and sighed resignedly, since without Naruto in the dimension of the elemental nations, the world would be in complete chaos. The primordial knew it well. Since Naruto was the axis of everything, if he went down the path of destruction, everything would be reduced to ashes, and if he went down the path of peace, everything would be peace. But now without Naruto the balance became grim for the elemental dimension. He did not care, he just wanted to know where Naruto was. He was worried that something had happened to him. He knew that he could not intervene in the lives of mortals, but that did not matter to him. He will look for where Naruto is and see if he is okay. After all, he is one of the last Uzumaki alive and he want him as his champion. Naruto is always getting into trouble in all the different realities, but it doesn't matter, I will find him. After all, this is the original reality. I hope Kami and Shinigami don't do anything stupid like get in my way or Naruto's, because if not he would destroy the foolish god of death and the conceited goddess of life. After all, he was the strongest of the 3 and not even the power of both gods would stop him. Yami thought with a frown, it is time to put his plans into motion. Since the elemental dimension will go down a drain if Uzumaki Naruto is not there. On the other hand, a goddess of life was hysterical since the child of the prophecy disappeared, and that was very bad for the elemental nations, since without him there will be no savior for the world, and she wondered how the hell Uzumaki Naruto disappeared. Kami's thought. If the child of the prophecy disappeared, the elemental nations would not do well at all. This is very bad. If Kagaya returns, she could cause chaos in various dimensions, and without Naruto, no one could stop the rabbit goddess, and I and the others will not be able to intervene. This is very bad. While with the Shinigami he had a small, somewhat dark smile, since the child of the prophecy disappears, and he knew that this causes chaos in all the elemental nations, but he wondered where he would be, since he did not have his soul, and he was sure that Kami or Yami did not have it either. Shinigami thought. The child is a being that defies destiny. I wonder what will happen to you, Uzumaki Naruto, heir of light and darkness. Your existence is something that even defies everything that exists. You are a very interesting being, much more interesting than the fool Hagoromo who thought that only with words he would find peace. I wonder what you will do and where you will be. End of chapter. Top 10 strongest stocks. Top 0. Great Red, Dragon of the Apocalypse, the Dragon of Dragons, the True God Dragon Emperor Red. Prehixa, the Beast of the Apocalypse Emperor, Beast of the Apocalypse, the strongest beast. Top 1. Office, the Dragon of Infinity, Dragon Goddess. Top 2. Paus, Primordial of Creation, Creator of the Greeks. Top 3. Shiva, God of Destruction, Leader of the Hindu faction. Izanagi, God of Creation, Father of the Shinto. Top 4. Vishnu, God of Preservation and Goodness in Hinduism, one of the 3 great gods of Hinduism. Izanami, Goddess of Creation and Death, Mother of the Shinto. Brahma, creator god of Hinduism, one of the 3 great Hindus. Top 5. Amaterasu, goddess of the sun and the universe, leader of the Shinto faction. Indra, king of the Devas and lord of heaven. Top 6. Typhon, the prediction of the gods, the Greek destroyer. Top 7. Aya, goddess of the earth, the primordial. Krom Cruach, the strongest evil dragon, the dragon of the crescent circle. Tartaros, god of the abyss, the primordial. Top 8. Thor, the god of lightning, the mightiest Norse. Hades, Greek god of the underworld, the strongest Greek, the supreme god of the underworld. Buddha, lord of wisdom, the enlightened one. Quetzalcoatl, leader of the Aztec faction, goddess of wind, rain and creation. Amun-Ra, lord of the sun and light, leader of the Egyptian faction, supreme Egyptian God 9. Top 9. Fenrir, god-killing dog, son of Loki. La, the god of the sun and storms, the strongest Celtic god. Cronus, king of the Titans, titan of time. Top 10. Serzich's Lucifer, demon king of destruction, one of the 4 demon leaders. Azrael, the angel of death, the strongest angel. This will be the top 10 of the strongest beings currently. The biblical god would be positioned in the top 5, and Lucifer will be in the top 6, along with Typhon in this fic. The strongest faction is the Hindu, as in the original DxD, then there is the Shinto a little below. To make this top, I was guided by the original DxD. From the top 6 they are already superior to a celestial dragon. In this fic are all the strongest of the original DxD, only with the addition of the Shintoists and other beings. Also, according to what I read, the Siskin of the current Lucifer is strong, but in my opinion, he would not surpass the original Lucifer or Hades or Thor. I think they should be above. On the other hand, in the case of Azrael, he will be the strongest seraph, but he will be rejected by heaven and will be recruited by Naruto. Chapter 2. The Prince of Shinto. Currently Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun and the universe, was going to meet with her brother Susanoo, god of the sea and storms, her brother Tsukiyomi, god of the moon, and friend Yasaka, the leader of the Yokai faction, since she wanted to introduce them first to Naruto, the new prince of Shinto, and tell them what happened. Overall, they are the most trusted in her inner circle. Besides that, she would need all the help possible to be able to raise her little Naruto and protect him from threats. Since he was still very weak, but she knew that soon he would become strong, and with faith, he would be even stronger than her, perhaps equaling Izanagi and Izanami, the only Shinto gods who surpass her in power. After all, Izanami was in the top 4, and Izanagi was in the top 3 of the strongest beings. Minutes later, Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun, was entering with a little Naruto to the meeting where Yasaka, Susanoo and Tsukiyomi were sitting waiting. But when the trio saw Amaterasu enter, they saw with surprise and disbelief how she came with a baby that had an aura very similar to Amaterasu's, and that made them serious and somewhat nervous, since Amaterasu having a baby was too strange for everyone. "Whose sister is the boy and what is he doing with you?" Tsukiyomi asked seriously, very curious and nervous, since his brother has a very crazy temper if someone makes her angry, and from what he saw and felt, the boy seems to be his older sister's son. "Yes, Amaterasu-sama. Who is the little baby with you? I feel a great amount of divine energy in the little one," asked Yasaka, the leader of the Yokai and one of the best friends of the sun goddess. Susanoo stared at his sister, but said nothing. He wanted to hear what his older sister would say, and why the hell did the boy have a moment similar to hers. Since he knew that Amaterasu did not have a partner and she will hardly have one, for something she is known as the biggest spinster in Shinto, so there had to be another explanation for why the boy was with his older sister. Amaterasu sighed, but still responded to her brothers and friend, telling them everything that happened from when she was signing the tedious paperwork until when Naruto appeared and took a large part of her essence, turning her into a god, until when she named him according to what she could see in his clothes, and that Naruto apparently had another strange essence, and that did not make him a semi-god, but a full-power god with power on par with any first-level god. "This is strange, Amaterasu, since the child appeared out of nowhere and absorbed your essence, and now he is a Shinto god, and from what I feel he will be a very powerful god. His energy reserves are enormous, and that he was still a child, and his energy may be on par with supreme class demons or maybe Satan, and he doesn't even seem to be a year old yet, and his power is already surprising," said Tsukiyomi, very impressed, but at the same time careful. Since it was noticeable that this child Naruto, now son of his sister, is not a normal child, not with all the power he possesses. "And not only that, I feel your energies and I feel an enormous darkness, but at the same time a light that could shine brighter than the sun itself," said Susanoo, curious about what he was feeling from the boy, since it seemed that the boy was a box of surprises. Perhaps his domains should be darkness and light after all, that is what he feels from his older sister's son. Susanoo-sama is right, the energy of young Naruto feels like chaos itself, but at the same time order itself is strange, but at the same time very powerful, said Yasaka, curious about the power of Amaterasu's son. After all, Naruto's essence of power is so strong that she can easily feel it. Amaterasu sighed, realizing that her brothers and friend also felt the same about Naruto. It's as if her baby was destruction and creation. It's interesting, but very strange. "You're right, my little Naruto is very special. From what I feel, his energies are so dark that they would make a devil look like an angel, but at the same time it is so warm and bright that it would make the sun look like a simple lamp. It's difficult to say, but that's what I feel, and you feel it too," said Amaterasu with a small smile. Susanoo. "Then his domains will be light and darkness, sister, will be the ones that best fit my little nephew. I feel that his power will have almost no equal. Perhaps Naruto has more potential even than Izanagi." Tsukiyomi. "You are right, the indicated domains for Naruto would be light and darkness. They are the ones that best suit your son, sister. After all, we feel a great light, but at the same time a great darkness that emanates from Naruto." Yasaka. "And Amaterasu-sama, what are you going to do? Hide Naruto, or what will you do? Since we all know here that Naruto will be the target of various supernatural beings for being your son. After all, you, my lady, are one of the strongest beings, placing at the top of the top 10 of the strongest." The beautiful sun goddess nodded at what her brother and friend said, since she knew that there were beings who would use Naruto against her, and frowned at that, since she would not allow that to happen. First, she would burn the faction that would harm her baby. She was Amaterasu, one of the strongest beings, and if someone wanted her child, they would first have to go through her and the entire Shinto faction. "Well, sister, then what do you want us to do?" asked the god of the sea and storms seriously, since he knew that his sister had something in mind. For some reason she had brought them together, and he assumed that it was not just to introduce them to his new nephew. Yes, sister, what exactly do you want from us, since I doubt that you have summoned us to this place just to tell us about my new nephew, said Tsukiyomi seriously. Simple brothers, I wish that you and Yusaka-chan would help me train my little Naru-chan. I feel that he has enormous potential to the point that I believe that in due time he will surpass me, Amaterasu replied simply, although there was a glow in her that indicated that if they wished they would not be in a world of pain. Everyone opened their eyes in surprise as Amaterasu, the top 5 strongest beings, says that her son could surpass her. That was impossible. The sun goddess was only surpassed by the dragon gods, cows, Shiva, Izanami and Izanagi and Vishnu, beings who are immensely powerful, and Amaterasu says that her son has the potential to surpass her, in short, equal the Trimurti, or cows, since it would be impossible to surpass the dragon gods, as they are beings of unimaginable power. Are you sure you have that potential, Amaterasu-sama asked the Yokai leader seriously, since what Amaterasu said was no game. I'm sure that at some point my baby will surpass me, don't be distrustful, so they say it will help me protect my little Naruto, Amaterasu said seriously. The gods and Yusaka thought about it for a few seconds and then sighed, but nodded to Amaterasu's words. They will protect Naruto from Amaterasu's enemies and above all, they will protect him from any demon who wants to take advantage of Naruto. Perfect, and let me thank you for the favor of taking care of my baby, I will always be grateful, Amaterasu said seriously, but giving a small smile at the end. Blue sister, you don't have to worry, we will train your son to become a worthy and powerful prince, Susanoo said seriously. Baby Naruto saw everything and nodded to himself, he will be trained by gods and by a Kyuubi, so he saw that finally someone will train him to make him stronger than he was in his old dimension, although he misses Konoha a little, for the most part he doesn't care, after all, Konoha was always suffering for him and Kurama. Well, I guess this meeting is over, I will come more often to see your son Lady Amaterasu, said Yusaka with a sincere smile, since Yusaka would come to see little Naruto after all, she not only felt divine energy, but she also felt a large amount of chakra, but she will discuss that later in private with Amaterasu, she did not want to upset or make Susanoo and Tsukiyomi uncomfortable. Well, we're leaving, we'll see you later, sister, said Susanoo calmly. He had some things to do and also to study a training plan for Amaterasu's son, since he will begin training when he turns 4 or 5. Tsukiyomi nodded and also stood up to leave. He had things to prepare and a weapon to create. He liked having a nephew, so he will give him a perfect weapon for his sister's son. After all, Naruto has great potential, and what better way for that great potential to increase with a suitable weapon. Isaka also stood up, bowing to Amaterasu in farewell. She had some matters to attend to, for example, gathering several yokai into her faction. She had to strengthen her faction with the various yokai clans around the world. Amaterasu nodded to her friend and her siblings, and the moment everyone left she saw Naruto and smiled. Being a mother will be very beautiful, she will protect Naruto with all her power, she may not be the strongest of all existences, but he knows she is strong enough to defend her Naruto. Meanwhile, Naruto looked at Amaterasu and felt the kindness and love that the sun goddess gave off towards him, and he realized that maybe he could finally have a mother to take care of him, and he smiled, since he is finally far from Konoha. The ability to feel emotions is a very useful ability, since almost no one, if not no one, could lie to him. Naruto's thought. It would be nice to have such a protective mother, but when I grow up I have to return to the elemental nations to protect Koyuki-chan and the rest of my friends and Jinchuriki brothers. I know that Fu-chan will be safe in the country of spring. In addition, having Zabuza, Karen, Pakura, Haku and Amayuri supporting Fu will be safe from Akatsuki for the moment. I have to find out how to bring them to this dimension to be able to protect them better. I also have to free the rest of the Biju. I promised Kurama and I will do it. I may be strong, but I know I won't be able to do it. I just need allies. In the dimension of the elemental nations, various problems were taking place since the disappearance of Naruto Uzumaki. These problems mainly ended up in Konoha, since Koyoki, the daimyo of the snow country, found out what happened to Naruto and how Konoha celebrated his disappearance, so she cut off all alliances with the country of fire and Konoha, since she would not allow that foolish village to make fun of Naruto. On the other hand, other minor villages that were allied with Konoha were tempted to cut their ties, but they did not do so because of the contract they had with the Leaf, and in the case of Sunagakur, the Jinchuriki of the Sand was tempted to look for the Uchiha and slowly kill him for hurting his fellow Jinchuriki. The Leaf village, despite not having lost ninjas if they lost a large amount of money, since Koyuki made the elemental nations find out about Naruto's life, and that the Uzumaki was the son of Kushina Uzumaki, the princess of the whirlpool, and Minato Namikaze the Yondaime Hokage. This shook the entire world. Since Konoha mistreated the son of 2 of its great heroes, causing several clients not to go to Konoha and go to other villages, and in the case of their allies, they were waiting for the contract they have with the Leaf to end to cut their ties with the Leaf. But Koyuki, the daimyo of the country of spring, was sitting on her throne with a big smile, since she had destroyed much of the reputation of the village of the Leaf. She did not know what had happened to Naruto, but she knew that her little brother and savior was not dead after all. The necklace that Naruto gave her had a special seal that glowed red when Naruto died, but glowed blue the same day of Naruto's disappearance, and she did not understand that. Because if Naruto was dead the necklace would glow red, but glow blue, so she assumed that her savior is alive, but could not be contacted. Koyuki's thoughts. I know Naruto isn't dead, but I know something happened to him, and since he's not here I have to assume he's not in the elemental nations, but where exactly is he? I know Naruto will return after all. Naruto's dream was to release all the Bijuu, and I know Naruto always keeps his promises. Koyuki-sama, we are back, said a dark voice. The voice was none other than Zabuza Mamachi, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. This was sent by Naruto to the country of spring for a second chance, along with Fu, the Jinchuriki of the 7 tails, Hakiyuki and Uzumaki Karen, all this under the noses of Konoha, who did not even notice the movements Naruto made. Very well Zabuza, I suppose you fulfilled your mission, right? Asked a spring daimyo seriously. Of course Lady Koyuki, but now what are we going to do with the Gaki missing? It will be difficult to make our plans come true, Zabuza said seriously. Simple Zabuza, there is an Uzumaki level barrier on everything in our village. We will strengthen ourselves. I want you to recruit with Karen and Haku reliable shinobis if possible. I want you to recruit the Jinchuriki of the 4 and 5 tails. I know that Iwa treats them like garbage, offer them protection, and if Iwa goes crazy, we simply blame Konoha, said Koyuki with a big smile, thinking about Iwa weakening Konoha. And what about Fu, does she have 7 tails? Zabuza asked curiously, although inside he was very surprised by the daimyo's plans for revenge against Konoha and realized how dangerous the woman is despite not being strong, even though he knew that she would get stronger with the ninja training she is learning from Amayuri. She is training with her Bijuu to control its power. I know well that she is at the level of an elite jounin according to Amayuri, and in a couple of years Fu will easily be at cage level, and with the power of her Bijuu, she could even surpass any of the current cages. I have faith in Fu-chan, Koyuki replied with a small smile. The girl has powers, so it's good for the moment. Fu has to remain hidden until she masters her Bijuu. Akatsuki is hunting her, and all the members of that organization are dangerous after all. They are all Class S, having Sasori of the Red Sand, Deidara the Crazy Bomber of Iwa, Itachi of the Sharigan, and my old teammate Kisame, the tailless Bijuu, said Zabuza with a sigh. He had strengthened, maybe he could deal with Deidara and maybe Sasori. But he knew well that he was not yet at Kisame's level and less of Itachi Uchiha. There is also the Sannin of the Snakes Orochimaru. According to Karen-chan, the Sannin was a member of Akatsuki, but left the organization, although that is not the reason, but I guess Akatsuki is also hunting him, said Koyuki with a smile, since she may not like the Akatsukis, but she hated Orochimaru more for the atrocities he did to children like Karen. And what will happen with the 2 and 8 tails, asked Zabuza, curious about what plans his daimyo had. He knew that the 8 tails would be impossible to obtain through peaceful means, he is too loyal to the Reikage, but with the 2 tails, there was a small chance of obtaining it. Koyuki sighed, since the 2 and 8 tails were out of hand after all. Kumo never treated those 2 Jinchuriki badly, not that she remembers, although according to her spies, there are rumors that the 4th Reikage placed a loyalty seal on the Jinchuriki of the 2 tails, but she is still not sure and does not want to make assumptions without proof. We can't do anything about the 8 tails, he's too loyal to the Reikage, but I'm still not sure about the 2 tails. I want Haku to investigate as much as possible about the life of that Jinchuriki, Koyuki ordered in the end. As Koyuki-sama ordered, Zabuza replied, retreating a little stunned by everything he talked about with his boss. Damn, she's a very terrifying woman, perhaps more terrifying than Mei. Zabuza's thoughts. Lady Koyuki, since the disappearance of the Gaki, has become much more calculating to the point that woman scares me. She may not be as strong as a jounin yet, but the woman is very intelligent, and now with Fu the Jinchuriki of the 7 tails at her side, her military force will be strengthened, and if she gets the 6, 5 and 4 tails, the country of spring will have a power comparable to that of the 5 great nations. While in the sky of the elemental nations a meeting was taking place between the Shinigami, Kami and Yami, the 3 primordial gods of the highest level, where they governed various dimensions where beings of immense power lived. Why did you summon me to this place, Kami? I have important things to do. What is it that you want? Yami asked with a frown, since his main companion summoned him out of nowhere and he didn't like that. I agree with Yami that it is what you want, Kami. It is not like you to hold meetings out of nowhere, Shinigami said with a mocking snort towards his primordial companion. Kami frowned at how disrespectful his fellow primordials were but kept his composure, as he didn't want to battle with Shinigami, his equal in power, and Yami his superior in terms of power. He was no idiot. He knew if a battle were to happen, Yami would emerge the winner, though he wouldn't be unharmed, but he knew he would lose, and that Shinigami wouldn't do anything as he is neutral at best, and at worst would join Yami to destroy him. Well, I wish you would help me locate the whereabouts of Uzumaki Naruto. I know very well that he is not in the elemental nations. I do not feel his energy in the ninja dimension, so I want you to support me and look for the child of the prophecy. Otherwise everything in the elemental nations will be erased from existence in a couple of years, said Kami seriously. He hoped that his companions would support him in locating Naruto. He needed it to fulfill the prophecy. Shinigami snorted. He didn't know where the boy was either. He was curious, but he wouldn't look for him, much less if Kami asked him to, nor if they were allies. Besides, he had his own problems with that pathetic Shinigami, who was causing chaos in the dimension that governs the bad that couldn't intervene. Silly rules, the somewhat angry Shinigami thought with annoyance. Yami narrowed his eyes cautiously. He knew that they couldn't get involved with humans. He didn't understand what Kami wanted to do with the child of the prophecy, and he didn't understand why to save the shinobi dimension he would look for the Uzumaki, but not for Yami, but to protect the child from Kami's nonsense. And well, it will help me find Naruto, Kami asked seriously, ignoring Shinigami's snort. I will search in the dimensions that are under my command. I will do no more. You know very well that we cannot interfere with mortals, but I understand a little why you want Uzumaki Naruto, Yami said simply. Shinigami looked at Yami with some surprise, but thought about it for a moment, since, if he finds Naruto he could be his champion, and killing that traitor Shinigami would solve all his problems, since from what he saw Yamamoto did not have enough power to finish off Aizen and his army. Fine, I'll look for it, Kami, as long as you don't bother me anymore, Shinigami replied coldly. Thank you, and you don't have to worry. I'm not going to interfere more than I can, so you don't have to remind me of that rule, Kami said seriously and sighing, since he had the support of Shinigami and Yami, although he didn't understand why he had a bad feeling about having the support of Yami and Shinigami. Yami and Shinigami nodded and disappeared, one in a whirlwind of darkness and the other in a burst of black fire. I hope Yami and Shinigami support me. Naruto being on the elemental continent will be the only chance for the ninjas to save themselves, Kami thought with a sigh. End of chapter. Chapter 3. The potential of the god of light and darkness. It's been approximately 6 years since Naruto Uzumaki became the prince of the Shinto faction and son of the sun goddess Amaterasu, and in this time the trio of Shinto gods blessed Naruto the benefits that the little Uzumaki managed to get from the trio of Shinto gods that provided him with unique powers with great advantages. The first blessing is from Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun and the universe, the mother of the red-haired Uzumaki, who gave him the power to control white fire, a fire as hot as the sun, and finally gave him the use of one of the most destructive magic to such an extent that it was on par with the power of destruction, and this magic is solar magic, the power to carbonize everything in its path without leaving anything in its wake. The second blessing is that of Susanoo, the god of the sea, storms and battles, the second strongest of the Shinto brothers. This gave Naruto the power to control lightning, water and storms, and finally Tsukiyomi, the goddess of the moon, the third sister, with her blessing, gave Naruto the being able to be immune to almost any illusion, and that he will be able to use one of the most dangerous and powerful magics in the supernatural world. This is lunar magic, a magic so destructive and dangerous that the best users could destroy entire cities with an attack of that type of magic. During this time Naruto increased both his magic reserves and his chakra reserves, to the point that he surpassed Susanoo and Tsukiyomi in terms of reserves, which impressed everyone due to the great energy reserves that the Prince of Shinto possesses. On the other hand, Naruto began his training at the age of 4, where Naruto was able to learn a large number of spells and handling of the fire element, as well as being able to use the white flames of his mother Amaterasu, thanks to the fact that the sun goddess trained him in high-level defensive and offensive spells, making Naruto a prodigy in magic, as well as Amaterasu taught Naruto to use his divine energy, making Naruto very skilled in this field. In addition, Susanoo and Tsukiyomi were able to teach him combat with divine weapons, as well as storm and water magic in the case of Susanoo, and in the case of Tsukiyomi, he taught him lunar magic and how to use a sword, raising Naruto to an enormous level for a child of the age of 6. On the other hand, Naruto at the age of 5 was able to build with the help of Kurama, thanks to his knowledge of Fuinjutsu in the case of Kurama, and in the case of Naruto in magical runes, that he was able to learn from the Shinto library, and thanks to all Naruto was able to recreate something similar to the Evil Pieces game of the demon faction. Unlike the Evil Pieces, Naruto's pieces are much more powerful in terms of both power and benefits. Therefore, Naruto called the pieces created based on the creation of Ajuka divine pieces, where Naruto placed the king piece, further increasing his magic and chakra reserves to a ridiculously powerful level for a child under 10 years old. In addition, Naruto informed Amaterasu of his past life as a weapon for a village that mistreated and hated him. He told her about his life as a Jinchuriki and that he still carries the nine-tailed fox, that despite not being as powerful as her, Naruto told her that in terms of power, he surpasses Susanoo and Tsukiyomi together. What the Uzumaki said made the sun goddess want to burn Konoha and torture all its inhabitants who harmed her baby. Amaterasu did not care that Naruto was a Jinchuriki, the only thing that mattered to her was protecting him from everyone, becoming much more protective of Naruto since he told her about his past life in Konoha and how he was treated by the villagers and ninjas of the Leaf. Currently Naruto was in his room. In the opinion of the Naruto, he is already strong enough to release Kurama without repercussions for his body, although he knew it would hurt a lot to release Kurama, after all the Nine Tails is the strongest Biju. Ready? Kurama asked Naruto, happy to free his partner, so he opened the seal where the nine-tailed fox was trapped and freeing him from him so he can walk on earth. The black-haired man moaned in pain when a red chakra came out of him and took the form of a Redeed of approximately 12 or 13 years of age. Naruto fell on one knee from exhaustion at being able to free the one he considers his older brother and best friend. When Kurama freed himself from the seal, he noticed Naruto on his knees. He helped the Redeed up, which he appreciated as he felt too weak to free his friend Kurama. "Well puppy, you managed to free me completely and you kept your promise," said Kurama with a fanged smile. Since he was happy to finally be free, now he will have greater freedom to be able to protect Naruto with all his power. He may not be the strongest in the world, but he is strong enough to be in the top 10 of the strongest. Naruto smiled. "I know Kurama, a promise is a promise. The first step is ready. I free you, and soon we will both take revenge on Konoha, you for being locked up, and me for being despised and beaten by that trash," Naruto said coldly, and with his power coming out of it forming behind him a red-eyed demon. Kurama nodded, happy to be able to have his fair little revenge against Konoha and everyone who hurt Naruto. He will kill especially the pervert and the scarecrow and finish off the rest of the Uchihas in the elemental nations. After all, almost everyone in that clan is trash. Kurama spoke again. "As I promised Naruto, I will never leave your side, and even if I am free I will always support you in everything, but changing the subject, we will go look for your nobility?" asked the Kyuubi. Naruto nodded. "Well, I'll have to go look for my nobility, and with your support, I don't think anything will happen to me. After all, your power surpasses that of the Mau. I would say that you can easily place yourself in the lower part of the top 10 of the strongest beings, but with time you can become much stronger, perhaps reaching the level of Tifon, and I know that you can easily strengthen Kurama. After all, you are the strongest Biju," Naruto said simply. Kurama, "Well, that's interesting. I know there are beings that could defeat me, and as you say I'm at the bottom of the top 10, but it doesn't matter, I'll become much stronger to help you with your plan." But changing the subject, when do you plan to go to the elemental nations? asked the strongest Kyuubi. "You know very well that we will go, Kurama. We will rescue your brothers and all our allies in the elemental nations, as well as destroy all our enemies for all the damage they caused us. This is a promise that I will keep no matter what it costs," Naruto replied seriously. Kurama nodded in understanding, but smiled, as his little brother had not forgotten about the other Biju. He had not forgotten about his brothers who were sealed in the elemental nations. "Good, and as I promised you, Kurama, I want you to join my peerage. I want you to be my bishop with your chakra reserves and your ability to launch destructive attacks of great magnitude. I think being my bishop would be the best piece asked," and Naruto said with a smile. Kurama sighed, but nodded. He will become the bishop of Naruto. He knew well that this piece will make his power increase considerably and that he will be able to use magical attacks as well as some divine attacks thanks to the divine pieces that allow him to use energy from the Shinto gods. "Well, I will be your bishop, Naruto. I will always be by your side and I will be your shield to protect you from any existence that wants to harm you, and I will be your sword to execute any being you want to destroy," said Kurama with a small smile. After all, he is 100% loyal to Naruto, so loyal that if he had to choose between Naruto and his father Hagoromo, he would choose Naruto. After all, he was the one who gave him the most support in the shinobi world and the one who never judged him despite how destructive he was and even offered him his friendship, something that no human did. Naruto nodded in understanding and happiness that his best friend agreed to become a member of his peerage, so he took out his bishop piece and extended it to Kurama, causing the piece to enter the Kyuubi, increasing its power and making Kurama feel like he can use not only chakra but also magic and divine energy as he predicted. The burst of power and exponential increase of Kurama was so great that it was felt throughout the Shinto faction and even in several places in the supernatural world. The power was so great that Kurama was easily placed among the strongest, all thanks to the divine piece that greatly increased his power, and now Kurama knew that his power surpasses that of Madara, Uchiha and Hashirama Senju individually. The Kyuubi knew that only Hamura, Hagoromo and Kagaya would be the only beings in the elemental nations who could defeat them, and was happy to be the new bishop of his brother Naruto, since thanks to being so his power surpassed the people he hates the most, the tree-hugging fool Hashirama and the power-mad fool Madara. "Well, it's interesting the pieces you created. Naruto now feels that my power is so great that even the scum of Madara and the fool Hashirama are inferior to me," said Kurama, even with his power coming out, a power so great that maybe even Typhoon would be inferior. Naruto nodded with a small smile, but frowned upon hearing Madara's name. He would torture the Uchiha for what he did to his brother. When he goes to the elemental nations, he will capture him to torture him for eternity, the little Uzumaki thought cruelly, his sadistic Uzumaki side coming out. If Uzumaki Mito saw him, she would be proud of her descendant. Meanwhile all the gods of the Shinto faction were nervous, since the burst of power that Kurama released was far superior to almost all the Shinto gods except Amaterasu, Izanami and Izanagi, who are three of the strongest gods in the supernatural world. So, the goddess of the sun, feeling the great power too close to her son's rooms, went at great speed. She knew that her son is strong despite his age, but she was not sure that he has a chance against that entity, hell even she, if she fights that being, she would have to go seriously. Amaterasu's thought. I hope I arrive on time, I don't want anything to happen to Naru-chan, that entity that is near my baby, has a great amount of very dark and destructive power, perhaps in terms of power that being is the equivalent of Typhon, the destroyer of the Greeks. Amaterasu barely arrived at the chambers of her small but powerful son saw with surprise how a young man of approximately 12 or 11 years old with red hair was surrounded by an aura so strong and destructive that it surprised her. But what surprised her even more is that her son was calm as if the person who was at his side was not a threat, and the goddess of the sun also saw somewhat incredulously how 9 tails appeared behind the individual, and that is when she realized the being that was with her son was that Biju called Kurama, the only one who was always on the side of her little Naruto, so she sighed in relief since her baby was not in danger. I see you were able to free your best friend, a certain little Naruto, said Amaterasu with a small smile, as she was happy that her baby was able to free her best friend from the Grim Reaper seal, although also surprised by the power of that being. Naruto and Kurama were surprised by the arrival of Amaterasu. They did not feel her presence and assumed it was because they were distracted by the release of the seal. Hello mother, it's a pleasure to see you, and sorry for the great energy you felt, and I know you have questions, but before you say anything for seeing me so exhausted as you may have noticed is because I freed my best friend Kurama, and as you may have noticed, I'm a little tired of freeing him from the Grim Reaper seal, but I'll recover in a moment, I just need to rest, Naruto replied with a small smile. Amaterasu nodded with a smile and sighed. Now she will have to calm her people, since they were nervous with the great energy of Kurama, and who wouldn't after all, her son's best friend has a power equivalent to a typhoon. She knew he was strong, but she thought he would be at the level of Thor or Hades at most, and now she finds out that her son's best friend Akayubi is at the level of a typhoon, which is surprising. Mother, I notice you are somewhat tense. I know that the village may be nervous with Kurama's energy, but it is not only that true. You will go meet with Lord Izanagi and Lady Izanami? Naruto asked with curiosity, although inside he was a little nervous, since those two are the only 2 Shinto gods who surpass his mother in power. After all, his mother is in the top 5, but Izanami is in the top 4, and Izanagi is in the top 3. He knew both powerful gods, and the truth is he was happy that that couple settled their differences. He had a lot to do with it, mainly by making at least those powerful gods look like friends, and despite being stronger than his mother, neither of them wanted to lead the faction. According to them, they did not want to have paperwork, but only wanted to have a quieter life. You are right, I will meet with Lord Izanagi and Lady Izanami. I know that they are no longer angry and want to kill each other, so it will be much easier to talk to them, all thanks to you, my son, thanks to the fact that you solved the problems with Izanami-sama and Izanagi-sama. Now we have strengthened our faction, and today we are easily on equal footing with the Hindu gods in terms of power and armies, Amaterasu said with a big smile. Since her son was able to make both first-level gods stop their fights and even bless their baby, a strange thing about both gods, and the strangest thing for Amaterasu, was that Izanagi and Izanami told Naruto that they will protect him from anyone. There the goddess of the sun realized that both high-level beings became fond of her son, and from what she saw, both gods see her little Naruto as their grandson. Blue's mother and I am happy that both have been able to solve their problems, but now I want to ask your permission to be able to recruit high-level people for my nobility. After all, the divine pieces that I create are similar to the demonic ones, with the difference that they practically turn people into demigods and increase any ability, as well as giving them a diversity of extra abilities, said Naruto. Amaterasu sighed. Her baby may appear to be 6 years old, but her son's mentality is that of a teenager, so it seems logical that he wants to go out and see the world and recruit other beings to strengthen his faction. After all, that is not a bad idea, and she knew how her son managed to recruit several high-level beings. Amaterasu, good, but first I want you to support Usaka-chan. She will meet with Amayu. My friend wants her back in the Nakasho clan, since there were many problems between the demons and the Nico clan, and will discuss an agreement with the demons. I want you to go to that meeting and support her, and if it gets ugly or the demons threaten Usaka in the meeting, you have permission to destroy those demons. You will go to Lord Kurama. His power is enormous, and it will be enough to intimidate the demons, and with you by her side the demons would be idiots if they attack them. Finished speaking the beautiful goddess of the sun with a small smile. You have nothing to worry about, Lady Amaterasu. I will protect Naruto and Lady Asaka from those demons. I know I'm not the strongest in the world, but I know I'm strong enough to protect my little brother, Kurama said seriously. He respected the goddess in front of him, since that woman is strong and protected his brother from anything happening to him, as well as strengthening him. He knows that Naruto in terms of power is not yet stronger than him, but he knows that with time he will surpass him. Naruto snorted, he doesn't need to be protected, he knows he's not the strongest in the supernatural world, and only those in the top 10 represent any threat to him, especially the first 7 who surpassed the power of the celestial dragons, whether together or individually. Naruto, well mother, I will go with Lady Asaka to the meeting with the Mau, so she can see how strong the demons are, and what the demons are like, if they are evil entities as it is said throughout the supernatural world, or if they changed after their civil war. Also, it would be interesting to meet other beings of great power. Amaterasu nodded and sighed, she just hoped that the meeting with the demons went well, and that they returned the Nakasho clan. She knew that there were demons who wanted her kittens as slaves, and that would never happen before she burned down Bucking Hell. Her kittens would not be slaves to the demonic trash. Well son, it's time for you to go to Kyoto. In a few days the Mau will meet with Yasaka-chan, and with you and Kurama, my friend, will have the support and powers. After all, the current Lucifer is something extremely powerful, being in the top 10 of the strongest, so be careful, said Amaterasu seriously. She knew she could destroy that demon, but he is still a strong adversary, since all those in the top 10 are beings that surpass almost any being. You have nothing to worry about mother, I may not be as strong as you, but I am powerful enough to also enter the top 10, after all I have already surpassed Uncle Susanoo and Tsukiyomi, said Naruto with a smile, since thanks to his training, he was able to increase his power in an abysmal way, although he knew he could be stronger, but since his body is not yet fully developed, his power seemed somewhat limited, which bothered him. Well, you will leave tomorrow for Kyoto for the meeting with the demonic faction, and be careful, the demons are cunning, if they try something finish them off. I don't care if that causes a war, if they try to do something to you, I myself will raise the entire underworld, said Amaterasu coldly and with her eyes shining with power. Kurama was surprised to see that Amaterasu wouldn't mind going to war if the demons tried something against them, or well against Naruto, and that made him smile, since his little brother got a powerful and loving mother who would even go to war if someone tried something against Naruto. Well, Naruto had a small smile, since his mother would do everything for him, even go to war to protect him from any being, and that pleased him. Well, you know what to do, son. Tomorrow you leave for Kyoto, and after the meeting, I will have a meeting with you to talk about how long you will leave to recruit high-powered beings with your divine pieces. I would also suggest you can recruit, but we will talk about that in the future, Amaterasu said seriously. I understand mother, and you have nothing to worry about. With Kurama's help, we will protect Lady Asaka from anything the demons can do to her if the meeting does not go as expected, said Naruto, since he would finish off the demons if they tried anything against Asaka. After all, she is his mother's friend and the leader of the Yokai faction, as well as a great person in his eyes. End of chapter. Naruto nobility. Options for Naruto's queen. Merlin, Ninetsu no Taizai. Belzard, Slime Data Ken. Raven, DC. Options for the bishop. Elizabeth, Ninetsu no Taizai. Shin Wolford, Kenja no Mago. Good luck, Slime Data Ken. Tiamat DxD. Options for gentlemen. Arthur Pendragon or Artoria Pendragon, Fate, I'm not sure how to place it yet. Gilgamesh, Fate. Benmaru, Slime Data Ken. Shion, Slime Data Ken. Our options. Meliodas, Ninetsu no Taizai. Steel Frame, DxD. Buldora, Slime Data Ken. Zeldris, Ninetsu no Taizai. Ino, Slime Data Ken. Well, these are the options for Naruto's nobility. In the case of the pawns, it is already decided. Vote which one you think is the best for Naruto's nobility. Maybe I will make him a second nobility in the future, but for the moment those are the options. Chapter 4. Meeting with the demonic faction. Currently Naruto, the prince of the Shinto faction, was with Kurama, his bishop, in the vicinity of Kyoto to enter the territory of the Yokai faction. They did this in order to accompany and support Asaka, the leader of the Yokai faction of Kyoto, since apparently the current Mau Lucifer will attend the meeting, one of the 10 strongest existences in the supernatural world, occupying Surzich's Lucifer, the 10th strongest. In addition to having the support of Seraphol Leviathan, another Mau and the strongest woman in the underworld, as well as Graphia Lucifer, the strongest queen of the underworld and a Satan category demon, although a little weaker than Seraphol, the strongest queen should not be underestimated, not for nothing is feared in the supernatural world. Both powers of the top 10 of the strongest were in Kyoto. Since Amaterasu, the leader of the Shinto faction, ordered them to support Asaka in the meeting with the leaders of the demons. After a few minutes Naruto, the prince of Shinto, arrived with his best friend Kurama to the Yokai faction, where they met Yusaka the Kyuubi and leader of the Yokai faction, as well as an existence of a level comparable to that of Seraphol Leviathan, one of the 4 leaders of the underworld. It's a pleasure to see you again, Lady Yusaka, you are still as beautiful as ever, my mother sends her regards, and she also sent me to offer you support in the meeting with the Mao of the underworld, both morally and in power, Naruto said politely and with a small smile at being able to see Yusaka again, after all, at some point she was also his teacher. Yusaka smiled radiantly at being able to see the little son of her lady and friend Amaterasu again, how she missed little Naruto, she wanted him to meet her daughter after all, her daughter Kunu is 4 years old, she is not much different from Naruto. Although she knew that the little Reed in maturity greatly surpasses her daughter and even many teenagers, or how she would like to have Naruto as her little daughter's husband. Kunu, after all, the Reed is a strong god with a good heart who could protect his daughter from almost any being that wanted to hurt her, and she has full confidence in him after all. Amaterasu-sama raised him to be a good boy, thought the Yokai leader with happiness as she imagined her daughter and Naruto together as the couple. It's a pleasure to see you again, little Naruto, although now you're not little anymore, a certain Prince Naruto, said Yusaka with a smile, seeing the little son of her friend and Lady Amaterasu. After all, it's been a long time since she saw him, and she only hopes that he has become much stronger than his teachers Susanoo, the god of the sea and storms, and Tsukiyomi, god of the moon. Since she knew that he still could not surpass his mother Amaterasu after all, she is the goddess of the sun and the universe, a being that is in the top 5 of the strongest, thought the leader of the Yokai. It is also a pleasure to see you again, Lady Yusaka, I missed you, I present to you my best friend and guard Kurama, just like you, he is a Kyuubi, said Naruto with a big smile. Seeing Yusaka's shocked face, he knew there were few Kyuubi, and that there was one more that surely made her happy and surprised her. It's impressive that there is another Kyuubi in the world apart from me and my daughter, and it's a pleasure to meet you, Kurama.san, come with me, our guests are already in the meeting room, they arrived just in time so they haven't waited long, Yusaka said with a sigh as she met those demons. She didn't hate the demons, she just didn't like their leaders very much, especially Lucifer, because of how incompetent he is when there's a serious situation. Lead the way, Lady Yusaka, it's time to see the leaders of the demonic faction, I will be your backup so you have nothing to worry, Naruto said seriously, since he would not allow anything to happen to Yusaka, after all, she is his mother's best friend, so she is family in his eyes, and he will always protect his family. Yusaka nodded with a smile, she knew how strong Naruto is, according to Lady Amaterasu, little Naruto would be in terms of power in the top 8 or 9 of the strongest beings, and that calmed her, since he would be enough to face the current Lucifer if things got ugly. Kurama watched the interaction between the Kyuubi and his brother with curiosity about what he felt from Naruto's emotions. He sees Yusaka as family, maybe as an aunt since she is Lady Amaterasu's best friend, he supposed, but he didn't care much. He will protect Yusaka with all his power, after all, that is what Naruto wants, and he didn't care about protecting the Kyuubi, after all, she is an ally of the Shinto faction. Yusaka looked sideways at Kurama as she led the way to Naruto for the meeting with the demons. In Yusaka's eyes, Kurama was cute, although he looked like a boy of 11 or 12 years old. She realized that he would be a Kyuubi with great stature and power in a few years. She wondered how strong Kurama and Naruto will be in a couple of years. After all, Kurama has great power, she didn't know how great. But she felt that it is even stronger than hers, and Naruto is easily on par with Thor, the Norse god of lightning, or Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. 5 minutes later, Yusaka, Kurama and Naruto were entering the meeting where the Mao, Lucifer and Leviathan, along with the strongest queen of the underworld, were waiting for them to solve the Nakasho clan treaty. But when the three entered, the demon Xerxes, Seraphol and Graphia saw with surprise and disbelief how 2 children of 6 and 11 years old entered with Yusaka, but when they felt the power of both children, the demons got serious. Since the smallest had the level of the Monkey King, while the largest was easily at the level of Odin or Zeus, which impressed them and made them sweat, since both children were not a game if things got complicated, and they wondered what level they will reach in a couple of years. Nice to see you, Graphia Lucifuge, Seraphol Leviathan and Xerxes Lucifer, said Yusaka, seriously sitting down to start the meeting. She would not leave the meeting if they did not hand over the Nakasho clan to her, and she would have the Yokai clan no matter what it costs, even if she had to fight. She just hoped it would not go to those extremes. Nice to meet you, Graphia Lucifuge, Seraphol Leviathan and Xerxes Lucifer, I'm Uzumaki Naruto, behind me is Kurama, I think it's time to start the meeting and discuss the Yokai clan agreement, Nakasho, don't you believe it? Naruto said and asked seriously, since he wanted to finish the meeting as quickly as possible, and if he had to go directly to the point that would be discussed to do it, he will do it. Kurama stared at everyone in the meeting. He was prepared to fight if the demons did anything against Yusaka or Naruto. After all, demons couldn't be trusted easily. Seraphol Leviathan and Xerxes Lucifer nodded, indicating that it was time to begin the meeting and discuss the Nakasho agreement. Well, Seraful Dono and Surziches Dono, we want the Nikasho to return to Kyoto. We know what the demons sometimes do to some Nikasho, so the Nikasho must return. After all, they are yokai, and the agreement states that the demons cannot hurt the Nikasho clan, and despite the agreement their demons always hurt them and tried to force them to join their nobility, said Yusaka coldly. Surziches, Seraful and Graphia frowned, since if they lost the Nikasho clan in the underworld, they would most likely lose several reincarnated with excellent combat skills, because the Cat Yokai clan has unique abilities even among yokai. Isaka Dono, I understand that there are inconveniences, but you can't withdraw the Yokai Nikasho clan from the underworld, just like that we have a treaty, said Surziches seriously. And that treaty was broken when some of the demons under your command harmed several of the Nikasho. The clan leader informed me, and I fear what will happen if things continue like this. Something could happen to the Nikasho clan, Yusaka said coldly. She would not allow the Nikasho to remain in the underworld. The demons frowned, as they knew the problems that were between some demons and the Nikasho clan, but they did not know that Yusaka was already informed of those mishaps, and that complicated things, since now she had a valid reason to want to take the Nikasho clan to the underworld. Lady Yusaka, reconsider your choice. We know well that the treaty was not fulfilled to the letter, but give us a chance to our faction. I know we can improve, said Seraful seriously and sighing. She was angry that Surziches does not have a firm hand with the demons, and now they were in a big mess with the Yokai faction that wanted the Nikasho back, as she hated her Surziches' behavior, always getting him into a lot of trouble with different factions. Yusaka looked at Seraful and denied that there would be no second chances. She would not risk the Nikasho clan with the demons, much less with how pathetic their current Lucifer is. He was not fit to be a leader, so there would be no second chances in her opinion. There will be no second chances. I can't risk the Nikashos that you demons try something or worse, still harm them more, so they will return to the Yokai faction of Kyoto as indicated in the treaty that we both signed. It is fair, after all you broke the treaty by harming the Nikasho clan, said Yusaka coldly. Naruto and Kurama nodded, giving their support to Yusaka. They wouldn't speak until things got ugly with the demons, and from what they saw, they would get ugly soon, seeing Lucifer's frown and how little by little he was raising his power. Although Yusaka hadn't realized it yet, they did and were already in their lair in case the foolish demon wanted to be too clever. Surziches raised his power angrily. In his thoughts he was furious, since in his eyes, that Kyubi woman dared to deny him a request, or he would destroy her and her entire faction. After all, he is Surziches Lucifer, the top 10 of the strongest existences, and that Kyubi at most has a level on par with Seraful, something with which he could deal with some inconvenience, but he knew well it would not represent so many problems. After all, he is a super demon, and the strongest demon there is currently. Look, Yusaka Dono, I will stay with the Nikasho clan even if you don't want them to. They are necessary in my faction, so I don't care what you think. The Nico clan will stay in the underworld even if you don't want them to, said Surziches, raising his power, causing the whole place to shake and cracks to appear underneath. Seraful and Graphia widened their eyes in surprise, since Surziches raising his power was practically what he was doing was a declaration of war, a silly thing, since everyone knew that the Yokai were under the protection of the Shinto faction, so they had to stop him before he did something stupid and led them to war with the Yokai and the Shinto gods. You will not threaten Lady Yusaka, you foolish 5th class demon, because if you continue making your threat, I will finish you off myself, and we will see how strong you are. Pathetic, Lucifer, said Naruto coldly, raising his power more and more, comparing it to Surziches Lucifer, causing the two top 10 powers to collide, causing the entire place to crack and the walls of the room to slowly crumble from the power of the Mayu's destruction and Naruto's raw power. Isaka, Seraful, Graphia and Kurama, seeing that the meeting turned into a battle, all raised their auras to intimidate their opponent, causing the entire meeting room to tremble from the strong auras, although the most impressed were the demons, since they did not think that the boy could have such great power, making them see that he may be on par with a super demon. And who do you think you are, kid, to impose your will? I attack whoever I want. I am the current Lucifer, leader of one of the strongest factions in the supernatural world. I am the leader of the underworld, and I do what I want, so get out of my way or you will die by my power of destruction, brat, said the Crimson Mayu arrogantly, releasing a bit of his power of destruction to intimidate the brat who dared to contradict him, the strongest Mayu, the current Lucifer who blasphemes. Naruto snorted, amused by the demon's audacity. He may be strong, but he is much more powerful, just as Kurama is stronger than any demon that exists. Even according to Amaterasu, Kurama was on par with the ancient Lucifer, which is surprising since that demon was the most powerful that ever existed. I challenge you to a fight, Lucifer Dono, and you will see that I am not a simple child. You will regret how insolent you are, cheap demon, said Naruto, amused, raising his power further, comparing it to that of a celestial dragon to intimidate that pathetic demon who in his eyes should be eradicated from all existence, and if they fight today, he will eradicate him from all existence, and he will not let that pathetic demon remain alive if they fight. Naruto's power was such that Seraphol, Graphia and Yusaka were breaking out in a cold sweat, as a child has a power level that may rank in the top 8 of the strongest existences, and they wondered how strong he would become over time. Graphia's thoughts. Fool Surziches, now you've gotten us in trouble. The child you challenged is very powerful. The energy he's noticing is chakra with divine energy. I can't be wrong, most likely the child is a demigod, but so powerful. I've never heard of demigods as strong as this child, and the bodyguard he brought is not far behind. That Kyuubi may be at the level of a Juku or higher. We're in serious trouble if this continues. I think Surziches could be killed. Seraphol's thoughts. If I don't intervene in this battle, it's most likely that Surziches will be killed, and if that happens the demonic faction will be seriously weakened. After all, the fool Surziches is the strongest among the current 4 Mau, although it costs me to say it. Me being the third and Ajuka-chan the second, this is complicated. It is better to give in to the Nakasho before it can cause a war that could lead to hundreds if not thousands of deaths on both sides, and with those two next to Lady Asaka, I doubt we have any chance of winning without having the entire underworld raised by 2 beings the size of the celestial dragons. Kurama's thoughts. I trust Naruto and I know he can defeat that false Lucifer, since in terms of power, according to Lady Amaterasu, Naruto has the level of a celestial dragon or the level of the Mad Titan Kronos, which is surprising for his age, and it is most likely that he will grow stronger with age and reach the power level of his mother or even surpass her and position himself at the top of the top 10 of the strongest. Isaka's thoughts. I knew that little Naruto is strong, but this is incredible. His power far exceeds the current Lucifer. I calculate that he is as strong as Thor or Hades. I even think that his power surpasses them. I know that both gods are strong, but Naruto apparently surpasses them by far. Now I understand why he is the son of Lady Amaterasu. Little Naruto's power is unreal for a child of his age, and I know that he will continue to grow more and more. Naruto has the potential to be on par with Izanagi in a couple of years. Well, demon, let's start the battle, or are you afraid of a little boy of the age of 6 defeating you? Naruto said mockingly, exploding his power, forming behind him a great 10-tailed beast that smiled wildly from the battle and the thirst for blood. Surziches raised his power again, causing both powers to collide, but the current Lucifer was somewhat nervous since the brat in front of him had a power close to that of a typhoon, and he knew that it would take the 4 Mau and Graphia to even have a chance with that beast, and the child in front of him has a level close to that terrifying being. He was cocky, but not an idiot. He knew that if he continued like this they would fight, and he was not sure of beating the child. The best thing in his eyes is to retreat and leave the Nakasho in command of Yusaka. Also, he did not want to cause a war that could harm his faction, but he would soon take revenge for everything they did to him today. Seraphol, Graphia and Yusaka were in disbelief at Naruto's power, and now the 3 Satan-level women realized that the battle could become very destructive and to the death if Naruto and the current Lucifer continue to raise their power more and more to such an extent that it was being felt throughout Kyoto, making the 3 women nervous as it would attract a lot of attention to the battle, as well as potentially destroy all of Kyoto. I think we should calm down. The Yaokai clan will return to Kyoto in a week. Lady Yusaka has nothing to worry about. We do not want a battle where both sides are harmed, and our enemies want to finish us off when they see us weakened, said Seraphol Leviathan seriously. I agree with Seraphol. Sama, it's time to relax and not fight, since it would attract the attention of other factions, Graphia said seriously and looking at her master out of the corner of her eye to indicate that he should stop emanating his power, since if they fight the battle, it would attract a lot of attention to other factions, and their enemies will take advantage to defeat them. Surziches saw his fellow Mau and sighing under his power, but he was frowning at being stopped by his queen and his fellow Mau, while Naruto had a mocking smile. But inside he was also somewhat annoyed at being stopped. He wanted to mop the floor with the idiot Surziches, but he would have a chance later. He just had to wait for the Crimson Mau to do something stupid. Isaka, Graphia and Seraphol sighed in relief as there wouldn't be a super demon level fight. That would be a good thing, though the 3 powerful women knew that Naruto would win the battle if it came to that. After all, the power that came out of him was on par superior to the celestial dragons. Well, I guess there won't be a battle, so I ask you please don't forget that in a week the Nakasho clan must be in Kyoto, otherwise I myself will get them out of the underworld, and don't try to do anything to the Nakasho, because if you do they won't like the repercussions, Naruto said coldly, releasing much of his power again to make it clear that he didn't care about destroying the underworld if he could rescue the Nakasho. Surziches frowned while Seraphol nodded in confirmation. The Mau Leviathan did not want an unnecessary fight with a being superior to a celestial dragon. Damn, she was childish, but she is not stupid to face a being that may be in the middle of the top 10 of the strongest beings. We retire Lady Asaka, Lord Naruto and Lord Kurama in a week. The Nakasho clan will return to Kyoto. I myself guarantee it, Grafia said seriously, since she would not allow her king to become enemies of such dangerous beings. She was not an idiot, since she felt the level of power of Yasaka's companions, and definitely the little boy was on another level higher than her king, and the 12-year-old is easily close to that of Lord Ajuka. Asaka and Naruto nodded at the words of the current Lucifer, since it was clear that he is serious about returning to the Yokai Nakasho, although they both knew that part of his decision is that he felt a power that surpasses that of his leader. As the 3 Satan-class demons retreated, Kurama frowned. He wanted to see blood, and as Naruto massacres the current Lucifer, he internally cursed Seraphil and Grafia, since he bet that if they didn't intervene, the fool Lucifer would attack Naruto, and they would have a fight to the death, or at least until each of them fell unconscious. And he knew that if the fight had happened, the brat Lucifer would perish before his best friend. After all, Naruto surpasses even the legendary celestial dragons. Kurama snorted the last bit, since he knew that he not only surpasses them, but would also destroy them if Naruto faced that attempt at a leader that is the current Lucifer. End of chapter. First nobility of Naruto. King, Naruto Uzumaki, Prince of Shinto, God of Light and Darkness. Queen, Velzard, True Dragon, White Ice Dragon. Bishop, Kurama, the Kyuubi of Destruction, the Nine-Tailed Biju. Bishop, Merlin, Supreme Sorceress, the Witch of Infinity. Knight, Gilgamesh, King of Heroes, the strongest hero. Knight, Artoria Pendragon, King of Knights, Holy Knight. Tower, Vildora, True Dragon, Storm Dragon. Tower, Velgrand, True Dragon, Burning Dragon. Pawn, Ingvold Leviathan, the Ice Demon, Holy Ice Mage. Pawn, Shin Wolford, Calamity Wizard, the Blessed Knight. Pawn, Charlemagne, King of the Franks, Holy Roman Emperor. Pawn, Leo Demonheart, Mr. Godheart, Chaos Knight. Pawn, Yamato, Oni Princess Warlord. Pawn, Joan of Arc, Santa Maiden Salvadora, Saint of Orleans. Pawn, Portgas Ace, Fireman, Master of Flames. Pawn, Esdeath, Ice Queen, the cruelest woman. Maybe a second nobility will be made later. For the moment these will be the members of Naruto's nobility. The pawns will mostly have the level of a Satan or higher, while the true dragons and Gilgamesh will be among the 4 strongest. Chapter 5. Recruitment. 4 days have passed since Naruto met with the demon faction and their leaders Lucifer and Leviathan, where the meeting ended in favor of the Yokai, thanks to Naruto being able to intimidate the demons, where a battle almost happened between the demon king Lucifer and the prince of the Shinto gods. Currently Naruto was talking with his mother Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun and the universe, since Naruto would go on a training trip and also to recruit several beings for his nobility, along with Kurama, his first member of nobility and bishop. In addition, Amaterasu was informing him who were the existences that were forbidden to step on her territory. Because he would be in danger of being destroyed by these first-level entities that even surpass her, and some of these beings even equal or surpass Izanagi, the strongest of the Shinto, and that was very problematic, and Amaterasu did not want anything to happen to her son. Well Naruto, as you well know, you have met the leaders of the biblical demonic faction, and although strong they do not represent a considerable threat to us. The biblical faction is just a simple nuisance unless they join, since if they do their armies outnumber us almost 2 or 3 times, and although they do not have beings that represent a considerable threat, they have strong beings as you noticed being the Seraph Metatron, the Demon King Ajuka. The current Lucifer and the rejected of heaven Azrael, those 4 powers, although strong, could not defeat me, but you must still be careful not to provoke them like you did today at the meeting, and although I am proud that you have put the current Lucifer in his place, I worry about you, so do not do it again. You are still too young to make enemies, Amaterasu said seriously, but you could see in the eyes of the sun goddess the respect, love and concern. Lose, but you know very well mother that, if I had fought against the current Lucifer, the Leviathan and his bodyguard who is at the level of a Satan, I think I would have been able to defeat the 3 of them with difficulty, but I know I would have defeated them, Naruto said seriously. I know son, but you should not be confident. Your Bishop Kurama may be strong at the level of the Tiffin Beast, and you are close to that level, but you should not be confident. There are still very strong beings that you must be very careful. Among them is Trimurti, Indra, Cows, Office and Great Red, who are beings so strong that even if you join Kurama at most you could defeat Lord Indra. You should never be confident. Since any of those beings could surpass the 2 celestial dragons together, said Amaterasu sternly. Lose mother, you have no reason to worry. I promise to never trust any opponent, and I promise to get stronger and stronger, and that I will surpass you. I know very well that you are in the top 5 of the strongest, but I promise to surpass you and surpass Izanagi-sama, said Naruto seriously. Amaterasu sighed, her son was somewhat obsessed with getting stronger and surpassing her. He knew it was an ambitious goal, but he knew that his son could surpass her over time. He would even say that he has the potential to reach the level of Izanami and Izanagi with a little luck. Well Naruto, before you leave on your training trip, I have to tell you some information that few gods know. I'm telling you this because I want you to be informed of everything that happens or has happened in the supernatural world, Amaterasu said seriously. Naruto raised an eyebrow in curiosity, he didn't understand what made his mother so serious and tense, his mother is very strong, he doesn't understand what makes her so nervous. Well Naruto, as you well know, you have met the leaders of the biblical demonic faction, but there are other demons that are much stronger, it is said that they are the primordial demons, it is said that even one of them has a level comparable to that of Lord Shiva, who is positioned as one of the strongest beings, and you will wonder why you have not heard of those beings, and it is simple the biblical god did something, maybe he sealed them, or maybe he destroyed them, I am not sure. I know that the Elohim is strong, but I do not think he has destroyed the primordial demons, most likely they are sealed somewhere, but no one is foolish enough to seek to free those beings after all, they will only bring chaos and destruction, in addition. Of the primordial ones there are also the most dangerous dragons only below Office and Great Red are a trio of dragons that call themselves the true dragons, and let me tell you that each one of them is so dangerous that they could even fight against the Trimurti and defeat them. The goddess of the sun finished relating seriously what he told his son and bishop, a secret that not even the current demons knew. Naruto raised a curious eyebrow and wondered where the four primordials and the true dragons were after all, beings of such high level do not go unnoticed, he wondered if the dragons were also sealed or were destroyed at some point. It's interesting mother that such strong beings exist, I'm very curious about what it costs me, Naruto said, surprised that these beings exist, he was curious to summon or find those primordials, he wanted to know the power of those beings, after all the current demon Lucifer was a weakling without character, and from what his mother told him, those demons are different. Well little one, it's time for you to go, and not before being so curious about what I told you, so son, I hope you have luck on your trip, the same with you little Kurama, it's time for you to go. I know you want to be more independent, but you know that you can always count on me, Amaterasu said with a small smile. Naruto and Kurama nodded, leaving the meeting with Amaterasu, and when they were away from the Shinto faction, they were both talking about the primordials and the true dragons, since they were both somewhat curious to be able to meet any of those beings. It is strange that there are such dangerous beings, and despite my faction being a power I am surprised that there are other high-level powers, but leaving that topic aside, I think I will try to find something about those primordials and about the true dragons. If telling me that subject made mother a little nervous, each one of those beings must be very strong, Naruto said seriously, but at the same time curious to be able to meet those beings, and he wondered where the biblical god sealed those primordials, since that is the most likely thing that has happened knowing the biblical god and what he was like according to his mother. Blues Naruto, according to what your mother told us, the power of those primordials is equal to or greater than the celestial dragons, even one of the primordials may match the power of Shiva and Lord Izanagi. Kurama, somewhat nervous and curious about the primordials, after all very few beings could match the highest top. You're right, it will be interesting to be able to summon the primordials. I'm going to do it soon. I'll try to find information about where those beings are, and most likely there's something in the underworld. Without Naruto realizing it, this whole talk was seen by someone of immense power. This someone is the Black Primordial and the strongest of the primordials. He looked with great curiosity and some devotion to Naruto, since he did not understand how a being from another world that was human reincarnated to be a demigod, he felt a small disturbance, and how his seal only prevented him from leaving, but since the seal was not that strong. He feared his tactics to atone for the supernatural world and the human world. Without a doubt young Naruto in the eyes of the Black Primordial is a unique existence, since he knew that Naruto is a young man and that at most they reach the high class level, but Naruto showed him that he is at the level of the first level gods, his power and conviction made him want to follow him, and above all his way of being. The Black Primordial sometimes spied on the world for 1 or 2 hours at most, since he could not atone for it any longer thanks to the seal that retained him. He is still curious about the plans that the young demigod son of Amaterasu, also known as the goddess of the sun, has. He wanted to know more about the one he would call master when he and his primordial colleagues are freed. He knew that Naruto could be a good master, after all he was from the weakest race, a human who is now a demigod since he was reincarnated as the son of Amaterasu. Black Primordial. Apparently young Naruto is planning to free one of us, that young demigod is so curious, or should I say god, if that is the correct term for Naruto Uzumaki, the boy is a god, and I wish him to be my new god, I know he will free me, when he does I will make the rest of the primordials follow him, he will need all the power possible for his plans to come true, it will be interesting to follow this anomaly, Office may try to bother Naruto if she sees him as a threat. But when I free myself I will take care of that dragon, it does not matter that she is the top, one of the strongest, I will finish off Office. Meanwhile with Naruto the little Shinto god along with Kurama his bishop both were walking calmly until they felt a peak of chaos power, a small one that was not easily felt by anyone who was not near the place. Did you feel the Kurama, the power of chaos? Asked Naruto curiously, since the power he felt is so pure, a strange thing. Yes, I felt it, Naruto. The power of chaos was so pure that it surprised me, but also the power was so low that it was not felt by anyone. Who do you think voted for that pulse of chaos power? Kurama asked at the end, curious to know the opinion of his brother and king. I think it comes from that house that is far from the town where we were located, said Naruto, curious about the person who exuded the power of chaos. Kurama and Naruto saw each other and walked calmly to the house where the power of chaos was felt. They were curious about the power. After a few minutes, both Supreme God class beings arrived at the residence where they felt the power of chaos. Both were interested in the person who voted for that rare power, since almost no one possesses the power of chaos, and he recognized it by the sensation that voted when the power was released. The feeling of that power increasing. Apparently the owner of the power has no control. It may be someone young who has not yet trained his power, said Naruto. It's most likely, but I smell and feel that the person is a woman. From what I feel, she is very young, maybe a year or two older than you, but it's interesting. I feel her magical reserves, and they are above an average Satan. Maybe she is on par with Susanoo and Tsukiyomi in terms of magical reserves, said Kurama, very impressed by the woman who is in the house. Well, it will be interesting to meet her. I am extremely impressed by the power she is exuding. If this house did not have several magical runes, most likely other factions would find out about her power. I suppose that at least the girl will be good at sealing magic, and that is why we only feel a slight pulse of chaos magic, Naruto answered, very interested in the person who was in that place, and wondered if she would accept to join his nobility. Well, let's go in, but first I'll put a strong barrier on the house, said Naruto, snapping his fingers, and a large barrier rose over the house, and then opening the door as if nothing had happened, causing the girl or boy who lived there to open their eyes in shock and disbelief. Who are you and what do you want from me? The girl asked nervously, her hands shaking. She wasn't that strong, and from what she saw of both men and their auras, they were very strong, so she was nervous. Let me introduce myself, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and next to me is my best friend Kurama. We felt like we were entering your home without permission, but we were able to capture your power of chaos, and from what I feel it is very out of control. Am I correct? Naruto asked, curious about the girl. She seemed to be 7 or 8 years old, and from what he feels she is not fully trained yet. Perhaps she has a great amount of energy. He knows well that a well-trained high-class demon could kill her. The girl opened her eyes in surprise. Her grandmother was teaching her magic until recently, but she had died recently, but on her deathbed, her grandmother had passed on some of her knowledge of magic to her, which is why she was able to put a barrier around the house. Let me introduce myself, I'm Wanda Maximoff, and you're right. My magic is out of control. Until recently, it was much worse, but my grandmother, on her deathbed, passed on some of her knowledge to me, allowing me to control my magic a little. But my chaos magic is so great that it's difficult to master it, Wanda said cautiously, since she didn't know her uninvited guests. I see with reason that at such a young age you were able to place a barrier of a medium level so that the various factions do not detect your great power, said Naruto. Wanda raised a curious eyebrow as the boy called her young when it was obvious that the boy is younger than her, maybe 6 or 7 years old. You are younger than me, so why do you call me young if we are similar ages? Asked Wanda with an eyebrow raised in curiosity. She did not understand the boy, but she knew that the boy is powerful, and the other boy a little older was also very strong. Maybe at the level of the boy she may have just begun to control her powers a little, but she is very good at sensing energies, and both of them seemed like a hurricane or a storm, but controlled, and that amazed and terrified her. I simply call you young man or girl, since I have much more experience than you, but anyway, it's a pleasure to meet you, Wanda Maximoff said Naruto with a small smile. And what do you want from me? I know well that you may both be young. You look like you are 6 or 7 years old, and your partner only looks a few years older, maybe 11 or 10, but despite their age, I feel a great power in both of you. I may be a beginner, but I am a good sensor. I feel the energies and the power, and you both exude great energies. Wanda said, narrowing her eyes in caution. She knew she had no chance against her two opponents, but if they planned to capture her, she would not go down without a fight. Kurama frowned, but he was also somewhat surprised that the girl is such a high-level sensor. Very few could detect his or Naruto's power level, since they have sealed their energy so as not to alert people, and their enemies underestimate them. You are very surprised to feel my energy level and Kurama's level. I am too surprised, since both Kurama and I know how to seal our energy and you felt it. You are not a simple sorceress, said Naruto, very interested in the girl for her abilities. Thank you for the compliments Naruto.san, but I want to know what you want from me. Are you coming from the demons to kill me or from the Greek gods? Tell me what you want from me, asked Wanda ready for battle. I don't come from the side of the demons or the Greek fools. I don't belong to either of those two factions. I'm from the Shinto faction, so you have nothing to worry about, Naruto said simply. Wanda opened her eyes in shock, disbelief and surprise. She knew something about the factions, and there were two that according to her grandmother told her to never make them angry because of their power, and those factions are the Hindu and the Shinto. After all, they have several beings in the top 10 at the top, and the boy in front of him is from the Shinto faction, but Wanda knew now that she didn't have a chance against her enemies, so it would be better to talk before engaging in combat. I see, so you are from the Shinto faction, said Wanda seriously, but nervous. Maybe if she joins the boy he can protect him from the demons. After all, she knew that those bastards would try to make her reincarnate, and he could also protect her from the god Zeus. After all, the idiot Greek god killed her mother for rejecting him and wanted to kill her grandmother, so it's better if she joins the boy and she could train and he could protect him. And what does a member of the Shinto faction want with me? Wanda asked cautiously and somewhat curiously. After all, Shintoists are rarely interested in humans or cruel to them unless they offend them, which no one does because of the power those gods have. Nothing really, I was just curious about your energy, but now that I've seen your abilities I want you to join my nobility, and from what you've mentioned you want protection from the faction of the demons and the Greeks, most likely from the god Zeus, am I correct? Naruto asked. Yes, you're right about wanting protection. I don't want to join the demon faction, and if they find out about my powers the demons will want to recruit me by force, and in the case of Zeus he wanted my grandmother dead, and since she is dead the leader of Olympus will target me, that's why I'm hiding. If you can offer me protection and training I will join you, and I will swear lethality for my magic, said Wanda nervously, but serious and sincere with the words of loyalty. I see, I can protect you from the demons, they are not a problem, and in the case of Zeus he may be strong, but he will not do anything. After all, if he attacks you he will attack me, and therefore he will attack the Shinto, and Zeus will not risk a war with Shinto, so you say you want to be part of my nobility. I promise to protect you from all your enemies and give you proper training, said Naruto with a smile. I recommend that you accept Naruto's proposal. You may not like being part of a nobility, but Naruto will not treat you as a servant, but as an ally and friend, and as long as you are loyal we will not have problems, said Kurama seriously. He knew that Naruto will protect the brat with all his power from Zeus and the demons, so the girl would gain more benefits than disadvantages. Wanda sighed and realized that joining the boy she just met might be her best option. She knew that the protections of her house would soon fall, and with the boy on her side, she could be safe from the people who wanted to take advantage of her, and although the boy was taking advantage of her a little by asking to join his peerage, she knew that Shintoists are beings of their word. After all, her grandmother told her so, and she said that the Shinto gods are the ones who are most honest and of their word. He wants you to give me your word that you will protect me, and that you will not do anything strange to me or treat me like a slave, and I promise to swear loyalty to you and give everything of myself to be useful to you, Wanda said seriously. She did not want to be a slave, but it was better to be of the child's nobility than of some demon who will take advantage of her, and she would not allow that. Kurama opened his eyes in surprise that the girl accepted so quickly. Perhaps they grabbed her, somewhat desperate for protection. He supposed that Zeus must want the girl dead. He didn't care much. He is stronger than Zeus, and if he is a god and tries something, Tiffin would be the least of his problems. After all, the girl would apparently be part of his family. Now he wondered what piece Naruto would use on the girl. Naruto raised a curious eyebrow, but nodded. He could fulfill the sorceress's requests. He had no problem. He wanted allies, not slaves. Fine, I accept your terms Wanda.san, so you will be part of my nobility. I promise to protect you from any threat as long as you are loyal to me. You will be the queen piece of my nobility, you will train hard to become a powerful sorceress, Naruto said seriously. Well then I'll go with you Naruto, and nice to meet you and your friend Kurama, said Wanda. Well, before we go I could put some seals on you so that they don't detect your chaos power. We don't want to draw the attention of other factions. I will train you to be strong, Naruto said. They nodded to Kurama to go with Wanda and place the seals on her. Wanda nodded and sighed, allowing Kurama to place the seals, and then Naruto taking out his queen piece, allowing it to enter Wanda, further increasing her power and magic reserves. End of chapter. Chapter 6 Recruitment Part 2. It's been a little over 3 months since Wanda Maximoff joined the Kurama nobility as their queen, and this time the Chaos Witch or Scarlet Witch had strengthened considerably thanks to the training of Kurama and Naruto. The group of 3 was walking quietly near a large forest until suddenly a large attack was towards them. Before the large-scale attack collided with it, Naruto raised his hand and stopped the attack, destroying the attacker. He saw in surprise how a child could destroy his attack so easily and realized that his opponent was not someone normal. Who are you and why are you attacking us? Naruto asked seriously, seeing his attacker who in terms of power could easily be on par with the celestial dragons, but he also frowned since he detected hundreds of low-class and middle-class demons around. That worried him maybe, since the fight would be complicated and closer, and he felt the energy of a demon the size of Satan, but it was neither the current Lucifer or the current Leviathan. Strange thing. Excuse me, let me introduce myself, Prince of Shinto. I am Krom Cruach, the evil dragon of the Crescent Circle, said Krom Cruach seriously as he noticed the power of that child and realized that it would not be a simple mission for his relief, but that it would be a good battle. Naruto narrowed his eyes even more since that dragon knew that he is the Prince of Shinto. He did not understand how that dragon found out about that, since very few individuals knew it, but he did not care so much now. He had to prepare for battle. His opponent is not weak at all, and he knew well that he was at a disadvantage, since he knew the name of Krom Cruach, the strongest evil dragon and someone he had in mind to recruit for his nobility. Maybe he could propose that he join him when he defeats him, although it will not be easy. Kurama frowned at the audacity of those pathetic demons to come to attack. He only saw as a great threat to that celestial category dragon, and perhaps to that female demon who was in the group that although weaker than the Mauseraphel is not weak at all, although he was also somewhat impressed by the number of demons coming towards them. These are definitely not from the faction of demons led by the current Lucifer. Most likely they are the demons of the old faction commanded by the son of Lucifer. He also did not understand how they found out that Naruto is the Prince of Shinto, but that did not matter to him. It is time to prepare for battle. Wanda looked at her enemies with caution. In her eyes, she could handle any of them, and the only ones that are a real threat are the evil dragon and that demon, who is strong, perhaps at a level comparable to hers. She had to be careful with the battle that was coming. She glanced at her leader and Kurama, and it was clear that they were calm, so she calmed down. She knew that her leader could handle that dragon. The Terrier Leviathan was upset. She didn't understand why Rizavum wanted to capture that brat. She knew he was the Shinto prince, and she was surprised. She didn't think Amaterasu had a son. Demons, that woman is terrifying, and she didn't understand why Rizavum wanted to make enemies with the Shinto gods. She understood that if they captured that child, maybe the Shinto faction would fulfill their demands, but she had a bad feeling nobody messed with the Shinto gods, and he came out unharmed. He was also nervous since he felt the power of those brats and the girls was on par with a high-level Satan. That fox is easily that of a super demon, and the boys perhaps equals Krom Cruach. She knew that this would be very complicated, and she saw her Krom Cruach out of the corner of her eye, who was obviously excited by the fight. She supposed that she feels the energies of those children and realized that they are very strong. She may be very impulsive, but she is not stupid. She knew that this mission would not be as easy as Rizavum thought, but would be very complicated. Kurama, Wanda, deal with the other enemies. I'll take care of the evil dragon, Naruto ordered seriously, staring at Krom Cruach. Then Naruto disappeared and then appeared next to Krom Cruach and threw a strong punch at him, sending him flying away from everyone. The Uzumaki wanted to fight without interruptions. All the demons, including Kateria Leviathan, were quite surprised by the speed of the Shinto prince and how he sent a celestial-sized dragon flying as if it were nothing. Well, I think now I'm in charge. Let me introduce myself. I'm Kateria Leviathan, descendant of the original Leviathan. I'll finish you off and kidnap the Prince of Shinto, so either you step aside or I'll finish you off. You decide, said Kateria Leviathan mockingly, but internally she knew that the battle would not be easy due to the power of both enemies. Kurama frowned seeing the number of demons. There were easily more than 200 demons, and he looked seriously at the descendant of the Leviathan. That woman was strong, perhaps at Wanda's level. Wanda, we deal with Kateria Leviathan. She is at a level close to yours. I will deal with the army of demons. There are several of low, medium and high class. It will be fun to fight against them. Now prepare yourself. This will be a test for you, and see if you could deal with someone of the Satan class. Wanda sighed, but nodded in understanding. She might be the queen of her king, but she still didn't have much authority. Besides, Kurama is much stronger than her. According to what she knows, he might even be superior to the celestial dragons. Hell, she knows that lazy fox could rank among the top 10 strongest existences in the supernatural world. Wanda levitated and raised her power, surrounding herself with her power of chaos, having a reddish aura. Wanda's aura is so powerful that it would easily compare to Seraphol's, if not surpass it. Kateria Leviathan saw her opponent now. The power of her opponent is enormous, greater than she supposed. Now she would have to give everything to destroy her enemy. She only hoped that Krom Cruach could defeat the Prince of Shinto, since she knew that the demons who were with her would die at the hands of that Kyuubi. Well, let's start with this battle, descendant of the original Leviathan. I will destroy you in the name of my king, said Wanda, increasing her power, surrounding her body even more with her aura of chaos. We'll see what you have, brat. When I kill you, I'll go for your king and torture him, said Kateria Leviathan, raising her aura to the maximum. The descendant of Leviathan was angry. She would finish off that brat. The girl may be strong, but she had much more experience. Wanda snorted at her, doing something to her king. Is he an idiot? Her king could easily position himself in the middle of the strongest existences, while the descendant of Leviathan is barely a Satan-class demon. What an idiot, thought the Scarlet Witch. We'll see what you have as a descendant of Leviathan, Wanda said, sending a torrent of chaos energy rapidly towards the Leviathan. Bateria opened her eyes in surprise, but quickly put up a magical barrier that intercepted Wanda's attack, but she could barely resist the sorceress's great power for a few seconds, which gave the descendant of Leviathan a few seconds to dodge the attack. Bateria Leviathan opened several magic circles, throwing several water snakes towards Wanda. The descendant of Leviathan wanted blood and would kill that foolish sorceress. Wanda, upon seeing the water snakes, opened several magic circles from which several fire dragons emerged that went and collided with the water snakes, causing a gigantic explosion, causing some demons that were around to fly due to the collision of Wanda and Kateria's power. Wanda took advantage of the opportunity of the crash collision and opened a large magic circle where she launched a great torrent of energy towards Kateria Leviathan, who did not see it coming, and the attack launched her far from the battlefield. Wanda took advantage of her opportunity that her opponent flew out, opened dozens of magic circles where several fire dragons came out, throwing them towards the Leviathan, who could barely defend herself from Wanda's attack by putting up several barriers. When the dragons collided with the Leviathan's shield, caused a great explosion that destroyed a large part of the sector where they battled. As the smoke dissipated, Kateria Leviathan could be seen with part of her suit torn and somewhat charred by her opponent's great attack. The Leviathan was very angry that a girl could do so much damage to her, and now she realized that this girl may be stronger than even Seraphol. Damn bitch, you will pay for the damage you have done to me, I will destroy you, roared Kateria Leviathan angrily. They opened a large magic circle where she accumulated a large amount of magical energy to finish off that brat who dared to harm her, the descendant of the Leviathan. Wanda, seeing her opponent's great attack, became serious and opened a large magic circle where she also accumulated a large amount of chaos energy to finish off Kateria Leviathan. Now she would have to get serious, after all her opponent is a descendant of the demon Leviathan. Both women were accumulating a large amount of energy and launched their powerful attacks against each other, and at the moment of colliding, Wanda's barely surpassed Kateria's. The demon opened his eyes in surprise and disbelief and barely had time to dodge the great power that impacted the distance, causing a gigantic explosion, destroying more and more of the sector where they are battling. I see why you are a descendant of the original Leviathan. You are strong, although I see that much of your magical reserves have declined in our battle. Perhaps you have less than half of your magical power. So what do you say, Kateria Leviathan? Do you surrender and come with me to interrogate in peace, or do I have to do it by force, silly demon? Wanda said with a smile. Bateria's thoughts. I'll have to escape as soon as the opportunity arises. For now I'll keep her busy and then I'll leave. I have to inform Rizavam that things aren't going as planned, and from what I feel in the battle of that dragon with the Shinto prince, it's going evenly. I don't know who will win. It's better to get out of this place. Meanwhile, Kurama, seeing that Wanda was already fighting with Kateria Leviathan, prepared to fight now with the pathetic demons who will now be cannon fodder. He had to finish quickly to go see Naruto's battle. You pathetic demons will die. I know that you are from the old demonic faction, since I know that the current Mao fools would not be able to organize this attack, so I guess Rizavam sent you. Tell me, what exactly does the crazy descendant of Lucifer want with my brother, said Kurama, increasing his aura to a very dark red coming out of him, also a great intent to kill. Kurama's aura is so strong that the heads of the weakest low-class demons exploded. This scared several of the middle-class demons who were sweating bullets and made the high-class demons swallow their mouths dry, since the aura of their opponent was so immense that it even surpassed their leader Lord Rizavam. Since no one said anything, the Matir demonics come element burn destroyer calciner, said Kurama, formed next to the 100 small balls of heat that went directly towards the demons, where little by little each red ball incinerated them, turning them into ashes. How pathetic are all of you? Some may say you are high class, but I know very well that all of you barely reach the level of a mid-class demon. Your power is minuscule compared to the Sonatas, Kurama snorted, annoyed at fighting those cockroaches. The demons were scared of fighting that Kyuubi. They thought it would be easy because he was a child, and now they realized how wrong they were. The power of that beast is enormous, as great as that of a super demon or even more. Thoughts of the demons. That Kyuubi is too powerful. It is definitely more powerful than Lord Rizavam, and his malice is even greater. Perhaps only that evil dragon called Krom Cruach who went to fight the child has any chance of giving him a battle. Pathetic demons, it's time to incinerate them, said Kurama, opening several magic circles where several foxes made of fire came out, finishing off more demons. The Kyuubi saw how dozens of demons were incinerated. The strongest Bijuu had a smile, since he didn't like many demons. Meanwhile, a few minutes before, on another battlefield, two powerful beings will begin their confrontation. Naruto, the prince of Shinto, and Krom Cruach, one of the strongest dragons in the supernatural world. You pack a punch, brat, sending me flying. Show your power, and your speed is very great. It's surprising that you have so much power for your age. Finally I can get serious with someone, so get ready, brat, said Krom Cruach with a big smile. Since finally he could get serious, he knew that the brat was not weak at all. Krom Cruach, Crescent Circle Dragon, the strongest evil dragon, top 8 strongest existences. Naruto snorted at what Krom Cruach said. He may have the appearance of a small child, but he has the mentality of a teenager. How annoying it is for people to call him a brat. At least that dragon hasn't looked down on him for being a child. If not, he himself would be in charge of turning the dragon into dust. You are also strong, I feel your energy, and now I see that it is not for nothing that you are positioned among the 10 strongest existences. Correct, evil dragon Krom Cruach, so prepare for battle. Let's see how strong you are, said Naruto with a smile. I will test your power, Prince of Shinto. Let's see if you are a worthy rival. So ready, child, it's time to fight. Let's see how strong you are, commented the evil dragon with a wild smile. Now he would test the brat. He will see if he is strong, or if he is garbage like most of the opponents he has had throughout his life. We'll see, little dragon, Naruto replied with mockery in his voice, but inside he was anxious for the battle, since it was noticeable that the dragon is strong too much for his curiosity. After all, he is in the top 10 of the strongest existences. He may not be as strong as his mother, but that dragon is strong enough to defeat his uncle Susanoo and Tsukiyomi. Krom Cruach frowned at the silly nickname. He would prove to the brat that he is not a dragonet and beat him up. Now he would show the brat why he is feared in the supernatural world, but his eyes widened in surprise and some disbelief when the brat disappeared. Were you looking for me, little dragon? Naruto asked from behind Krom Cruach, then threw a magic attack so strong that it sent the evil dragon flying, as if it were a simple fly next to a god, which is not so far from the truth. You may have experience and power, but you are very confident, evil dragon Krom Cruach. Perhaps you have become old and need a retirement. Now I see that the stories about your power are not as true as they say in the supernatural world. Perhaps you are not a celestial category dragon, but a simple dragon that pretends to be strong to attract attention, Naruto mocked. Krom Cruach narrowed his eyes in some anger, as the brat was mocking him, and not only that, but practically told him that he is trash. You may be right that I'm trusting, but now I realize that you're not normal. You throw out tons of energy, and now you'll see what a celestial class dragon can do. I didn't like at all that you insulted me like that. I don't care anymore. I'll take you here alive. I'll kill you, Prince of Shinto, said Krom Cruach with a black aura growing in him. Now he would go in a serious manner. He would not hold back anymore. Naruto snorted. He too would go with the intent to kill. He wouldn't trust himself to be able to easily defeat one of the 10 strongest existences. Let's make a little bet, evil dragon. If I defeat you, you will tell me why you want to capture me, and you will join my side, but if I lose I will go voluntarily. Is this bet okay with you, evil dragon Krom Cruach, said Naruto with a dark smile. Krom Cruach smiled broadly. I accept your proposal. We'll see how strong you are, Prince of Shinto. I hope you don't regret it when you're defeated. For my part, if I lose, I'll keep my promise, for my dragon pride. Now let's begin the battle. Krom Cruach smiled and increased his aura, forming a black dragon behind him, while Naruto also smiled and increased his aura, forming a very terrifying wide-eyed humanoid behind him. Both beings, both the dragon and the humanoid, looked at each other in a threatening manner, both giving off a terrifying aura that very few could resist. Not for nothing were they existences above medium and low-level gods, even superior to several high-level gods such as Zeus or Odin. Fire release, great sea of flames, shouted Naruto, launching a tide of fire towards the dragon, who did the same and launched his own flames towards Naruto, causing both attacks to collide with each other and cancel each other out. Naruto frowned and in a burst of speed appeared in front of Krom Cruach, throwing a punch that sent him flying, but he didn't stay there. Instead he opened several magic circles, sending several water and lightning dragons towards the evil dragon, causing them to collide with Krom Cruach, causing a huge explosion. Naruto stared at the place of the explosion. He knew that this attack would barely do any damage to the dragon, so he didn't lower his defenses. After all, he was facing an opponent of the size of the celestial dragon. That attack, kid, you are strong, and you are definitely worthy of me getting serious. I realized after receiving your attack, since it damaged me, and not just any being could harm me, not even high-class or supreme-class demons could harm me, like your attack did now. Yes, I will go with all my power. You are not an ordinary child, said Krom Cruach, with a wild smile, surrounding himself with flames, a large part of his body to cause greater damage. Naruto opened his eyes in surprise and with a sigh activated his Sharigan and activated his lightning armor. It was time to get serious. He had to finish the battle before the barriers he put around it broke. He didn't want to attract the attention of other factions, and he knew that one of the strongest existences fighting would attract the attention of several high-level gods. Both opponents disappeared, colliding blows that caused shock waves, where they were reshaping the landscape with ease. Lightning and flames went from one side to the other. The waves of power made the weather change, causing a storm around. In the battle of Krom Cruach and Naruto, both entities of celestial dragon level or higher continued to fight in a destructive manner. In the battle, the evil dragon could be seen with several bruises and blood on his face, while Naruto had a few small blows, since thanks to his Rinnegan, he was able to dodge most of the attacks with ease, but his magical reserves had dropped considerably, which was slowly tiring him out. I see why you are the strongest evil dragon, your power may equal the two celestial dragons, said Naruto, a little tired. The battle was costing him more than he thought, and he felt the energies of his friends and sighed. Kurama was already completely finishing off the demons, and Wanda was defeating that demon the size of Satan. Although she also felt that the energy of her queen had been reduced, she supposed that she was having a hard time dealing with that silly demon. And I see that you are not weak at all, now I realize why you are the prince of Shinto. You are an amazing child, and your power will only grow. Maybe you have more potential than Shiva or Amaterasu, and that is amazing, said Krom Cruach with a smile, since the brat made him get serious about the battle. Naruto smiled at his opponent's words and in a burst of speed appeared in front of Krom Cruach, throwing a punch that sent him flying, but he didn't stay there. Instead he opened several magic circles, sending several water, lightning and fire dragons towards the evil dragon, causing them to collide with Krom Cruach, causing a huge explosion. I think it's time for this to end. Pulse of Death, said Naruto, sending a great attack of darkness towards Krom Cruach, who, being unable to move due to his wounds, had to receive the attack fully, causing a huge explosion that when the smoke dissipated, Krom Cruach could be seen very weak and almost knocked out. But things did not end there. Naruto sent several energy chains towards the dragon, capturing it, causing it to be unable to move. He had finally won the fight, now he would have to meet up with his friends. Fine, you accept defeat, evil dragon Krom Cruach. Now I suppose you'll keep the bet we made. Sounds good to you, Naruto said with a small smile, since the dragon is strong, and having it on his side would be very beneficial for him and his faction. Krom Cruach frowned, but sighing he nodded. He lost fairly. He realized that the child was far superior to the devils. He thought that the child might be close to the level of Indra or close to that god, and Indra was not a game for any being. Not for nothing is it said that Indra's power was on par with the two celestial dragons together, but rather surpasses both celestial dragons together. The child only lacked some experience and knew well that he would position himself at the top of the top 10 of the strongest beings. Naruto. Well, evil dragon Krom Cruach, you are strong. I proved it when I fought against you. Now what do you think about fulfilling the deal? You will join my nobility. Krom Cruach frowned and gave a sigh of resignation. He is a dragon of his word. He will join the Prince of Shinto, but he will also warn him about the Cow's Brigade, now that he will be their leader and an ally. He had to be sincere, after all, he is a dragon with honor and his word. Well, I will join your nobility. I see that you created something similar to what the devil factions have. You are intelligent and powerful leader, said Krom Cruach. Well, the only thing I ask is your loyalty. You can do what you want, as long as it doesn't harm my people, no problem, and well, simple. What you're going to do is join my nobility as we agreed. These pieces will provide you with new abilities that you will discover, or I will teach you when we train, Naruto said seriously. Krom Cruach opened his eyes in surprise, as that would be very beneficial for him, and he could also become stronger by training with a boy with a Kyuubi, who from what he noticed was at his level, perhaps superior, and from what he feels all the demons that accompanied him were destroyed. Krom Cruach. Fine, I agree to join your nobility. I accept that you be my leader. I will be loyal to you as long as you do not impose your will on me. I still have my dragon pride, but I recognize you as my leader. You are much stronger than me and you spared my life, so I owe you my loyalty. I promise to be your shield as long as you do not betray me. Naruto. Well, don't worry about that, you will be my new tower. Krom Cruach, become strong by my side and defeat all our enemies with all your power. Krom Cruach. Well, I will follow you, and I will be your tower. I will be your shield against any being that tries to harm you, boss. I just hope that you continue being worthy as you are now. I think we should go where your friends are. From what I feel, the Kyuubi boy has already finished with the demons, and the girl who is with you made the descendant of the original Leviathan flee. Naruto opened his eyes a little in surprise and smiled, since his friends are strong enough to defeat an army of demons and a Satan. Well, I think it's time to go with my friends. We can't stay in this place, said Naruto, going where his friends were. Krom Cruach nodded and followed Naruto or his boss. It would be interesting to follow the Prince of Shinto. He wondered what face Rizavum will have when he finds out. After a moment, both Krom Cruach and Naruto appeared on a battlefield where everything was chaos. Hundreds of demons were slaughtered and burned. Something impressive could be seen, while Wanda and Kurama were in good condition, although it was noticeable that Wanda was somewhat tired from her fight with the descendant of the Leviathan. I see you defeated the strongest evil dragon, and from what I feel from its energy it joined us, am I correct? Kurama asked seriously. You are correct, Krom Cruach is now my new tower, you have nothing to worry about. I know that dragons are beings of their word, and I know that Krom Cruach will not betray me, and if he does or tries to do so, he will be eliminated. Well, since you agreed to join Naruto, I just hope you don't betray him, because if not I will destroy you. I don't care who gets in my way, half-breed, you will end up torn to pieces if you hurt my little brother, said Kurama coldly. Krom Cruach frowned at the Kyuubi's threat, but said nothing. He knew that fox was very strong, it was noticeable that he might even be stronger than the celestial dragons. Well, now we are allies, it would be better to fix the place and leave. We don't want anyone to know about this confrontation. I still want to be in the dark, Naruto said seriously. Well, I guess we have to go before the factions come to this place. Despite the barrier, I think a lot of energy came out from all the powers we used, Wanda said seriously. Everyone nodded and Naruto grabbed all his peerage members and disappeared in a red flash towards one of his safe houses. End of chapter. Chapter 7 Recruitment Part 3. It's been almost a month since the Chaos Brigade's attack on Naruto, and the union of Krom Cruach as a tower in Naruto's nobility. During this time the Uzumaki and his group have strengthened both in magic and physically in the month. Those who have been able to strengthen the most are Krom Cruach and Naruto, thanks to their confrontations. In this month several factions were alerted by the aftermath of the battle between Naruto and his group against the Chaos Brigade, as well as Office the Dragon of Infinity. Thanks to the report of the descendant of the Leviathan became interested in Naruto, the Prince of Shinto, in the eyes of Office Naruto, would be the key piece to vote for Great Red from his territory. Another who was interested is Rizavum Livan Lucifer. Since the descendant of the original demon was very curious about the power of the Prince of Shinto, but at the same time he became careful, since Naruto was able to deal with Krom Cruach, and that weakened the power of the Chaos Brigade. After all, the strongest evil dragon is someone of celestial level. Currently Rizavum Livan Lucifer, descendant of the original Lucifer, was in a meeting with his subordinates, the descendants of the ancient demons Beelzebub, Asmodeus and Leviathan. These descendants are known as Kateria Leviathan, Krusari Asmodeus and Shalba Beelzebub, all of them at the level of a Satan, being each of them powerful in their own right. Well, I gathered them in this place so they could inform me if they managed to locate Naruto, the Prince of Shinto, said Rizavum, somewhat annoyed not to know anything about this new enemy, since he knew that now Naruto is his enemy, because the idiot wanted to capture him to make the Shinto faction his ally. But his game went wrong, and worse, the boy apparently killed one of the strongest of the Chaos Brigade. Known as the strongest evil dragon, Krom Cruach, the dragon of the crescent circle of the half moon, the descendant of Lucifer, was upset. He never thought that a child could be so damn strong. Ultimately the boy is much more dangerous than Susanoo and Tsukiyomi, and perhaps being almost as strong as Amaterasu, the strongest sun goddess and one of the 10 strongest existences. The descendants of the Mau were nervous, since Rizavum was voting a large part of his power for his anger, and they knew that he would get angrier when they told him that they could not locate the Prince of Shinto. Kateria is the one who was most nervous, but she also had a frown. Since the idiot Rizavum wanted Naruto demon in the Chaos Brigade, there was no one who could capture and defeat the boy and his group. The only one she believes could defeat and capture Naruto would be Office, since from what she felt the nine-tailed fox must be at least on par with Krom Cruach, and Naruto is even stronger, and in the case of the girl, she may be on par with Gabriel or Michael if she could defeat her. We didn't find anything of the child Rizavum, and I doubt we'll find anything the other time we were able to locate him, luckily, since the boy wasn't hiding his power. But now I doubt we'll be able to locate him, because now he'll be more careful with us and most likely investigate us and see us as enemies, and if the boy sees us as enemies, the Shinto faction will definitely see us as enemies, said Shalba Beelzebub, serious and afraid that the Shinto gods will see them as enemies. Demons. He knew the power of the Shinto brothers and knew that the trio would be enough to defeat a large part of the underworld. I agree with Shalba. I know the power of the Prince of Shinto and his group, and I know that there is no being in the Chaos Brigade except Office that could defeat him and capture him. Besides that, the boy has powerful guards, one being a Kyuubi that was easily on par with a celestial dragon, and the other a girl that, although it hurts me, is stronger than me. Maybe that brat is at the level of Gabriel or Michael, I'm not completely sure, but she is definitely strong, said Kateria with a shudder, remembering the power of that group. Hell, she didn't think those children could be so powerful. Also, we no longer have Krom Cruach, he's most likely dead since his fight with the Prince of Shinto hasn't appeared, and that dragon is too proud to escape, admitted Rizavum. You made a mistake trying to capture the Shinto prince. Now we have to worry about the Shinto faction, since Amaterasu will not sit idly by. If she finds out what we wanted to do to her son, she will want revenge against us and the entire Chaos Brigade, said Krusari Asmodeus with a shudder at the thought of what the crazy sun goddess will do to them when she finds out that they wanted to kidnap her son. Rizavum frowned, but he knew that it was true that it was foolish to go after the prince of Shinto, since he knew that the Shinto gods are vengeful, and if they found out what happened to their prince, they would target the Cow's brigade, and even if they have office the Shinto gods were not calm with what the brigade tried to do to the boy. He cursed his stupidity. He wanted to have the Shinto as allies to finish off the biblical ones and generate chaos, but he made a mistake. He did not think that Naruto was that strong, and that cost him one of the strongest of the Cow's brigade, and he wondered how the hell a child can be strong enough to defeat a celestial level dragon. Well, we won't go for Prince Naruto, and his group would like to recruit or capture him and make the Shinto join us, but it seems that won't be possible. Sighed Rizavum, disappointed that he can't have the prince to generate chaos in the supernatural world. Beteria Leviathan, Crucius Madius and Shalba Beelzebub sighed in relief. They are crazy, but not crazy enough to go after the Shintoists. Fortunately, Rizavum realized his damn mistake. Now they just had to increase the forces of the Cow's brigade in order to conquer the biblical factions. And what does Office think about the loss of Krom Cruach? Kateria asked somewhat nervously, since the Dragon of Infinity is a being without emotions, but when she found out that the evil dragon died, she was curious and seemed somewhat upset about losing a great asset for the war. The Office didn't say anything, although I think she's interested in Naruto, but at the same time she's a little upset about losing Krom Cruach since he was a great asset to fight against Great Red. I guess the dragon is a little indifferent since she didn't care about anything except getting her home back, Rizavum said with a frown. He didn't really understand Office, but he knew she was a little upset. Beteria Leviathan, Crucius Madius and Shalba Beelzebub sighed in relief that their boss did not want to bother the Shinto anymore and nodded in understanding. Anyone would be interested in Naruto for his power, and now they knew that Office would be determined to recruit. They just hoped that what the dragon did would not get them into trouble with the Shinto. Meanwhile, somewhere in Japan, Naruto, the prince of Shinto, was in one of his safe houses, talking with Kurama, Wanda and Krom Cruach about who to recruit for the nobility. Well boss, who do you have in mind to recruit to your nobility? Asked Krom Cruach curiously, since he knew that his boss will not recruit just any existence after all. Wanda and Kurama are not normal beings, each one has exceptional abilities, Wanda having chaos magic and Kurama a chakra so abundant that in power, easily surpasses the celestial dragons, something amazing in his eyes, since very few beings could surpass the celestial dragons. I was thinking of recruiting Irene Bulsirian, the strongest dragon queen, so Irene is someone who is even feared by the gods. It is said that she is even in the rank of high-class gods or higher, said Naruto seriously. Krom Cruach, Wanda and Kurama were surprised they had heard the name of Irene Bulsirian, the strongest dragon queen and the most wanted woman by the Greek faction, or rather by Zeus, since the dragon queen rejected the god of lightning, and the god, feeling offended, attacked Irene. But the Dragon Queen defeated the god of lightning, along with the god Ares who was with her father, so the Dragon Queen became very well known in the supernatural world for being able to defeat two gods being one faction leader. Well, I think the Dragon Queen will be a good option for you to join Naruto. It is said that the power of the Dragon Queen is so great that it can even match the power of the Norse lightning god Thor or the Greek god Hades of the underworld, said Kurama, seriously, knowing well the level of power of Irene. After all, that dragon became known since she beat up Zeus and Ares, and since then she is wanted by the Greek faction and other factions that want her to join. I agree with Kurama, your choice to recruit Irene Bulsirian is good. She is a dragon of a level close to that of a super demon or a low-level celestial dragon, and I respect that woman for defeating Zeus and Ares at the same time, so I fully support your decision, boss, said Krom Cruach seriously, since he respected the power of that dragon queen and the courage she had to challenge the Greeks being a high-level faction. I agree, Naruto-sama, your choice is the correct one, and we can easily make Irene join us, since it could provide her with protection from the Greek faction and any faction she may be strong, but if Hades, Zeus and Poseidon go together to capture her, they will most likely succeed after all. The trio of brothers is strong enough to even be able to fight evenly against celestial class beings, said Wanda with a frown as she mentioned Zeus, as she hated that god. Well decided, we will go to recruit Irene. Krom Cruach, you will investigate her location, and when you have her we will go for her, while Wanda and Kurama, I want to investigate the location of Tiamat, the Dragon Queen of Karma. She will be a good addition to our group, so after recruiting Irene, we will go for Tiamat, ordered Naruto. Kurama, Wanda and Krom Cruach nodded and went to locate both Irene Bulsirian and Tiamat, the Dragon Queen of Karma. The trio knew that they could only recruit both dragons by defeating them in combat, and even if the defeat is not certain that they would follow them, they only hope that they would do so voluntarily, otherwise they would have to eliminate them. It's been 2 weeks since Irene's location was investigated. Today Naruto and his group were going to the location where Irene Bulsirian, the strongest dragon queen, was to recruit, since according to the rumors they heard the dragon queen Irene Bulsirian was at the level of the first level gods and was a woman who was persecuted by Zeus since he desired her power. So Naruto will recruit her and offer protection in exchange for loyalty. After all, Naruto could protect the Dragon Queen from the god Zeus, leader of Olympus, and the other Olympians, and if Zeus did something he would eradicate him. After all, the only one who would be a dangerous rival for him would be Hades, the god of the underworld. Are you sure this is where the Dragon Queen Irene Bulsarian is? Naruto asked Krom Cruach curiously, as it seemed strange to him that someone so strong would hide in such a secluded place. Yes, boss, this is the place where Irene resides. After all, I have been investigating and interrogating several dragons to find out the location of the Dragon Queen Irene, and I am 100% sure that this is the place, Krom Cruach replied seriously. Naruto sighed, but nodded in understanding. After all, he knew that his new tower was sincere. He knew that he had honor and would not lie to him, since Krom Cruach swore loyalty to him, and he knew that dragons are loyal beings, and being two presences close, one is at the level of a super demon, perhaps a little higher, and the other is on par with a high-class demon, perhaps a low-level supreme-class demon, commented Kurama, somewhat impressed by the level of the first presence. It is most likely Irene, since not many beings are at the level of a super demon. I also feel the power levels of those two presences, and the truth is that the first one is something impressive. The power level of that presence is even higher than any of the four Mau, Krom Cruach commented seriously. Naruto's group continued walking until a beam of red energy went towards the entire group, causing them to split up and look in surprise at their attacker, since the one who attacked them is none other than Irene Bulsarian. I see that you are Irene Bulsarian, the strongest dragon queen, as well as the dragon who beat Zeus and Ares, Naruto said with a smile. When he saw Irene, he saw a beautiful woman, but above all, powerful, and he respected power. Irene frowned at the boy's words. She was angry when the boy mentioned to Zeus how she hated that god, so she sent a torrent of magic towards all the invaders. She would not trust these intruders, and now she would kill them all. She did not want the Greeks to find out her location. What do you want from me? I feel your level of power, and none of you are normal people. I would even say that some of you are even stronger than me, so what do you want from me? Irene asked coldly, and bursting a large part of her power, forming behind her a large red dragon. Wanda, Kurama, Krom Cruach and Naruto opened their eyes in surprise, since Irene's power is close to that of the celestial dragons. Devils, even Wanda realized that Irene is at a higher level of power than hers. Now everyone realized the level of power of Irene and why the god Zeus wants her on his side. You are a formidable woman, Irene Bulsarian, known as the Scarlet Destroyer or the strongest dragon queen, commented Naruto with a small smile, and then exploded a part of his power, causing from behind the young prince of Shinto, a humanoid with red eyes to form that looked at the dragon queen in a creepy way, making Irene shudder a little, since she felt his power and evil that this humanoid gives off, and she wondered how the hell a child can have such enormous power. But she also realized that the child gives off divine energy, and she wondered if he is a god or a demigod. Who are you, kid, and what do you want from me? Irene asked, realizing that the little boy was the leader of the group. She wondered how the hell a kid could command several top-tier beings. Hell, two of them were easily on par with Tiffin, while the girl in the group could easily match Apollo or Ares, and even surpass them, which is surprising. I introduce myself, Dragon Queen. I am Naruto, Prince of Shinto. I am the son of Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun in the universe. I came to this place to recruit you and offer you, Dragon Queen, protection from the Greek faction, more specifically from Zeus, the pathetic leader of Olympus. Naruto said with a smile. Irene opened her eyes in surprise. She knew that Amaterasu had a son, but she did not think that the child would be so powerful and that he was recruiting high-level beings. She meditated for a few moments. She knew well that Zeus and his faction would come for her at some point, and with the protection of the Shinto prince, she could protect her daughter. Also, she wanted to see Zeus's face when he sees that he will not be able to do anything. If not, he would risk a war with the Shinto, which is one of the two strongest factions. I see that you know that the Olympian faction has been chasing me since I defeated Zeus and Ares. Follow me, we will discuss your proposal at my house, Irene said seriously, but also somewhat relieved. If the boy really is the Shinto prince, he could provide her with protection from the Olympian faction, and with that protection, her daughter could have a normal life and not be hidden like a criminal. Well, guide the way, but I warn you that if it is a trap you will regret it, Irene Bulsarian said Naruto seriously, and releasing his power to make a point that if Irene tries something against him or his group, he would kill her. You have no reason to worry, Shinto prince. I don't want to hurt you, rather I'm interested in your proposal, but I want to discuss it at home, since my daughter also has to give her opinion on your proposal. After all, if I join you, she will too, said Irene. Naruto opened his eyes slightly and nodded in understanding and signaled his group to follow Irene. The rest listened to Naruto, but kept their guard up. Meanwhile on Olympus, the leader of the Greeks, Zeus, had called a meeting of utmost urgency, since he now had the location of Irene Bulsarian, the Dragon Queen. He would make that dragon pay for defeating him and humiliating him in such a pathetic way. He wanted his revenge against that redeed. "Well Zeus, why did you call this meeting?" asked Poseidon, the god of the sea, seriously, but inside he was curious about what his paranoid younger brother wanted. He asked himself what they had done to him, since he noticed he was angrier than usual. "Poseidon, Greek god of the seas, oceans, and earthquakes." "Yes father, what do you want from us?" "It's strange that you call a meeting so urgently," said Artemis, curious about what her father wanted. Artemis, Greek goddess of the hunt, wild animals, wilderness. "I agree with Artie that you want us, father, because you brought us together so urgently," asked Apollo curiously, since his father seemed angry and serious, and he asked himself what had happened to put his paranoid father Zeus in that state. "Apollo, Greek god of the sun and music." Artemis frowned at the way Apollo called her, but didn't say anything, since everyone was serious in the meeting, and she didn't want to do anything stupid that would interrupt the meeting. Athena, Aphrodite and the rest of the Olympians watched curiously as to what the paranoid Zeus wanted, since they all noticed that he was angrier than usual, they wondered who pissed Zeus off, or what they did to make him be in that state. "Simple, locate Irene Bulsirian, the dragon queen, the cursed one who defeated me, so I want some of you to accompany me to kill her or capture her. I want my revenge for what that dragon queen made me go through," said Zeus, seriously releasing part of his power, because of how angry he was. Athena, Hera, Artemis and Demeter frowned. They knew how strong Irene is, and that fool Zeus wanted to go for the strongest dragon queen, someone who may be close to Cronus's level. The four denied, knowing full well that fighting Irene would be complicated, but they didn't say anything. They didn't want Zeus to attack them for opposing him. Dionysus, Apollo, Hermes and Hephaestus opened their eyes slightly in surprise. They knew Irene, and according to rumors she is strong, maybe as strong as Hades, and Zeus wants them to go kill her. How stupid, but they didn't say anything, since Zeus is the leader of the Greeks. Poseidon sighed, now he understood why his brother was angry. He knew what Irene did to his brother, and Ares, after all he saw the state they were both in when they lost against Irene. Poseidon shook his head, his brother now wants them to go capture the strongest dragon queen, a complicated thing, he had a bad feeling, and knew something would go wrong on that mission. "And which of us do you want to accompany you to defeat the strongest dragon queen, Irene Bulsirian?" asked Hera seriously and curious, since going after a dragon queen is not a game after all. Zeus and Ares lost against that dragon who in her opinion, may be close to the level of the celestial dragons. Hera, goddess of marriage, queen of Olympus. "Simple, my queen, I want Hermes, Poseidon, Ares, Athena, Artemis and Apollo to accompany me. Between the 7 of us we can easily capture the foolish dragon queen who dared to challenge me, Zeus the leader of Olympus," said Zeus with a cruel smile, as he was able to obtain his revenge against Irene Bulsirian. "Zeus, god of lightning, king of Olympus." Athena frowned, she had a bad feeling, she knew well that among all those who would go on that mission, it would be simple to subdue the dragon queen, but she felt that something would not go well. Athena, Greek goddess of wisdom, strategy and justice. "Well father, I want my revenge against that dragon queen, this battle will be interesting," Ares roared, happy to be able to fight against that dragon who humiliated him, he will get his just revenge. Ares, Greek god of war. "Well brother, I will accompany you in this battle, I just hope that everything goes well," Possession said, sighing, he still had a bad feeling. "Okay, I already have the location, we'll go kill or capture Irene, she will pay for everything she did to me, my queen is in charge of Olympus, it's time to get my revenge," Zeus said with a cruel smile at the thought of capturing and torturing Irene. Hera nodded, although she had a bad feeling that something or someone would get in the way of what Zeus would do, but she shrugged her shoulders, she just hoped Zeus would get beaten up. Meanwhile Hephaestus had a frown, but at the same time he was relieved not to go on the mission to fight the dragon queen. He was not afraid of her, he just respected Irene a lot for beating Zeus up, so he did not want to battle with that woman, and hoped that the dragon queen would defeat Zeus and the rest of the Olympian gods to humble them. End of chapter. Chapter 8, Greek Gods vs Team Naruto. Currently Naruto and his group were meeting with Irene Bulsirian and Urza Bulsirian to talk about the recruitment and the alliance that would be developed and above all, for the protection that would be provided to them from the demons and the Greek faction. Well, as I said before, I am Naruto, son of Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun and the universe. The Redeed is Kurama, which is a 9 tails. The danger with yellow tips is Krom Cruach, the dragon of the half-moon circle. And the Redeeded girl is Wanda Maximoff. And as you may have noticed, each one is powerful in their own right. So you say, would you join my nobility? Your daughter can also join. If you wish, the pieces I have are similar to the demonic ones with small differences, such as that these pieces will strengthen you, and they can also help you use chakra and divine energy, although on a smaller scale than me, but in the same way they will strengthen your abilities, said Naruto. I see you make very interesting points. I think joining you will be good to protect Urza and make the Greek faction back off and not do anything stupid, Irene said, seriously weighing her options. On the one hand, she could be protected and, on the other hand, she would now be a subordinate of the boy, but she knew that the Shintoists are of their word and the boy promised her protection and from what she feels he was not lying. In addition, it seems that the boy has strong subordinates. I would even say that Krom Cruach and that Kurama surpass her in terms of power. Fine, I will accept your proposal, Lord Naruto. I am part of your group, Irene said seriously, since she wanted to protect her daughter from Zeus and the other Olympians. She knew she could take on any of the Greeks, but she couldn't risk it. I will also join you, Lord Naruto, if with this I can strengthen myself and you can help Mother. I will be happy to be your subordinate, said Urza. Perfect, said Naruto, taking out a pawn piece and a rook piece and then throwing them towards Irene and Urza, causing the pieces to enter both women in the chaos of Irene the rook piece and in Urza's case the pawn piece, causing both to increase their magic reserves considerably. I feel much stronger and my magic reserves have increased considerably, Irene said, surprised. She didn't think that her new king's piece could be so beneficial. I feel stronger too, I think my magic reserves can match a high-level ultimate class devil, Urza said in surprise. Well, now you will be under my protection, you will not have to fear the Greek faction. It is time to leave this place to one of my safe houses, since most likely they will locate you soon, said Naruto seriously. Irene was going to answer until she suddenly froze as she felt several god-level presences, recognizing two of those presences, and how could she not recognize them if those who came are Ares, the god of war, and Zeus, the god of lightning, and most likely this is more of the Greek gods. Behind me, said Naruto, making a barrier around all his subordinates to protect them from the attack they were going to launch on Irene's home. Meanwhile, moments before, several of the Greek gods could be seen emerging from magic circles. Zeus, Poseidon, Apollo, Ares, Hermes, Athena, and Artemis. So this is the place where Irene hid, said Zeus, giving a cruel smile and creating a huge lightning attack towards the house. He felt other energies, but he didn't care, he would finish off Irene and her companions. After Zeus's attack destroyed Irene's house, it caused a huge explosion generating a lot of smoke around it, and the gods saw with surprise how a barrier protected everyone in the house. And they saw with surprise that a child was the one holding the barrier, and from what they felt the child had a great amount of divine energy, so he may be a demigod or a god, and they wondered who the hell the brat is. Naruto, seeing that his friends were protected from the attack, deactivated the barrier and looked with cold eyes at the foolish Greek gods who dared to attack him and his people. They would pay if they did not retreat. I am Naruto, the Shinto prince. I will say it once, and only once. Greek gods, I wish you to leave this place. Irene Bulsirian and Urza Bulsirian are under my care, they are under my protection, and that of the Shinto faction, so retreat or perish, said Naruto with cold eyes, and with his power bursting out, generating behind him a humanoid with red eyes. Poseidon, Apollo, Hermes, Athena and Artemis opened their eyes in shock and disbelief as the Shinto prince was in front of them. They heard rumors that this prince is even stronger than Susanoo and Tsukiyomi, so they all assume that he is a god of the caliber of the celestial dragon. They saw the companions of the Shinto prince and felt several high-level beings, so they understood that it would not be easy to defeat them. While Zeus and Ares were enraged by the brat's words, they didn't care that he was the Shinto prince. They wanted revenge against Irene and they would have it. I don't care who the buck you are, either you leave or you die, kid. You can't take on all of us. After all, Poseidon, Apollo, Ares, Hermes, Athena and Artemis are with me, roared Zeus angrily. He wouldn't let himself be threatened by a brat. Poseidon, Apollo, Hermes, Athena and Artemis looked at Zeus in disbelief since he had just threatened Amaterasu's son. Now they knew they would have to fight. They noticed when the boy's face changed from cold to annoyed. I see, stupid Greek god, now you will pay for such arrogance. Wanda and Urza, take care of Hermes, don't hold back. Kurama, take care of Apollo and Artemis. Irene, you will go against Athena, her power is inferior to Zeus's, so you will be able to deal with them easily. And Krom Cruach, you will go after Ares, finish him off if possible. I will deal with Poseidon and Zeus myself, Naruto ordered seriously. Everyone nodded at their leader's orders, and Naruto launched a torrent of fire towards the gods which caused them to separate, and Naruto's friends took the opportunity to go against their opponents. Urza and Wanda versus Hermes. Hermes, messenger of the gods, I suppose, said Wanda would be. She felt the power of Hermes and compared it with a descendant of Leviathan and realized that she is a little stronger than that demon. She may be at the top of the Satan level, maybe on par with Seraphil or Falbium. Urza looked at the god Hermes with great caution. She felt his power, and he may not be as strong as her mother, but she knew that the god is dangerous. She knew that she could not defeat Hermes alone, but with the help of that girl Wanda, she knew that she could defeat the god. I see that you know me, my most sincere apologies, since I am going to have to fight with you, and as you know I am Hermes, the Greek god and one of the 12 Olympians. What are your names? I wish to know the name of my opponents, said Hermes now seriously. He did not want to fight, but he would have to do it by orders of Zeus. Also, he knew that he would have to give his all to be able to defeat those two girls. After all, he felt their power, and one of those girls was at his level, and the other was easily at the level of a mid-high class demon. I am Urza Bulsirian, pawn of Lord Naruto. The Shinto prince, said Urza, seriously, taking out her sword ready for battle against the one who is said to be the fastest Greek god. She also wanted to show her new king how strong she is, and if she defeats Hermes, she will demonstrate her power. My name is Wanda Maximoff, queen of Naruto, the Shinto prince, said Wanda seriously, and then opened several magic circles, preparing for the battle with the fastest Greek god. Hermes opened his eyes a little, since Zeus had asked everyone to look for an old woman with the last name Maximoff, and apparently the girl in front of him is a descendant of that woman that Zeus hates so much. Well, that will be a topic for another time. Now I have to concentrate. This battle will be complicated, since neither of those two girls is weak, the god thought. Well, let's start the fight, girls, said Hermes, and then opened a number of magic circles and launched several energy attacks towards his opponents. Urza opened her eyes in surprise at the speed of Hermes' attack and drew her sword to protect herself. Wanda, seeing Hermes' attack, placed an energy barrier protecting herself from the attack of the fastest god and then opened several magic circles and launched several chaos energy attacks towards Hermes. Hermes, seeing the attacks and the danger they represented, dodged them at great speed, but Urza, seeing the god distracted with Wanda's attacks, she took the opportunity and in a burst of speed, tried to cut the god with her sword, but Hermes took out a caduceus and intercepted Urza, thus both colliding weapons where both went evenly until they separated, and Wanda, taking advantage of the opportunity, had to launch several fire spells at the god. Hermes defended herself with a barrier. But Urza went against Hermes and with a slash cut the god's barrier. Wanda, taking advantage of her opportunity, opened a magic circle and launched a large amount of chaos magic at the god, impacting, causing a large explosion generating smoke around. When the smoke dissipated, Hermes could be seen a little scorched. That attack really hurt me. I see that you are not ordinary people, said Hermes, panting a little. Now he realized that the girl named Wanda, who is a relative of the woman Zeus was looking for, may be at the level of Apollo or close to the foolish sun god, while the girl named Urza, although weaker than him, that girl should not be underestimated. After all, she is a great Chinese sword. In addition, both Wanda and Urza worked together to defeat him. Wanda snorted. She knew that this attack would not finish off the Greek god, while Urza looked serious, both prepared to finish off the god Hermes. Irene versus Athena. It is a pleasure to finally meet Lady Irene Bulsirian. Let me introduce myself. I am Athena, goddess of wisdom, strategy, and justice. Athena said with a somewhat nervous smile, as she was facing the strongest dragon queen, someone that not even Zeus could defeat, and she knew that she is weaker than her father Zeus, so the only thing she could do is entertain the dragon queen until the rest could defeat their opponents, although she doubted it. Since she felt the power of those beings and was above a super demon, and she realized that her father's decision was an idiocy that may cost the Greek faction dearly. A pleasure, Greek goddess. I am Irene Bulsirian, Naruto-sama Tower, the Shinto prince, said Irene with a smile and releasing her power that easily enters the lower part of the celestial range. Athena opened her eyes at Irene's revelation. If what she said is true, then Irene is now a subordinate of the boy who is the prince of Shinto. Now she realized how screwed they are, since now she understands that Irene is not the strongest of the group and most likely the prince, and that Kyuubi are even stronger than Irene from what she felt. Well, daughter of Zeus, since my king will fight with your father and with Poseidon, you deal with everything that your father tried to do to me, so I hope you take away my power, said Irene, and then snapped her fingers and made dozens of magic circles appear from where several rays of energy came out that were directed towards Athena. The Greek goddess, seeing the attack, defended herself with her sword and shield from the dragon queen's attacks, but Irene still hit her with some of the attacks. I see you were able to protect yourself from most of my attacks, Irene said, sighing, since she thought that with only her first attack she could deal with Athena. Now she realized that this goddess is not weak and is most likely stronger than Ares. I can see why my father fears you. Your power is far superior to any of the 12 Olympians, and I think the only Greek who could deal with you is Hades, Athena said, panting a little. Her opponent is definitely a great power. Kurama versus Artemis and Apollo. Get ready, man, you will die for me. Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, said Artemis, ready for battle with her bow in hand. Let me introduce myself. I am Apollo, Greek god of the sun. Prepare yourself, child, we will be your opponent, said Apollo with a sigh for the battle that was to come. I am Kurama, bishop of my brother Naruto, the prince of Shinto. I hope you can give me suitable entertainment, said Kurama with an arrogant smile and releasing his power a little. After speaking, Kurama disappeared in a burst of speed and grabbed the faces of Apollo and Artemis and crushed them to then throw them away from him and then throw a mini Bijadama towards the gods, causing a huge explosion to be felt throughout the area, generating that nothing could be seen. Worse, after a few seconds, Kurama could see both gods damaged but alive, which impressed him a little. He supposed that with his attack, he could finish them both off. But apparently Apollo was able to put up a barrier that managed to defend him a little from his Bijuu-dama. You are not just any Kyuubi Kurama.sa, and your power goes beyond even the leader of the Yokai Yasaka. I can even say that your power goes far beyond several main gods. That is very strange, said Apollo, panting heavily, since he received more damage for protecting his sister. Brother, this Kurama, his power is even greater than his father's, said Artemis somewhat nervously. In addition, with impressive ease he was able to hurt her and Apollo, and she knew that if Apollo had not managed to put up a bar, she would most likely have been defeated. Apollo nodded and realized that the battle was already lost. They would have no chance, and he wondered how strong the leader of that Kyuubi will be. He knew that the Shintoists are among the two strongest factions, and Amaterasu, the mother of the leader of this group, was at the top of the top 10. He knew well that Amaterasu could even contend against the 12 Olympians, and from what he feels his son may also be capable of doing that. Only Hades would have a chance of harming these opposing monsters. Krom Cruach vs. Ares. I am Ares, god of war, prepare to be defeated, Ares said arrogantly, as he would show his opponent his place, and that is under Ares, the god of war. I am Krom Cruach Naruto Tower, said Krom Cruach coldly, since he was somewhat angry that he fought against Ares. He at least wanted to fight against Athena, Poseidon or Zeus. They would represent a better challenge. Ares opened his eyes in disbelief, knowing who his opponent was. Now he realized how screwed he was. He was facing someone from the top 10. I see by your face that you know who I am, foolish god, and you know very well that you have no chance against me, and since you are now the enemy of my king, you will be finished, so death, pathetic god, said Krom Cruach, then disappeared in a burst of speed and threw a strong punch at Ares that was reinforced by magical energy. Krom Cruach's attack was received by the god of war Ares, who could not react, since the power of the evil dragon's punch was so strong that it sent the god of war flying. To be sure that this god will not cause problems, it will be better to end this pathetic fight, said Krom Cruach, opening several magic circles where great torrents of energy accumulated and were launched towards the god of war to kill him or at least knock him out. The attack was so great that it caused a huge explosion and knocked out Ares, the god of war. The god did not expect his opponent to be one of the 10 strongest beings. My opponent is weak, none of the Greek gods except Hades could give me a good fight. How pathetic, said Krom Cruach with a sigh, although he was somewhat interested in how the other factions react to their fights, since he knew that the amount of energy from his group and that of the Greeks would be felt throughout the world. After all, several low, medium and high-class gods were fighting, even several beings of the super demon class and celestial dragon were releasing their power. It will be interesting how the supernatural world reacts. Naruto vs. Poseidon and Zeus. So you will be our opponent, prince of the Shinto faction, Poseidon said seriously, but inside he was nervous. He heard the power of the prince of Shinto, and it is said that he is even stronger than Susanoo and Tsukiyomi. Some even think that his power is equal to Amaterasu, although no one has been able to confirm it. You bastard child will pay for interrupting my attack. I don't care who you are and who your mother is, I will finish you off today. You will pay, said Zeus, with his eyes shining in hatred for the brat who got in his way. Naruto's eyes glowed red upon hearing Zeus's words. He was now getting angry at how that god dared to offend his mother. Now he would be serious and would not allow anyone to offend him or try to offend his mother. I will destroy them. Before I only thought about being able to beat them up, but now I will break them. Die garbage, said Naruto, opening hundreds of magic circles from which different attacks of fire, water, wind, lightning and earth came out. Zeus and Poseidon opened their eyes in surprise and then protected themselves with a barrier. Naruto, seeing his opportunity, went at great speed towards Zeus and with his strength reinforced with chakra, threw a big punch at the leader of the Greeks. Then he went towards Poseidon and threw a strong kick that sent him flying. Greek gods paid dearly for the offense. Twin dragons of light and darkness, said Naruto. To 2 magic circles come out 2 dragons from which great power sprang. One dragon is all made of light and the other dragon is made of total darkness. Both dragons went towards the Greek gods, the one of darkness went towards Zeus and the one of light towards Poseidon when the twin dragons collided against the 2 main Greek gods, causing a gigantic explosion. That won't kill them, it will only hurt them. After all, they are the main gods, so appear quickly, Zeus and Poseidon, Naruto said coldly. After Naruto spoke, Zeus appeared somewhat injured, as did Poseidon. The god of the sea realized that his opponent is much stronger than them and felt the energy of his fellow gods who were battling with the boy's companions. They felt that Ares was defeated, Hermes, Athena. and Artemis were somewhat weakened, while Apollo's energy was less than half. Now he realized that the boys' group was above all the strength of Olympus, while Zeus still did not realize anything. He just wanted revenge against a bastard who attacked him. "Thy child will pay for the damage you did to me," said Zeus, launching a large lightning bolt so powerful as to destroy a large city. The power of the lightning was so powerful that even gods like Odin, Susanoo, Tsukiyomi will be careful with the attack, knowing well the power it has, but Naruto saw with a smile the attack of Zeus. Since although it is strong, it does not represent much threat to him, so to counteract the attack of Zeus, the prince of Shinto threw a wind Rasen Shuriken, causing it to collide with Zeus's attack, and colliding, both countering. Naruto, seeing his opportunity, throws two Rasen Shuriken towards Zeus, one was wind and the other fire. Both attacks collided with Zeus, causing the lightning god to become unconscious upon receiving such strong power. Naruto, seeing the unconscious body of Zeus, took out his sword and in cold blood cut off the arm of the god of lightning, making Zeus wake up and scream in pain and fall again inconstant with his divine blood dripping. "I see you definitely have to be at least in the middle of the top 10. You are not an original child," said Poseidon, nervous to see what the boy did to his younger brother. Now he knew he had no chance. After all, he has a similar level to his brother, and that boy was able to deal with him and Zeus, and even knock Zeus unconscious. Now he realized that that boy is even stronger than Tiffin, and that is bad, since the 12 Olympians were needed to face that beast, and even then they would not win without the help of Hades. Naruto, seeing that Zeus already received what he deserved and that Poseidon did not attack him, assumed that it was out of fear. He knew that there were currently few beings who could defeat him, among which were Cows, Office, Great Red, Shiva, and Izanagi, who were at the top of the top 10. "Okay, Greek god of the seas, are you going to retire with the rest of the Olympians, or I'll have to annihilate you all here and now," Naruto said coldly. Poseidon realized how overwhelmed he was. Damn it, and if Amaterasu finds out that the crazy goddess of the sun and the universe attacked Prince Naruto, she will burn down the bucking Olympus and all the gods who attacked her son. Although he didn't know who he feared more, the leader of the Shintoists or their prince, since both in his eyes are very terrifying, and he didn't know who is stronger. The boy Naruto showed enormous potential, and he knew he was going to get stronger. "Well, Lord Naruto, I will retire with my brother and the rest of the Greek gods. I give you my word that I will not attack him again, and I will try to make sure that Zeus does not do anything stupid," Poseidon said seriously, although inside he prayed that Zeus does not do anything stupid again, since he knew that if Zeus provokes the boy, that brat would erase all the Olympians. "Apollo, Artemis, Athena, Hermes, Ares, come on, let's go," said Poseidon, carrying Zeus, who was unconscious and without an arm. "Irene, Urza, Wanda, Kurama, Krom Cruach, go back and let the Greeks go. The battle is over," said Naruto. Those in Naruto's group followed their leader's order, while the Greek gods did as Poseidon ordered, although Hermes made a stop to pick up Ares, who was unconscious when Poseidon saw his fellow gods, and grimaced at the state of the gods. Ares was unconscious, and knew he wouldn't wake up for quite some time. Hermes had several burns and cuts, Athena also had several burns. Apollo looked more dead than alive, and Artemis was obviously exhausted, and then he saw the Shinto prince's group and saw that everyone was in good condition. The only ones who seem a little tired are the little girls who fought against Hermes. Poseidon had to sigh, he didn't think the boys' group would be that strong. "Well, Lord Naruto, as I promised, I will go with my fellow gods, and I promise you that I will do everything possible so that Zeus does not attack again," said Poseidon, sighing, and then opened a teleportation circle and left with all the Greek gods. He needed to rest. He may not be so physically exhausted, but mentally he was. Amaterasu would definitely take them as enemies. "Are you sure letting them go can cause problems for a future boss?" Krom Cruach said seriously. "I agree, Zeus will not remain calm today. He received another humiliation," Irene said with a frown, but with an internal smile, seeing how defeated Zeus was. "We have to start moving. The other factions will find out about this battle. It's likely that several of them have felt our powers and those of the Greeks. It's better to go to a safe house," said Kurama. "Well, let's go, it's time to strengthen ourselves. We may have defeated the Greeks, but that's because Hades, Hestia and the rest of the gods didn't come to battle us. If not, the result would have been different. We may have still won, but maybe we would have had some casualties," Naruto said to open a large magic circle and teleport away. Everyone nodded at their king's words. They all wanted to be much stronger. They may have defeated the Greeks, but they knew that if Hades or Hestia were in the battle, the fight would not have been so simple. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, the Black Primordial was watching Naruto's battle against the Greek gods and realized that the lord he wanted to serve might already be as strong as him or even stronger, which surprised him quite a bit since Naruto-sama's growth was enormous in such a short time. Now he realized that the potential of that child is enormous. Interesting, Naruto-sama is someone worthy to serve, and his guards are not weak at all. maybe even some of them like Kurama and Krom Cruach could be at the level of the white primordial, thought the black primordial, thinking about how to get rid of his seal and be able to serve the one he wanted as his lord. In addition, he was very interested in the growth of Lord Naruto's subordinates. End of chapter. Chapter 9. Consequences Part 1. Currently Naruto and his group were talking among themselves after finishing off most of the Olympians, which are Poseidon, Zeus, Ares, Hermes, Athena, Apollo and Artemis, each powerful in their own right, with Zeus and Poseidon being among the most powerful Greek gods, although they still lost against Naruto and his group, achieving an enmity between the Shinto prince and the Greek faction, which will cause a big headache in the future for the Greek faction. Well guys, today you did well. We were able to protect Irene-chan and Urza-chan from the Greek gods. Now they know that both are under my protection and therefore under the protection of the Shinto faction. I doubt they will do anything, although knowing Zeus and Ares, maybe they can look for us when they recover, but it will be easy to deal with those pathetic gods, said Naruto. I agree, most of us could against Ares, maybe only Miss Urza and Wanda-san could not against Ares unless they work together. After all, both still need to grow in power, and in their fight against Hermes, they made a good duo against the god Hermes, and although Ares is stronger, the difference is not much, said Kurama seriously, since from what he investigated, Ares is strong, but he only becomes the 7th strongest Olympian, being surpassed by Apollo, Athena, Zeus, Poseidon, Aphrodite and Hera. I agree with Kurama, Ares' power is somewhat decent, but most of us could deal with him alone. My daughter and Miss Wanda would have problems, but if they work together, I know they could defeat that pathetic god of war, Irene said, snorting as she remembered the pathetic god. If it were up to her, she would destroy him on a molecular level, so he would never bother her again. Wanda and Urza frowned, but both knew well that they could not beat Ares. Wanda knew that individually she might have managed to defeat Hermes, although she would be badly injured if they fought one-on-one, although if she fought Ares, she doubted if she could win. I understand what you're saying, I know well that Urza and myself couldn't fight the god Ares, not yet, but I know that with proper training, we can overcome that pathetic god, said Wanda, knowing well that her power is one of the lowest in the group, despite the extra power they've had, thanks to the chess pieces used by their king. She knew that in raw power she may surpass Hermes and Ares, but those two had more experience in battle. Everyone nodded in understanding at Wanda's words. They knew well that both Wanda and Urza have immense potential that will make them even surpass most of the Olympians, if not all of those Greek gods. Now we have to prepare for the repercussions of the battle we had with the Olympians, especially because in that battle you boss fought against Poseidon and Zeus. I know well that now the entire supernatural world will find out that Irene and I are under your command. We are both very recognized in the supernatural world, so it will be shocking news and it will make several factions nervous. Since if we are under your command it means that you are much stronger, so the gods considered that you are someone who already surpasses the level of a celestial dragon, and therefore, you are positioned in the top 10 of the strongest existences, said Krom Cruach seriously. Now he knew that his boss would be in the sights of all the leaders of the supernatural factions. Kurama and Irene frowned, since they both knew well what Krom Cruach was referring to, and they looked at their leader and realized that he also understood. They glanced at Urza and Wanda and saw that they did not understand. They assumed it was because they did not know much about the supernatural world. Naruto sighed. Now he had to contact his mother and uncles, since they would find out about the battle he had with the Greek faction, and especially with their leader Zeus, the god of lightning and the skies, who was problematic. What do you mean, Krom Cruach? Wanda asked curiously, as she didn't understand much about what the crescent moon dragon meant. She knew well that all factions were now paying attention to them, but she didn't fully understand the depth of the problem. Now the factions will be more cautious with us, even the Cows Brigade will now have information about us. We just have to be careful and not walk alone, since someone may want to attack us, especially because of the power we have shown in the fight against the Greek gods, said Krom Cruach, knowing well that now the factions must be finding out about the entire battle with the Olympian gods. Wanda and Urza frowned, now they understood that those from the factions would be cautious of them, and some would even eliminate them because they saw them as threats. Both girls sighed, now they had to become much stronger to be able to defend themselves. Well, we just have to be careful, and in your case Urza and Wanda, you will not go alone. You may be powerful, maybe even to defeat beings of the Satan class, but you still could not defeat beings like Zeus or Poseidon, so we will be cautious, Naruto ordered seriously. Wanda and Urza frowned, but nodded resignedly. They knew that Naruto only wanted to protect them. Well, now I want to discuss the 4 legendary primordials. These are 4 first-level beings. They are known as the Black Primordial, White Primordial, Yellow Primordial, and the Purple Primordial. From what I could investigate, each one is powerful in its own right, perhaps at the level of the celestial dragons or higher, but the black one is said to equal first-level gods like Indra. The first wish to recruit them, so I want you to help me investigate more information about these beings, said Naruto seriously. Kurama's side Naruto was somewhat obsessed with freeing those beings. He understood if they joined the Shinto faction, or rather Naruto, he would already have great military power, and also satisfied his curiosity to see the level of power of those beings that in his thought are incredibly powerful and dangerous beings. He knew how curious Naruto is, but sometimes he thought he was crazy for wanting to free those beings. Krom Cruach and Irene watched in shock and disbelief at what their king wanted to do. Demons. Their king wanted to release the 4 primordial demons, beings that existed before almost everything. They knew a little about these dangerous beings. After all, the black primordial, white primordial, yellow primordial, and the purple primordial are beings of extreme power. It is said that those 4 together could even challenge high-level factions. Boss, you're crazy to want to free them, but since I'm a dragon of my word, I'll support you in everything, and if you want to free those 4 beings, I'll help you locate them, said Krom Cruach, sighing at how crazy his king is. He may be a good leader, but sometimes he's very stupid. I just hoped he wouldn't want to free other beings of such a high level. His king is very crazy in his opinion. As Cruach is right, I will support you in everything, my king, so I will look for information on the 4 primordials, said Irene. Wanda and Urza said nothing. They will give their full support to their king, even if he wants to set the world on fire. Naruto smiled and nodded happily that his friends will support him to free those 4 beings, but first he has to become stronger. He knew that he already surpasses the celestial dragons, but he has to be careful. On the other side of the world the demonic primordials were gathering, or rather the black primordial ordered them to gather. Since the black one saw the battle where Naruto fought with the Greek cockroaches, he wanted to join the one he sees as his god as soon as possible. Well, why did you summon us, Black Primordial? It is not proper for you to ask us for a meeting, not after we were sealed in the depths of the underworld by the biblical god, even before Lucifer rose up against the biblical god, said the White Primordial with some curiosity. Since it was not proper for his fellow Primordial to normally ask for a meeting, he stays away from everyone. How strange, thought the second strongest Primordial. She was curious as to what the black man wanted in this meeting. Blanca is right, it's not like you to ask for a meeting, Black, so tell me, what's going on? Or what do you want, Black? The yellow primordial asked seriously, frowning. He didn't understand what his primordial companion wanted. Yellow and white are right, I'm intrigued to know what it is that you want, Black, said the purple primordial, curious rather than serious, since for her, Black was a rare primordial, even rarer than her, and the fact that he asks for a meeting is very strange. The black primordial looked amused at his fellow primordials. They became somewhat desperate when they wanted information. He knew that what he would tell them would leave them in shock, but it was time to tell them part of his plan and what his next master was going to do and who would serve him. After all, he knew that Naruto, the prince of Shinto, already surpasses the power of his fellow primordials, the black primordial thought, although he also knew that he had not yet reached his level. But soon he could, and he wants to see when Naruto's power surpasses even that of those foolish dragon gods. The other 3 primordials looked at their primordial companion with caution, since they saw that he had a smile, and that was bad, since whenever he had that face the black primordial came up with strange ideas, and that made them cautious, since Black's crazy ideas sometimes ended badly for them. White primordial. Well, Black, tell us what strange ideas you have, since by your face I can tell that you have a crazy idea that you are going to propose. I am correct, Black? The black primordial looked at his fellow primordials with an amused smile, and with a small sigh he responded. Black primordial. Simple. For some time now I have been watching a little god who was born a couple of years ago. This child is powerful. He is the son of Amaterasu. This boy is very powerful. I would say that he may even surpass them, and with time he will surpass me. I even think that now the child may be on par with Lucifer, and we all know here that this demon is very powerful, and very few could compare to him. That made the rest of the primordials curious, since they had known Lucifer before his fall, and that idiot was very strong after all. It was said that his power even rivaled the strongest gods like Hades and Odin. The 3 primordials thought somewhat cautiously, since that new god must have enormous power to be able to impress the black primordial. Yellow primordial. And what does that concern us? Maybe that child is a god, he may be strong, maybe he occupies a position in the top 10, but we can't do anything. We are in this pathetic seal that the biblical god put on us. Our power is restricted, and we don't have the power to see the outside world. Only you have it, and only for a couple of hours. This silly seal prevents us from seeing the world, just because the biblical god considered us dangerous. The yellow primordial mocked at the end with a frown when mentioning the biblical god, how he hated the god, although he respected his power quite a bit, not being able to do anything. He was one of the strongest gods, and one of the few gods that she truly respected. Primordial purple. I agree with yellow, we can't leave this place because we're interested in what happens to the world, and what does that demon have to do with it? Although his power is impressive from what you tell us about this young god, if the child has nothing to do with us, what are you planning, Black? It's not typical of you to summon us just to tell us or praise a young god that we don't know. The Black Primordial shook his head in amusement and sighed, as he now had to convince the Primordials to join and follow Naruto the Shinto prince. Black Primordial. Simple Naruto is an interesting being, and I think it would be good to serve him, he is powerful, and it would be interesting for you to meet him, since he is looking for the location where we are sealed, and I know he will succeed. I have been watching him, and he is an entity that I wish to serve, and I recommend that you do so, since there will be greatness by his side. When the Black Primordial finished speaking, an aura of great power came out that could easily be compared to Indra, one of the 10 strongest existences, making the other 3 primordials sweat a little, since their primordial companion was not consulting them, but ordering them to follow the young god whom he was watching or harassing, since it was noticeable that the black man was watching the young god for a long time, which made them curious. The white primordial looked curiously at his primordial companion, since it was very rare for the black primordial to behave that way. She knew that her primordial companion was strange, but he rarely behaved that way, which made her curious, since the black primordial would not follow someone weak, so she assumed that at least that child Naruto was as strange and powerful as Black. That caused her intrigue. Maybe he would follow Black if the child could free them. "It's strange to see you so serious and using your power to be able to recruit us for your cause," commented the yellow primordial, with a small drop of sweat from the power that was coming out of his primordial companion. Definitely, his primordial companion wanted them to serve that little god. She was interested, maybe if he frees her, she can fight the boy and contest his power level. It would be interesting to see the power level of the boy that the devil is interested in. Maybe she will listen to the fool in black. "I agree with yellow, it's strange to see you like that, it's not proper to use your power like that," said purple, intrigued, but also with a drop of sweat for the power of the black primordial. "I'm intrigued by what you're saying, Black. I'll tell you this, if this little new god you're telling me about frees us, I'll follow him along with my armies, since it would be fair he frees us, and I'll be loyal to him." "It's fair enough, Black," said the white primordial with a small smile, knowing well that would calm the black primordial, but she was curious to know the god that her fellow primordial told her about, and if he is even stronger than Lucifer, the boy is definitely powerful. The yellow and purple primordials looked at the white primordial with great surprise, since after Black, White was the strongest and proudest primordial, and out of nowhere he accepted Black's offer, which intrigued them, although both primordials were also in favor of White, since if the demon that Black told them about frees them, they would serve them, well, the black primordial was under his power, since his white primordial companion accepted his proposal. Black primordial. Fine, since White accepted and from what I see purple and yellow are thinking about it, he still has time to decide, since I estimate that in a short time Lord Naruto will be able to free us and my army will serve him, and I hope that you do too. Purple and yellow narrowed their eyes, but sighed they would follow their primordial companion along with their armies if the demon frees them. White primordial. I think I speak for all of us who accept your offer. Our armies will side with the demon you said would free us. I give you my word, Black, and you don't have to worry about me betraying you. You know very well that I am someone of my word, just like purple and yellow. Yellow and purple sighed and nodded, being in favor of White, serving the person who frees them wouldn't be a bad thing at all. Black primordial. Perfect, but I also want to tell you that it seems that Lord Naruto not only wants to recruit us, but also apparently he is going on an even larger scale than ours, he is also going after the true dragons. The white, purple and yellow primordials opened their eyes in surprise and disbelief. The primordial trio knew well how strong true dragons are, hell, only the black primordial would have the power to fight on par with true dragons, and that was saying something, since Black is even stronger than the 2 celestial dragons together, maybe even stronger than Indra, almost reaching the level of the biblical god. Well, I think I speak for everyone, if the boy manages to free us we will join him, it will be interesting, that young god could perhaps be a worthy king, said the white primordial sighing, since she knew that if she didn't accept she would have to fight against Black, and although she would like a battle she knew that he would defeat her, the help of the other 2 primordials would be needed to defeat him. Then primordial Black nodded with a smile, he knew well that Naruto would soon free them, he knew that the boy was getting stronger, and with time he would surpass him, he was interested in that little god, not because he was the son of Amaterasu, but because of his great growth. 2 days later at the Shinto pantheon, the sun goddess was furious with the Greek faction that the bastards had attacked her son, her precious baby. She felt the spikes of power, she just hoped her baby was okay. She knew Kurama is strong, and so is Naruto, but she is his mother, she cared about her little one. If something happened to her baby, she will destroy the foolish Greeks with all her power. The sun goddess was angry and wanted to finish off the Olympians who attacked her baby. Her heir was also furious that a demon led by the pathetic Rizavam attacked her baby a while back. She knew everything the sun goddess said. She cares about Naruto, but knew better than to overprotect him. She knows her son is powerful. Sister, you have to calm down, little Naruto will be fine, stop unleashing your power, it will put other factions on alert if you continue like this, Susanoo said seriously. Susanoo is right, you have to stop releasing your energy alerts to the other factions, said Tsukiyomi sighing heavily. She was also worried about Naruto, but she knew he is strong, much stronger than her and Susanoo, so she knew he was fine, especially since he has the help of Kurama. Amaterasu sighed, knowing full well that her brothers were right, she didn't have to worry about Naruto, she knew how powerful he was, so there was no problem. Okay, I'll calm down, but Susanoo, I want you to communicate with my little wish for him to come back. I need to talk to him about those stupid demons that attacked him and the Olympians who attacked him. According to what is known, Naruto was with different beings that supported him to fight against the Greeks. Some of those beings are even stronger than you. One is Kurama and the other apparently is a dragon, although I don't know its name still, so I want Naruto to come back. I need to talk and find out who he recruited and thank him for defending my son. Susanoo sighed, but nodded. He would have to talk to his nephew to get him back. He didn't want his sister to get angry. After all, he wouldn't contradict her. Okay sister, I'll contact my nephew and tell him to come back, Susanoo replied, somewhat stressed by how overprotective his brother is of Naruto. Hells, he knew how powerful the boy is. Naruto is easily in the top 10 of the strongest existences, maybe in the lower or middle part, but that's more than he is. End of chapter. Chapter 10. Consequences Part 2. Currently in Asgard, the god Odin, the All-Father and leader of the Norse faction, and Thor, the god of lightning and prince of Asgard, were meeting as shocking information reached them and made them nervous and curious, as well as cautious, as a powerful force now appeared. Father, what do you want to tell me? Why are you so serious? Thor asked curiously, since it had been a long time since he had seen his father so serious. After all, his father is mostly relaxed and downplays most events. The day I received some very worrying information. It seems that the prince of Shinto, along with what seems to be some of his subordinates, defeated several Greek gods. From the information that came to me is that the child is in the sights of the 12 Olympian gods. They fought with the Shinto prince, and apparently the Greeks were overwhelmed by the son of Amaterasu and his subordinates, said Odin, sighing. Now he realized how dangerous the son of the sun goddess is. Maybe that child is almost as strong as his mother, that positioned the Shinto faction as the strongest. After all, the Hindu is almost as strong as the Shinto, but with the son of Amaterasu, now the Shinto are the most powerful. Thor opened his eyes in surprise and disbelief. He had heard of the Shinto prince, a little-known figure in the supernatural world, mainly because of how young he is. He thought that the power of that child might be at the level of a Satan, maybe a little weaker, but now he finds out that the child might be stronger than his father. The god of lightning gulped, but he was curious to meet the child and fight him. It would be very interesting in his eyes. So now another existence may be ranked among the 10 strongest, father, am I correct? Thor asked curiously. He now understood a little about the power of the Shinto prince. You are correct, son, the prince of Shinto is most likely positioned in the top 10, perhaps in the middle of the strongest, Odin replied, sighing. The best thing would be to organize a meeting with Amaterasu and see an alliance. Perhaps the crazy goddess of the sun would accept. I understand that we must be careful with the boy, the power he possesses is enormous, and from what I understand his subordinates are also powerful, Thor said sighing, but he also wanted to test the power of the Shinto prince. He wondered if a battle between princes could be organized. Odin sighed and only hoped that Loki, his crazy son, would not become an enemy of the Shinto prince, otherwise Asgard would gain a powerful enemy. After all, he was sure that not even Thor could defeat the boy, and he knew that the young god's power would grow even more. After all, he is still a child. In heaven, the Seraphim were nervous about the chaotic battle between Naruto and the Greek gods. The leader of heaven was nervous, since the power that was felt in the world was enormous. In addition, the spies of heaven informed him part of what happened. Brothers, do you think the Shintoists will go to war against the Greeks? Uriel asked nervously. He knows the power of the Shinto faction. His father, the biblical god, was a being of enormous power and was ranked among the top 10, equaling Amaterasu. But now without his father, heaven may be affected if the Greeks go to war against the Shintoists. Raphael and Gabriel frowned, both knowing that the Greek god's attack on the Shinto prince was a nonsense that would cause a possible war, especially because of how overprotective Amaterasu is. They expected everything to be resolved. Most likely Lady Amaterasu won't make a move until the Shinto prince speaks with her. From what I understood, the Shinto prince along with his friends defeated most of the Olympians, and from what I understand Zeus has been defeated to the point that he is very weakened. Let's just hope a war doesn't happen, said Michael, since he didn't want a war between two factions of gods. Let's hope there isn't a war between both sides or humans will be affected, said Gabriel sighing sadly. She hoped the Greek and Shinto gods wouldn't fight, as it would cause chaos in the human world and the supernatural world. The rest of the seraphim nodded at the words of the purest and most beautiful angel in heaven, since they all knew the problems that will happen if both pantheons fight, especially if the primordial of creation cows intervenes on the side of the Greeks, and if Izanami and Izanagi also intervene on the side of the Shintoists. After all, those three entities were in the top 10 of the strongest, each one being so powerful that they even surpass Lady Amaterasu in power and experience. But the fallen angels, their leader Azazel was curious to meet the Shinto prince, since from what he knows he is very young, but even so he was able to defeat Zeus, and from what he investigated, he was also able to defeat Poseidon at the same time, which makes him understand that the child's power is beyond any of the biblical beings, and the only ones who could defeat that brat may be his brother Lucifer and his father the biblical god. What are you going to do about what happened between the Shinto prince and the Greek gods? Barakiel asked curiously. He knew about the possible war between the Greeks and the Shinto. He was curious and nervous to see what Barakiel was going to do. He just hoped he didn't do anything stupid. Nothing, the Shinto faction is strong enough to fight on equal terms and defeat the three biblical factions. We cannot intervene, and the Greek faction can deal with any biblical faction. If we interfere we will be destroyed, Azazel replied, sighing. He only hoped that there would not be a war, otherwise it could cause serious repercussions in the supernatural world and the magical world. I understand Azazel and I understand your decision, said Barakiel, knowing well what would happen if they interfered in the problems between the Greeks and the Shintoists. Azazel nodded, he was waiting for the results between the Greeks and the Shintoists. He just hoped that a war wouldn't happen, since if it did, other factions would most likely get in the way, and that would be problematic. Shiva, the god of destruction, smiled upon hearing the news of the defeat of the Olympians by the now Shinto prince. He wanted to meet the young man who defeated Zeus and Poseidon at the same time. It would be interesting to have a battle with the boy, but first he will wait for him to grow up. He is curious about the potential he possesses. After all, he is the son of the strongest sun goddess, an existence that would even put him in trouble. Maybe I'll arrange a meeting with Amaterasu. It would be interesting to know the capabilities of her son. After all, a child with so much potential hasn't appeared for centuries, Shiva said to himself. On the other side of the world, the wounded Greeks, except for Zeus, who was still recovering, were all in a meeting. Next to them were Hades and Hestia, the strongest gods in the Greek pantheon. Although they did not belong to the 12 Olympians, they were among the most feared and respected gods in the pantheon. Therefore, they were summoned to talk about the fight between the Greek gods against the Shinto prince's team, which had now wreaked havoc in the supernatural world. Well, this time what did you all do, since the supernatural world is chaotic due to a confrontation you had against the Shinto prince? I don't understand why you attacked the child. It's practically declaring war on Lady Amaterasu, one of the strongest gods and one of the 10 most powerful existences, she being even capable of fighting against the 2 celestial dragons, Hades said calmly, although everyone could see how angry he was. Hestia looked at her family with a frown for the foolishness of attacking Amaterasu's son. She knows that now her pantheon may be in danger because of the foolishness that Zeus did. Her pantheon may be strong, but it is not strong enough to hold back the power of the Shinto gods. Our brother went to look for Irene Bulsirian, the Scarlet Destroyer he wanted to enslave, but what we did not know is that Irene was under the command of the Prince of Shinto Naruto. From what I understand, the boy built something similar to the nobility that the biblical demons possess and recruited Irene-san and other individuals of great power. Poseidon replied with a sigh. He now knew that the boy Naruto is a being even stronger than his brother Hades. Hades and Hestia frowned and wondered who the young prince could recruit to defeat his fellow Greeks. And who did Prince Naruto recruit? Hades asked curiously. He wants to know who they are so he can analyze them and perhaps understand the strengths and weaknesses of those existences. The boy was able to recruit Irene Bulsirian, the Scarlet Destroyer, and a first-level dragon. As I understand it, that woman is the bishop of the boy Naruto whom I faced. That woman is powerful. I think that only you Hades could defeat, although I don't think you can defeat her easily. Maybe she is almost at your level. She defeated me easily, said Athena sighing. I see, Hades said sighing, since he knew that only he could fight against a dragon queen. Maybe Hestia could give him a good fight, but he knew well that he could not defeat the god of the underworld. He sighed. Hermes, who did you face? Asked Hestia, sighing at the problems that are happening now with the Shintoists. She was nervous. She just hoped there wasn't a war against the Shinto gods. I faced Urza Bulsirian. She is a powerful force, perhaps at the level of an ultimate class demon. I also faced Wanda Maximoff, who is the queen of the Olympians. Opened their eyes to surprises, since those brats have enormous potential. If they easily put Hermes in trouble, they wondered how strong they will be when they reach the maximum of their power. Several of the Olympians shuddered. I can see that those girls must have enormous power and potential to be able to face you, Hermes, and even defeat you, Hades said sighing, since the Shinto prince apparently has a great team. Artemis and I fought a yokai, more specifically a Kyuubi. His power is no joke, from what I understand, he is Lord Naruto's bishop. I reckon that in terms of power, only you, Uncle Hades, could defeat him. He beat us up with ease, and he wasn't serious, Apollo said seriously. The sun god knew that not even his father could beat Kurama. I faced Krom Cruach, who is known as the strongest evil dragon, and it is said that his power is comparable to that of the celestial dragons. As everyone knows, the power of that dragon is in the top 8 of the strongest beings. He is even more powerful than your Uncle Hades, and as I understand it is the child's tower, said Ares angrily. He wanted to fight that dragon again and beat him up. Hades, Hestia and all the Olympians gasped nervously and in disbelief, since the child, the Shinto prince, possesses someone from the top 10 of the most powerful existences in his nobility, that would practically make the child also place in the top 10, and that would make the Shinto faction position itself as the strongest faction with the combat power that the Shinto prince now possesses. Hades sighed. Now he was worried. He knew he could battle that crazy dragon, but not defeat him, and now he finds out that the boy has that dragon under his command, which makes him understand that the boy has a power that would place him in the top 10, maybe on par with Tiffin Indra, the god of the underworld, shuddered just with that power, and the boy's allies could bring down Olympus. This is problematic. Prince Naruto must at least occupy the top 7 or 6 of the strongest to be able to handle the dragon Krom Cruach, which makes me understand that the boy easily surpassed Susanoo and Tsukiyomi, and I would say that in a couple of years the boy may surpass Amaterasu, and in the eyes of the boy we are his enemies. Coordinate a meeting with Amaterasu, and I will try to avoid problems. I do not want a war with the Shintoists. We have no chance. We may be a strong pantheon, but now it is most likely that the Shintoists are the strongest, Hades said seriously. He now knew that with Naruto's power, the Shinto pantheon is positioned as the strongest power. I will accompany Hades when the meeting is, and we will see what Amaterasu asked of us. Let's just hope it's not something that puts us in a bad position, Hestia said, sighing. The rest of the Olympians nodded. They would let Hades and Hestia sort things out because they didn't want to deal with the strongest sun goddess. On the other side of the world, Rizavum was hearing the news of what happened between the Shinto prince and the Greek faction. The demon laughed as the brat apparently beat up Zeus and Poseidon. Those foolish gods! I made a huge mistake attacking the Shinto prince, but those Olympians made an even bigger mistake, as their defeat is now known throughout the supernatural world, and not only that, but the Shinto will now move. Maybe there will be a war. I wonder if this attack will cause a war between the Olympians and the Shintoists. It would be very interesting to see the chaos it will cause, Rizavum said to himself, smiling. He wanted chaos and wondered if the Greeks' attack on the prince would cause it. He just hoped it would. Now he wondered what problems it would bring to the supernatural world. Meanwhile, in the territory of the Shinto faction, Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun, was waiting for her son Naruto. She needed to talk to her son and know what happened with the Greeks. She does not want a war, but if the bastards attacked her son without reason, he would annihilate her faction, even if he had to face cows, the strongest primordial. Mother, it's a pleasure to see you again. The same with you, Uncle Susanoo, Aunt Tsukiyomi. I have been able to recruit good friends for my nobility, but I have had some setbacks, the first with the Cows Brigade, and the second is the one you found out about recently, and I suppose we are here to discuss it, Naruto said, sighing. You're right, you've now become very well known in the supernatural world, but first you can introduce your friends. I want to know who you've recruited, Amaterasu replied. You already know Kurama, he is a Kyuubi and he is my bishop. Then there is my queen Wanda Maximoff. Then there is Irene Bulsirian, the Scarlet Destroyer, she is my second bishop. Then there is Krom Cruach, he is my rook. And finally Urza Bulsirian, she is my pawn. And I will tell you this, the power of each of the members of my nobility is very high. Kurama and Krom Cruach being two beings that easily surpass the celestial dragons, Naruto said seriously. Susanoo and Tsukiyomi looked at their nephew in disbelief. The cheeky brat told them that he was able to recruit the strongest evil dragon, an existence in the top 8 of the strongest. They could not believe Naruto's growth. Now they understood well how the cheeky brat was able to defeat the Olympians. It's surprising that you were able to recruit one of the top 10 strongest beings, and with Kurama sense power, he should at least be in the top 7. Your combat power is impressive, Naru-kun, said Amaterasu happily, now knowing that her baby was well protected. You have recruited high-level people. I can feel their energies and it is enormous. Each one is powerful in their own right, and some of you will even surpass me and Susanoo, said Tsukiyomi. Now we want to know why the son of the first demon Rizavum Live and Lucifer attacked you, and also tell me why the Olympian gods attacked you. I want to know what exactly happened to make a decision, ordered Amaterasu seriously. She wants to know what the demons and the Olympians want with her precious son. Naruto shifted uncomfortably and sighed, knowing from his mother's look that he couldn't lie, and it would be better to inform her of what happened with the foolish demon Rizavum and the idiot Zeus. In the case of the demons, the one who attacked me is Kateria Leviathan, along with hundreds of demons. In addition, in the attack there was also Krom Cruach, but you do not have to worry about him. Since now he is on my side in the battle with the demons. Wanda fought with Kateria Leviathan and defeated her. Kurama defeated the hundreds of demons, and finally I fought with Krom Cruach where I defeated him, and I was able to recruit him, making him my tower, said Naruto smiling, remembering the good fight he had with the crazy dragon. Amaterasu, Susanoo, and Tsukiyomi opened their eyes in shock and disbelief, since they did not think that Naruto had recruited the dragon in a battle where he was victorious, and they saw Krom Cruach with a hard look for wanting to attack Naruto. The dragon was uncomfortable, since Amaterasu is one of the few who could defeat him, although he could give him a good fight, he would not attack her after all, she is the mother of his king. And why did Rizavam send a large army and one of the strongest demons he has under his command? Is that strange? Asked Tsukiyomi curiously. I could tell you anything you want, Krom Cruach replied seriously, knowing full well that the Cows Brigade is a danger that very few factions could sustain. This is Krom Cruach, I want to know why the son of the first demon attacked Naruto, Amaterasu said seriously, she wants to know everything about the pathetic demon. Simple. Rizavam wants to capture Naruto-san, since by capturing him he could make the Shinto faction can be powered by his side, and the true leader of the Cows Brigade is Office, the dragon god of infinity, and the top one of the most powerful existences. Although Office is indifferent to them, she only wants to kill Great Red to stay in the dimensional gap and have his silence, although I highly doubt that the beings that Office recruited are loyal to her, they are all there for their own reasons. Krom Cruach answered seriously, since Office is not a game, he knows that his king has the potential to match the dragons, but he was not at that level yet, maybe at the level of Indra or close, but no more. Susanoo and Tsukiyomi paled upon learning that Office, the dragon god of infinity, both knew who that dragon is. He is the top one of the strongest beings, and one of the two dragon gods is feared even by the strongest beings. Both gods know that they would have no chance, only if Izanagi and Amaterasu joined together could they defeat Office, the dragon god of infinity. Amaterasu became serious, she knows how dangerous Office is and sighed internally, now she would have to find out more about the members of the Cows Brigade. I see, thanks for the information. I'll have to investigate the Cows Brigade further. If it has Office, the Dragon of Infinity, as its leader, that organization is very dangerous. But leaving that topic aside, I want to know what's happening with the Greek attack, Amaterasu said. Naruto and his peerage members nodded in understanding, knowing full well that Office would be a topic for discussion later. I will inform you what happened to the Greek gods, said Irene Bulsarian seriously, since she is the one who has the most information about the Greek gods. Well, tell me what's happening with the Greek faction, Miss Irene ordered Amaterasu seriously, she wants to know why they attacked her son, and depending on what happens she will attack the Greeks or not. What happens is that Lord Naruto recruited me as his bishop and my daughter Urza Bulsarian as his pawn, but Zeus arrived along with half of Olympus and attacked us, since Zeus wanted to kill me since I beat him up, and as Naruto-sama, he had already recruited us, he fought on my side along with the rest, Irene answered seriously. I see, I'm not going to make any move against the Greeks for the moment. For now, I know that they will contact me, and since you weren't harmed, then I'm not that angry, but if the Greeks don't give me an answer, then I'll finish them off, Amaterasu said seriously. I understand, mother, and I know that they will most likely send Hestia or Hades, they are two of the strongest Greek gods, and they are also two of the most reasonable, so to avoid a war they will most likely send both, Naruto said seriously. I agree with you, Naruto, most likely Hades or Hestia will ask for a meeting, they are the most reasonable Greek gods, and together said Tsukiyomi. I agree, we'll wait a couple of days until the Greeks contact us. Let's hope the Greeks don't do anything stupid. Sigh, Amaterasu. Naruto, Susanoo, Tsukiyomi and Naruto's nobility nodded at Amaterasu's words. They only hoped that the Greeks wouldn't do anything stupid, because if not, they would go to war and wipe out the 12 Olympians and anyone who stood in their way. End of chapter. Chapter 11. Peace Talks. It's been a week since Naruto and his peerage met with Amaterasu, Susanoo and Tsukiyomi to find out what to do with the Greek faction this week. Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, and Hestia, the goddess of the hearth, both requested a meeting with the Shinto gods to have peace talks, and that war does not come, since the Greek gods knew that they have no chance against the Shinto unless Chaos, the primordial of creation, intervenes in the battle. Currently Hades, Greek god of the underworld, and Hestia, goddess of the hearth, two of the most powerful Greek gods, were in the territory of the Shinto faction. Both gods hoped that the talks would be resolved favorably and hoped that the Shinto gods would not ask for anything exaggerated as compensation, otherwise it would be very difficult to stop the battle. Minutes later Hades and Hestia were staring at the trio of Shinto gods, and the prince of the Shinto gods curious and nervous. After all, each of those beings is a great power that is even feared throughout the supernatural world, especially Amaterasu, who was positioned in the top 5 of the most powerful existences in the supernatural world. Lord Susanoo, Lady Tsukiyomi, Lady Amaterasu, Lord Naruto politely greeted Hades the strongest Greek and Hestia the strongest Greek to the leaders of the Shinto faction. After all, if they want there to be peace between their faction and the Shinto, they could not be like their brother Zeus, they had to be cautious and avoid offending the powerful Shinto gods. After all, several Amaterasu and Naruto are already in the top 10 of the strongest. It is also a pleasure to meet you Lord Hades, Lady Hestia, the only 2 Greek gods that I respect both in power and in their way of behaving, said Naruto seriously. Since he respected Hades quite a bit, he is a god even respectable outside of his faction, and Hestia is a goddess of great power and with a gentle behavior. Hello Lord Hades, said trio of Shinto gods and politely greeted the 2 Greek gods. After all, they have no ill will towards Hestia and Hades, after all they are the most sane gods in the Greek faction. In addition of their great power, they are respectable gods. Hades and Hestia nodded with a serious face. The Greek god of the underworld began peace talks. He doesn't want the Greeks to suffer an attack from the Shinto gods. After all, the Shinto faction was considered the second strongest faction in the supernatural world, although it may be stronger than the Hindu one now. I wish to know what you Lord Naruto want to stop this war against the Olympian gods. I may not like Zeus and other gods of my pantheon, but I do not want them to suffer an attack from you and Lady Amaterasu. After all, your power is above mine. I do not want a war to happen. After all, it would only cause a great amount of death. Hades said, knowing well that Naruto the Shinto prince and Amaterasu the Shinto leader could defeat him. He could put up a decent fight, but he would definitely lose. The Shintoists saw Naruto. After all, the Shinto prince was the one who was attacked, not them, so it is fair that Naruto asks for what he wants to stop the war. After all, they did not want a war, knowing well that other factions could intervene. Naruto thought about it a bit. He had some requests that might give Hades a headache. Also, he doesn't want a war with the Greek faction, so it will be interesting to know if Hades will be able to fulfill the predictions that he feels in his eyes are together. I have a few requests Lord Hades, since you are the god of riches. I wish monetary compensation of $300.00 million. I believe it is adequate compensation for everything I try to do Lord Zeus. I also wish you to give me the location of Zeref the Great Dark Magician, and finally I wish the souls of Charles the Great, the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, and Nero Claudius the Emperor of the Roses. I know that you possess those 2 souls Lord Hades. If you comply with my requests, I will stop any attack against the Greek pantheon. So you say Lord Hades, you will comply with the requests, you will risk a war against my faction, knowing well that your faction could be wiped out by me and my people. Said Naruto coldly. He wants the money because he knows that it will help him increase his position in the human world, and the location of the black magician needs him because he wants to recruit him. After all, he is a magician on par with Merlin. The first thing you ask I can fulfill, although something complicated is feasible for me, so it is not too exaggerated a concern. The souls of the 2 heroes that you ask me is complicated, but to avoid a war one will give them to you. I do not know what you want with the soul of those 2, but I will trust you Lord Naruto. But the exact location of the Dark Wizard Zeref, I am not sure. The only thing I can tell you is that his castle is in the United Kingdom, and most likely it is still in that place. Since it hardly moves from there, but you have to be cautious, since most likely his castle is under powerful spells that make it invisible to the eyes of humans and supernatural beings. I hope this information helps you. I do not know why you want to look for the Dark Wizard, but I do not care what you do or want to do to him. But I will give you a warning, that wizard is very dangerous, even I do not dare to fight him. After all, I would not know what the result would be. Hades answered seriously, knowing well the power of Zeref, although also he was worried about the 2 souls that Lord Naruto wanted. He didn't understand why he wanted them, but he would comply with everything he asked, not wanting a war. I see, at least now I know approximately where Zeref, the strongest dark wizard, is. Thank you Lord Hades for your information. You may not have told me the exact location, but the information you gave me is more than enough. I will accept your peace offer. I do not want a war against the Greek faction, it would be very problematic, and in the long run it hurts us. But tell Lord Zeus to never try to attack my people, because if he does it again I will eliminate Zeus forever. After all, there are many ways to destroy a god, said Naruto with his power coming to the surface, causing the temperature to drop drastically and behind him a large fox to form, sprouting a great murderous intent. Hestia and Hades sweated at the Shinto prince's killing intent. The bloodlust is so great that it even surpassed Typhon in malice and bloodlust. Both gods gulped. Now they realized how the prince was able to defeat half of the Olympians and didn't take them seriously. They now realized that only Chaos, the primordial of creation and the strongest primordial, could defeat Naruto, but they knew well that he will remain neutral unless attacked, or maybe the Greek faction will be in deep trouble. The child is very powerful, he may only be one level below Amaterasu. What he did not understand is why the child wants Serap's location, perhaps to kill him or to recruit him. Hades opened his eyes in horror. After all, if the child recruits the Black Magician, a magician capable of matching even Merlin and Morgana, two of the most powerful magicians of all time, the power of that child will increase considerably. Although he doubted that the child can recruit Seraph, there is still a great possibility, since the prince was able to recruit the strongest evil dragon, it is very likely that he can recruit Seraph, and if he did, he will definitely be much more dangerous. Hestia, the goddess of the hearth, swallowed the power and malice that the child was spewing. It was enormous and made her nervous. After all, she may be the strongest female goddess on Olympus, but she knew well that she wouldn't stand a chance against Naruto, the Shinto prince. I understand Lord Naruto, the requested money will arrive soon, and I have already complied with the information you asked for. It is time for me to retire. It was a pleasure to meet the Shinto prince, and it has been a pleasure to see you again, Lady Amaterasu. Lady Tsukiyomi. Lord Susanoo said. Hades, seriously, after all, it is good to be respectful with the Shinto, maybe he could ally with them. After all, he is not very well received in Olympus. Hestia nodded and said goodbye to the Shinto gods, sighing in relief that there is no war between her faction against the Shinto faction. After all, only Amaterasu and Naruto could take down the 12 Olympians. Little Naruto, why do you want the souls of those two emperors? What is it that you want from them? Amaterasu asked curiously, knowing that those two emperors are powerful, but also proud, so she didn't know what Naruto wanted from them. Besides, a soul wasn't much use unless Naruto wanted to learn the skills of those two, maybe that's why his son wants both of them. Simple, I'm going to recruit them. I'll use my creation power to make a body for those two emperors. I know they'll be happy to have a life again. Also, I'll put some seals on them in case they're not loyal to me at first. After all, you always have to be cautious. When I know they're loyal to me, I'll remove the loyalty seals. I don't want those two to attack me from behind, it would be very problematic, Naruto replied with a smile, knowing well that now he will have two powerful combat powers. Amaterasu, Susanoo, Tsukiyomi opened their eyes in surprise, shock and a little disbelief, since in their eyes Naruto was a little crazy to have that idea, and now they understood that he took advantage of the situation of this possible war. The Shinto trio sighed, but nodded at Naruto's words. It did not matter much who Naruto recruits, that will make his faction become stronger. Naruto smiled. Now he knew he had the help of his mother and uncles, but he needed more firepower if he wanted to conquer the supernatural world. First he has to get allies, then go to the world of the elemental nations, recruit several ninjas, and then go to rule the world. Maybe he can use the Cows Brigade to weaken the factions. I say goodbye, it's time for me to make my move. Also, I have to inform my nobility of what happened, and I have to look for information on the dark magician Seraph. After all, he is a magician at the level of Lord Hades, said Naruto, and then disappear. It's time for him to make his preparations and look for the strongest black magician. He knew that soon Hades will give him the souls he asked for and the money. The Uzumaki sighed. Now he would have a lot of work to do, since he has to create the bodies for those two souls. Amaterasu watched her beloved son leave and sighed. It was time to contact Izanagi and Izanami, they needed their fighting power. She had a suspicion of what Naruto wanted to do. After all, the little rascal was recruiting quite a few powerful beings. The sun goddess knew that trouble was coming, and she would have to be prepared for the enemies that were soon approaching. Susanoo and Tsukiyomi looked at their sister with narrowed eyes, but did not think much, since they knew that Naruto and Amaterasu would not do anything to them and would only seek the good of their faction, but they feared the crazy plans of both, since with Naruto's growth and the great battle power he was gathering, there were only two options. Naruto was increasing the military power of his faction, or he was preparing for war, a war that they did not know with whom it would happen. Meanwhile, with Hades and Hestia, both high-level gods, appeared directly in the Greek underworld. Both wanted to discuss about Uzumaki Naruto and then inform Zeus and the rest of the Olympians. Both Greek gods knew that the power of the Uzumaki was already on par with Lady Amaterasu, maybe only slightly inferior. I suppose you felt the power of Lord Naruto. You know well that the power of the Shinto prince is almost at the level of Lady Amaterasu, and the child is very young. I calculate that his potential may reach these on par with the primordial Greek of creation Cows or Office, the dragon god of infinity, both existences above all except Great Red, and that beast that sealed the biblical god, Hades said seriously, but with a great shiver when mentioning the beast of the apocalypse. After all, that existence could wipe out even the strongest factions. Hestia shuddered at the mention of Naruto and the beast of the apocalypse. Both existences in her eyes are very dangerous, and she sighed, since Lord Naruto in her eyes was above any Olympian or primordial of her faction except Cows. Seriously, would you give those two souls to Lord Naruto? You know very well that when they were both alive, they could even rival some gods like Ares, Artemis and even Apollo, Hestia said tensely, since the power of those two emperors is enormous in her eyes. If those two souls were given to Naruto it would be dangerous. Do not fear Hestia, those two souls will not be a threat. Furthermore, Lord Naruto will not harm us. As long as we comply with his demands he will not harm us. I just hope that the paranoid Zeus does nothing to provoke him. Since the Shinto prince will be able to kill him forever, I feel that the child can end the gods and erase all our essence, said Hades sighing, although internally he was nervous and had an idea of what Lord Naruto wants to do. Most likely the child plans to revive those two emperors. Hades has the confidence to defeat both, although he would do it with great difficulty, but he knew that if both emperors joined together perhaps only Poseidon, Hestia and Zeus could defeat them. Hestia nodded, she just hoped that her brother wouldn't do anything foolish against the Shinto prince. Besides, they had to worry about the problems of their own faction. After all, the Olympians have many enemies because of Zeus. Hestia, I want to ask you a question. If there is a war on Olympus, or rather against Zeus and his followers, what are you going to do? Hades asked seriously. Hestia frowned, knowing full well what Hades was referring to. Her brother Zeus had made many enemies. First there was Cronus, then the primordials Gaia and Tartarus, then there was Typhon, and there were even several demigods who hated them, and even several beings who despised them because of Zeus. The goddess of the hearth sighed. If the ones attacking are Cronus, Gaia, Tartarus or Typhon I will support Olympus, but if they are the demigods or other beings that Zeus harmed, I will remain neutral. I will not harm the demigods, they are children who deserve a family. Hestia said seriously she loved her family, but she would not harm the children, not even for Zeus or the rest of the Olympians. I agree with you Hestia, I will support Olympus if the primordials like Gaia or Tartarus attack, and even if Cronus or Typhon attack us, but if the demigods attack them I will remain neutral. I will not harm the silly brats, after all they are just children, Hades said sighing. He misses his children that he left in the Lotus Casino for their safety, but he couldn't go for them after all. If he took them out of the casino, he would only put them in danger. Thank you brother, now we have to notify Zeus that there will be no war, and we must be cautious with what he informs us. We cannot tell Zeus that Lord Naruto asked you for the souls of those two emperors and the location of the Dark Wizard's heir. If you know well how paranoid he is, and if he finds out he will do something foolish, it is better that we just tell him the monetary compensation, said Hestia seriously. Lose Hestia, I will not inform any god in the underworld either, this will stay between the two of us. I do not want to have problems with Zeus and Olympus, Hades said, sighing stressed, all the probable ones that his faction caused because of his younger brother. Hestia nodded, and in her thoughts she hoped that Zeus wouldn't do anything stupid after all, it's because of her brother that they have so many enemies. Come on sister, we have to inform mother first, and then we will go to Olympus to inform Zeus that there will be no war, ordered Hades sighing, since Lord Naruto's requests are very troublesome. Hestia nodded and they both disappeared in a golden light towards Rei's location. The Queen of the Titans needed to speak with her mother urgently. 5 minutes later Hades and Hestia were in front of Rei, the mother of the Olympians and the former Queen of the Titans and wife of Cronus, King of the Titans. Why have you come to visit me, dear daughter Hestia, dear son Hades, said Rei seriously, although she suspected him because she wants her children to confirm it. Rei, Queen of the Titans, Titaness of fertility, motherhood and blessing. Mother, it's a pleasure to see you again after a long time, Hades said seriously, although happy to see his mother after all he loves her. Mother, it's a pleasure to see you again, I missed you, Hestia said with a smile. She loves her mother and seeing her makes her happy. I'd love to see you kids again too, but tell me what you wish for, asked the Queen of the Titans. We want you to come with us to Olympus. I suppose you know what Zeus and the rest of the Olympians did, and you know the consequences, right, mother, Hades said seriously. Mother, you have to come with us, we are not asking you to say anything, just your presence is more than enough to make the Olympians calm down. You know very well that if any of them attacks Lord Naruto again, the entire Shinto faction will pounce on us, Hestia said, sighing sadly, since she knows very well that they are no match for the Shinto. I found out that my foolish children Zeus, Poseidon and some other Olympians attacked the Shinto prince and were repelled by the boy and his group. I am very surprised since Zeus and Poseidon are no game, even their father would have to get somewhat serious if he faced both of them at the same time. So tell me something, kid, how strong is the prince of the Shinto faction and who does he have under his command? Rei said seriously. Lord Naruto may be stronger than Typhon, and in my opinion maybe he is close to the level of Lady Amaterasu. The power of the prince is enormous. I think he alone could fight against the 12 Olympians alone, but what worries me most are the subordinates he has. These are Krom Cruach, the strongest evil dragon, Irene Bulsiri and the Scarlet Destroyer. The Kyuubi with a power that easily matches a celestial dragon according to reports, and finally 2 girls with great potential to match first-level gods, said Hades sighing, since the power of that child is enormous. Rei opened her eyes in shock and disbelief, mainly because Prince Naruto has a power superior to Typhon, and because Krom Cruach is under Naruto's command. The Queen of the Titans sighed, since her son Zeus and the Olympians have made a very dangerous enemy. I suppose that due to carelessness the war between the Shinto gods and the Olympians stopped, am I right? Hades asked Rei, sighing. Yes, mother, the boy just wanted a large monetary compensation, something that can be done, but I want you to come with us to help inform Zeus. I don't want to have to fight him to calm him down, Hades said seriously. I understand, son, I'll go with you, let's go to Olympus, said Rei, sighing. She didn't want to have anything to do with the Olympians' problems, but she's going to do it so that Zeus doesn't do anything stupid and cause a war. End of chapter. Chapter 12. Peace Talks Part 2. Currently Rei, the mother of the gods and wife of Cronus, the leader of the Titans, appeared in Olympus along with her two strongest children, Hestia, Greek goddess of the hearth, and Hades, Greek god of the underworld, to calm things down in Olympus, and they did not make a mistake as big as trying to harm the Shinto prince. Again, after all, Rei knows how protective Amaterasu is with the people who are under her protection, and she already imagined how protective she would be with her son, and what she would do if he were harmed. The Titan was internally happy that the child had not been harmed, but the Olympians could be destroyed by the Shinto faction. After all, that faction is one of the most vengeful and above all powerful. Zeus, Poseidon, Hera, Demeter, it's a pleasure to see you children again, Rei said with a small smile, but internally she is sighing. She loves her children, but they are so stupid, especially Zeus. How does it occur to him to attack the prince of the Shinto faction, a faction that even Cronus would not be so foolish to attack? After all, Cronus knew his limits. But from what he saw, his son Zeus does not know his limits, and he learned it the hard way. The Ink internally denied seeing the stupidity of his son. Mother, it's good to see you again, but why are you in Olympus? Asked Hera, Greek god of marriage, with curiosity, but she was also nervous to see her mother. After all, her power was above almost all the Olympians, and it is strange to see her, since she moved away from the gods a long time ago to avoid problems, but something told her that it is because of the nonsense of Zeus and Poseidon. Hera, Greek goddess of marriage, queen of Olympus. Simple, I'm here so that Zeus or any of you don't do anything stupid. I don't want you to do anything again to offend the Shinto faction, a faction that positions itself as the second strongest in the supernatural world, a faction that has 3 or maybe 4 beings in the top 10 of the strongest in the supernatural world. So you know why I'm in Olympus, said Rei, coldly looking at her stupid children and grandchildren. She didn't understand how they could be so stupid as to practically declare war against the Shinto faction, a very powerful faction that even lady cows would be careful. Rei, queen of the Titans, Titaness of fertility, motherhood and blessing. All the gods of Olympus shifted uncomfortably upon seeing the affectionate Rei looking at them coldly and as if they were stupid, which makes them tense. After all, they know Rei's power, and it is superior even to that of most of the Olympians. It is not for nothing that the Titan was the wife of Cronus and gave birth to the 3 great ones of Olympus. Poseidon, seeing his mother in such a state, became nervous. He may be strong, but he still respected his mother, so he said nothing to refute his mother's words. After all, they are true, since the Shinto faction is a very powerful, dangerous faction, and maybe now with Naruto the Shinto prince, that faction may now be the most powerful. After all, the power of Lord Naruto in his eyes is not below Tifon, the beast who can compete with the 12 Olympians. Zeus frowned, but said nothing out of respect for his mother. He would not deny that the Shintoists are powerful, but he is not afraid of them, and if they want war, he will finish them off. After all, he is the king of the Olympian gods, the powerful king of lightning and the heavens, and he will not be intimidated by any other entity. Well, since they won't say Hades and Hestia, they will explain what the Shinto gods and their prince want, so don't interrupt them and complicate all the demands that the Shinto want. Can't go to war with them, since other factions will take advantage of this opportunity and destroy them. After all, our faction is one of the most hated because of you, Zeus, said Rei, the queen of the Titans, seriously. But looking coldly at her son, she didn't want him to do something stupid that could cause more conflicts. It's not my fault, mother, they don't understand my greatness, and I don't care what other factions want, Zeus replied angrily. He wasn't liking what his mother said. He practically blamed her for everything that happened. He wouldn't deny that part of the blame is his, but it doesn't touch, since how was he going to know that Irene was now under the command of Uzumaki Naruto, and although he later found out about it, he didn't care. After all, Irene would be his. Shut up, Zeus, and now everyone will listen to Hades and Hestia, and I don't want you silly children to interrupt them, said Rei, coldly signaling her 2 children to talk about what the Shinto faction asked for. She no longer wants any more interruptions from her wayward children. Zeus fell silent, but he didn't like his mother speaking to him that way. After all, he is the king of the Olympian gods, the god of lightning and the skies. After all, he is the leader of the Greek gods internally. He was furious at everything that was happening, all because of Irene Bulsirian. If she hadn't joined the Shinto prince, none of these problems would have happened. Lord Naruto wishes to end this dispute as the sum of $300.00 million as compensation, although I believe that for Lord Naruto to be on good terms with us is that Hephaestus can make him a couple of quality weapons. I think that by doing this, we will show that we are not against the Shinto prince and the Shinto faction as a whole, said Hades seriously. He will not tell him that he provided Lord Naruto with the information of Zeref the Dark Magician and that he will have to provide the souls of Nero Claudius the Emperor of the Roses and Charles the Great the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, since if his paranoid brother found out he would never allow him to give those souls to Lord Naruto, and if he does not do it, the war with the Shinto was coming. Demeter, Aphrodite, Apollo, Hermes and Hera sighed as Lord Naruto didn't ask for anything out of the ordinary, although money may be quite a lot, they are gods, so having huge amounts of gold wouldn't be a problem, and nodded at Hades' words, as giving Lord Naruto weapons made by Hephaestus would be very beneficial, as they would be able to completely forget about the issues with the Shinto faction, and over time could even have a friendly relationship with the Shinto prince. Poseidon, Artemis and Ares frowned. They did not like at all that the Shinto prince demanded those demands, but they did not say anything, although they were reluctant to accept Hades' proposal to provide Naruto with weapons made by Hephaestus. After all, the god of the forge is one of the best weapons makers in the supernatural world. Hephaestus was very interested in his uncle Hades' proposal, since if he forges a powerful weapon for Naruto, he could have a cordial relationship with the Shinto prince, and perhaps he could help him save his children from supernatural beings. After all, because of Zeus, he cannot interfere with his children or descendants, and that frustrates him. Since he wants to protect his family, since the Olympians are not his family, the only ones he respects and esteems are Hades and Hestia, the rest in his eyes are neither family nor beings with whom he can talk. Zeus was angry, since if Hephaestus made a weapon for the Shinto prince he would become more dangerous, but he didn't say anything since his mother was watching him. Besides, he knew that if they didn't give something extra than what the prince asked for, then it could be very problematic. I agree to make a weapon for the Shinto prince. It will be very interesting what is done, said Hephaestus happily. He loved making weapons of great power, and what better for the Shinto prince. Maybe he can win his favor and he can ask him to rescue his children. After all, Zeus forbade contact with his children, but he did not say anything about other beings protecting them. Hephaestus, god of the forge, 12 Olympians. Zeus glared daggers at Hephaestus. If it weren't for his mother he wouldn't have destroyed him with his lightning bolts. The fool should only make weapons for himself and in some cases for the rest of the Olympians, not for that foolish Shinto prince who would have finished him off if it were up to him, Zeus roared internally. Hestia, Hades and Ray were satisfied with Hephaestus's words. What better gift of peace than a good weapon, knowing that the Shinto prince did not need it to increase his combat power, but it could still be used by Naruto's people. Well, I think this meeting is over. I will contact the prince and give him everything he asked for. In addition, I will tell him that we will provide him with a weapon. The prince may not need it, but it is a good gift for someone of his caliber, so goodbye. And I hope you do not provoke someone so powerful again. You have seen the consequences of your actions, Hades said seriously, and then disappeared in a whirlwind of flames. He no longer wanted to be in Olympus. His mother may be there. But even so, he does not want to be in the presence of the rest of the gods, and less so the degenerate Zeus. I'm leaving too, I need things to think about, and like Hades said, I hope you don't make the same mistake of offending people you can't deal with. Goodbye mother and goodbye everyone, said Hestia to disappeared in golden fire. She needed to think about what to do. She knew what Hades was going to do, and she knew that when Zeus finds out there will be a lot of problems. Maybe Hades should rule Olympus instead of Zeus. Ray saw her most sensible children disappear and sighed. Her family is very dysfunctional. She knows that Hades, her most powerful son, hates his brothers and most of the Olympians, and in the case of Hestia, her most sensible and powerful daughter, it was clear that she was losing faith in her brothers. The Titan wondered what her two most powerful sons were going to do. I say goodbye Lady Ray, I'm going to see what weapon to make for Lord Naruto. I have to investigate a suitable weapon. Maybe I'll contact Lord Naruto personally, or I'll let Hades communicate with Lord Naruto, said Hephaestus to disappear quickly. He didn't want to be in this meeting anymore. He didn't like being around the Olympians at all, since most of them are shameless. At most it happens to Apollo and Hermes. I'll go, and I hope that you Zeus don't do anything to get the Olympians in trouble. Remember that we already have many enemies, or rather you all have many enemies. Remember that there is still Gaia, Tiphon and other pantheons that can target the Greeks if they see them weakened enough, so be careful with your movements, son ordered Ray. She knew that Gaia will soon resurface, and when I arrived, she knew that Tiphon will resurface, and if he resurfaces only Hades and Hestia joining together could have a chance of holding Tiphon back, but not defeating him. After all, Tiphon is someone who in her eyes could deal with the 12 Olympians in an even battle. The gods watched Ray disappear. Cider frowned angrily at being ordered by the Titan, but said nothing. After all, even if they don't like being ordered by Ray, she is the mother of the big three and a being of great power. 5:10 later Uzumaki Naruto was meeting with Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, since the Greek god told Naruto about the weapon that Hermes will make him and also gave him the souls that the Shinto prince asked for. After all, he does not want a war with the god who alone could deal with Olympus. In the eyes of Hades, the Shinto prince is even much more dangerous than Tiffin. Lord Hades, I suppose you have what I asked for, am I correct? Naruto asked with a small smile, since he would have two powerful emperors under his command he wants to increase his military power, since as long as one has absolute power and a powerful army, he knew that he would not be provoked, he will never give in, not even with cows the primordial of creation. Shiva the god of destruction or Office the dragon god of infinity, so he has to become much stronger so that none of these first level beings cause him problems. You have nothing to worry about Lord Naruto, I sent the money to Lady Amaterasu, and I have the souls right here, each one is sealed in these two orbs, the red orb is the soul of Nero, the Emperor of Roses, and the blue orb is the soul of Charlemagne, and as thanks for not harming the Greek gods, I wish that Hephaestus makes you a weapon, I hope you can accept my sincerity, Lord Naruto, Hades said sincerely, then passed the two orbs to Naruto. I respect you Lord Hades, besides being powerful you are someone who does not want a war, and from what I investigate you do not harm other people unless they deserve it, and with respect to the weapon of preference, a sword or a spear, either of those two souls is fine for me, and thank you very much for your sincerity, Naruto answered with a smile. Since Hades is one of the beings that he respects the most not only for his power, but in his eyes, Hades would be a better leader than Zeus, the Uzumaki wondered why Hades did not take the throne from Zeus, if he is very powerful. Thank you for your words Lord Naruto, I will tell Hephaestus what you want and he has nothing to worry about, Olympus will no longer give him problems, and please do not inform any Olympian who will give you these souls. I want to avoid problems, Hades said seriously, since he does not want to have any problems with his brothers. You have nothing to worry about Lord Hades, this will not be reported to the Olympians, and thank you for these souls, it was a pleasure doing business with you, Naruto said with a big smile, as he felt the power of those two souls and it is enormous, perhaps when they have a body they will even surpass some of the Olympian gods, it will be very interesting to see it in their eyes. Thank you then I will leave Lord Naruto, it was a pleasure to see you again, Hades said goodbye and then left the meeting area. He now has to talk to his sister Hestia about what happened in the meeting with the Shinto prince. It's interesting what will happen, but now I have to recruit the black magician Zeref, after all his power is as great as Hades's, according to rumors, maybe if I make him part of my nobility, maybe my power will even surpass that of Tiffin, the bane of the Greek gods, and a being that even surpasses the celestial category, Naruto thought with a big smile that grew bigger, as he was happy to be able to have the souls of the two emperors. What are you going to do with the souls of the emperors Nero and Charlemagne? You know very well that both have the pride of a king and will hardly obey, even if you give them a new chance in life. At most, they will only return the favor, said Kurama, appearing out of nowhere. Simple I'm finishing two bodies in these bodies, there will be some loyalty seals obviously I will not completely take away their free will, only that both Charlemagne and Nero will not be able to betray me in short, you will have two loyal powers under my command, said Naruto indifferently, he did not care about placing seals on those two emperors after all, there are worse things that can be done to them, and he only places loyalty seals that is to say, they will not be able to betray him. But they will be able to have the free will to decide anything else. Kurama looked at Naruto with strange eyes, he didn't think the Uzumaki would do something like putting loyalty seals on those two emperors, but he didn't say anything, it's not his place to say it, besides, Naruto is the leader and knows what he's doing, so he won't argue. You have nothing to worry about Kurama, I will not place that kind of seal on you and the other boys, I have only done it this time with these two emperors, because I do not know them, and I do not know if they are going to betray me, you have nothing to worry about, Naruto said seriously, he will not place that kind of seal on Kurama, after all, he is his best friend, and he would never do anything to hurt him unless the Biju tries to betray him. Kurama sighed, knowing that Naruto is a prodigy when it comes to seals, and if he put his mind to it, he might be able to place loyalty seals, and that would be very awkward. Come on Kurama we need to meet up with the rest of the group and locate the wizard Zeref his power may rival Hades, and more the peace I have will increase his power, I will let my clones take care of the bodies and souls of the emperors, so you have nothing to worry about, said Naruto indifferently. Kurama nodded sighing, since Naruto was apparently preparing for a great war by being able to recruit so many beings of great power, the Kyuubi knew that when they return to the elemental nations, the Uzumaki will revive the Uzumaki clan and will most likely recruit hundreds of ninjas and take the other Biju from the shinobi villages, he wondered how the shinobi world would go into chaos. In the Greek underworld the god Hades was meeting with Hestia, the goddess of the hearth and the strongest of the Greek goddesses, both were discussing what happened to the Shinto prince. Are you sure of what you have done, Hades? You know well how powerful those two souls are, their power may rival that of Hermes or Artemis, and with proper training their power will increase considerably, especially when they recover their bodies, Hestia said seriously, knowing that the individual power of both emperors when they recover their bodies may surpass that of Artemis, who, although much weaker than her, is definitely not a goddess that can be underestimated. I couldn't refuse, Hestia, you know well that Lord Naruto's power far exceeds mine, and he could definitely deal with the 12 Olympians, we can't have such an enemy, Hades replied seriously, knowing well that this young man may be even more dangerous than the celestial dragons together, and that Kyuubi called Kurama is not far behind in terms of power. I understand, Hades, I know you did all this to save the Greek faction, but if Zeus finds out what you did it will become very problematic, sighs Hestia, she understands what Hades did, but she knew it would be very annoying in the future. We must be well with other factions, especially with the Shintoists. Now we have many enemies. First there is our father Cronus, who you know well that sooner or later he can be released. Then there are Gaia and Tartarus, whose power even surpasses that of father, and only I could deal with one of them. But if the two go against me, being's destroyed. And then there is Typhon, a being that even the celestial dragons respected for his great power. And finally there are the demigods, who are not happy with everything you do, Zeus, and even other gods of our faction do not like Zeus. Now you understand, Hestia, because I do not want to antagonize the Shintoists, since if we play our cards well, we could have the support of Lord Naruto against them, and we can avoid a great bloodshed. Hestia sighed, knowing well that Cronus will sooner or later be freed, she feels it, and when it becomes a reality a war will happen. What worried her the most are the demigods, she does not want to harm them, since in her eyes, they are children who deserve to be cared for, not dogs that should be used. The goddess of the home will now do everything possible to protect them, even if she has to go against Zeus or the rest of the Olympians. I see, I will support you in all the decisions you make. Hades trusted you and your intellect, Hestia said with a smile. She trusted Hades with her life and knew that with his help, she could have a better chance of protecting the demigods. Hades nodded, he was thinking about his children, he just hoped that other demigods didn't recruit them, otherwise it would be very dangerous for those children. After all, Zeus could attack them, and if that happened he himself would declare war on Olympus. End of chapter. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.